receive a king. Hey, listeners, yes, let us receive a king. It is already UK. I'm Archie, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Welcome back to the program. We'll be having Mr. Olabi Koiki joining in the next few moments. But now, let's go enjoy some music. And this time around, it's all Christmassy, right? This is from Tommy Jeff, and it is his Africa Christmas thing that he's doing. Yes, enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
Okay, so let's get ready for the program again this morning. I say good morning to everyone that have joined and those that will be joining us in due course. And welcome once again to the Star Radio UK network. While we are getting ready, I'd like to appreciate everyone. Say good morning. If you're new to the platform, I say good morning as well. Join the studio in a few minutes' time. In the 21st December 2023. So we are now countdown again as we are literally countdown to almost the end of the year. It's been a very long year. But I do not think loss of me by. So much has happened in Nigeria in the last 12 months. Any consolation of Nigeria. Nigeria to batter so many lives, but it destroys so many lives. And it continues to do that because of the fake union to walk up. Don't put in Nigeria, they refuse to. As long as the Bashi in Nigeria, you prefer. So I don't know how the gullible Nigerians think that. So Kolonko Koshanu, I want to put on I am a Nigerian. Since I don't Nigeria, Britain lo created. Debt in Nigeria on loss okay. According to the news this morning, debt in loss okay ko wale rara on loss okay. So debt in Nigeria, but it lost okay by 87 trillion. Uncle Shannon to one day. I'm a sort of fún yín. Tí gbogbo bá ti agree pé Nigeria ó ṣiṣẹ́, then á jẹ́ kó easy fún wa. But táyìn kan bá ṣì refuse pé Nigeria ń ṣiṣẹ́, that means pé sí nǹkan tá lè ṣe sí. Because ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe sọ pé Nigeria ṣiṣẹ́, ẹ̀yin lẹ ń dáṣẹ́ dúró báyìí. Nígbà táwa kan ti sọ pé Nigeria ò ṣiṣẹ́, ẹ̀yin kan sọ pé Nigeria ń ṣiṣẹ́, so ẹ̀yin lẹ fún gbogbo wa ní problem. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń sọ pé Nigeria ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn, ẹ̀yin gangan ní problem Nigeria. Because ẹ̀yin gangan tẹ́ ń sọ pé ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn gangan. Even though pé a lot of people mọ̀ pé Nigeria ò ṣiṣẹ́, but we live in denial. and we're telling lies to ourselves. So, people go about to agree, then I'll move forward. But for the fact that some people are still clamoring for Nigeria, they then defend it and defend Nigeria back to back and defend into Shisha. So that is where we're having problems, because many people are defending the contraction. Don't put in the country, you look in the country. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín tí ẹ̀ ń sọ pé country ní Nigeria, I pity you. Àwa táwọn pé kò ń ṣe country, because tó bá yẹ pé country ní Nigeria, ó yẹ kó máa kí ẹ̀ fún àwọn citizen ẹ̀. Gbogbo tí citizen ẹ̀ bá náà fẹ́ ló yẹ kó bá fẹ́. Ó yẹ kó lè defend àwọn citizens ẹ̀ against atrocities, against crime, against this, against that. But unfortunately, àwọn Nigerians gan ni wọ́n ní ká lọ gbẹnu sọ̀n pé everything wà okay. Nígbà tẹ́lẹ̀ ti sọ pé everything wà okay, so kí lẹ tún fẹ́ káwa máa sọ? Ẹ̀yin lẹ ń defend ẹ̀ náà. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń defend Nigeria gangan ni ẹ̀ ń dáṣẹ́ dúró. Ìjọ tẹ́yìn bá ti defend Nigeria mọ̀, ẹ rí pé Nigeria ó máa wọlẹ̀. But for the fact that we have people that are defending, the contraction, ẹ̀yin lẹ ń defend it now. We can't be defending something that is not working, In tó bá ṣiṣẹ́ ò ṣiṣẹ́, kò sí iyèméjì nínú yẹn. Wọ́n mú yẹn sí yẹn, kò ṣiṣẹ́ ń jẹ́ pé kò ṣiṣẹ́. But we have millions of Nigerians tí wọ́n mọ̀ tán pè ní country tán defend it. Ẹ̀yin lẹ ń defend it now. You keep defending it, and the more tẹ́ bá ṣe ń defend it, the more ní Nigeria máa máa strong sí. Bọ́jọ́ tí gbogbo bá ti accept pé kò ṣiṣẹ́, tí gbogbo á dẹ̀ dúró lórí pé kò ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn, ẹ realize pé within days, within weeks, but many people are defending it. And defending tó ṣiṣẹ́, kò add up. Tàbá sọ lọ sọ́bọ̀, ẹ máa sọ pé ká shut up, ẹ ní ká come back home. Inter máa ń sọ nìyẹn. Ẹ ń defend ìlú tó ṣiṣẹ́, kò add up. Àdè ti pariwo títí. Àti campaign, àdè ṣe campaign pé bí ìlú iṣẹ́ operate, kò ń ṣe country, bí country ṣe operate kan nìyẹn. But because ẹ lóyà sáwọn àwọn lórí burúkú politicians yìí, àwọn tó ti báyé jẹ́, wọ́n ti bọ̀nà jẹ́.
We're celebrating Christmas. Yes. But wherever you are listening to us from, are you listening to us from Nigeria? So are you going to be enjoying the free train transport along the length and breadth of the country? Well. You want to know more about all that? I'm going to be telling you more about that in a moment. So wherever you are, don't stand the dance as we go straight to our North London studios, where my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, is this morning. Yomi, I know what is happening. That is causing your thing to be doing that, but don't worry, I'm going to sort you out. Yomi, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Archie, and a good morning to all our viewers and listeners around the globe.
How are you, and how is the family?
We're doing very well. We're great, and it's good to be back again this morning after the long night of the winter time.
Well, some of you who could sleep, that is good for you, but those of us who can't sleep, we have to be waking up doing production and all that stuff at dawn and stuff like that. So we don't enjoy it, but well, it is a good one. We have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, my colleague and co-presenter in our North London studios, where we're going to be looking at everything Nigeria now. But let's start it from Niger Voices yesterday. The statement that was made by Professor Banja Akintoye pertaining to some elites who seem to be derailing or misinforming people pertaining to the Yoruba nation. For the sake of those who did not manage to join the program, can you just touch briefly on that as well, please?
Well, Niger Voices, like we always say, comes up every Wednesday on the Star Radio UK network, where we discuss so many things pertaining to Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerians at home, and those that have now decided to start, differentiating whether Nigeria is a country, and if it is a country, who are those that are culture or those that are the indigenous people, as we call them in Nigeria. We started on the note of, the insecurity in the country that we've been talking about for some days now, and that seems to continue up to where, individuals are, being arrested, and likewise individuals are being, being killed. So how do we get this insecurity out of the way was part of the first hour of the program. Continue to checkmate, the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And likewise, as we continue to move away from there, we went straight into, like you said, what Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, said in a daily and it's an open message, to the Yoruba elite, just to remind them that, the reason why, they are not supported today, we might be more in danger because the Armenians, were all genocided, during the talks in the 19th century, when their elite refused to be part of what could have saved the Armenians. As at that period, it was one of the, the most genocide that is still in the history as we speak today. So that also led us to questions, surrounding, the future of Nigeria, as many decided to speak out, especially those that voted for this administration. We went into some of the, the reportage that came out from Nigeria in the last 72 hours prior before Niger Voices, telling us how the pains of not literally enjoying the government, though the government might say we are new, but people believe that this is the ninth year of the government because it's still the same APC. Many of those that are lamenting were those that also paid their price to campaign and also voted for the administration. So it's quite a lot, that is being discussed. But like I said, we took on that note where we then looked into the dailies that we couldn't complete because of the time strain in the morning.
Well, listeners, so that is a bit for you there. So if you ever miss Niger Voices, oh boy, you are missing a great thing. But we want to encourage you that just go to the STARR UK platforms and you will have a real listen to it, and it will inform you greatly. We are here to give you the necessary information. But now, because of time, so let's kick on straight with what we want to be looking at today. Well, what better present can the administration of Bola Tinubu give to Nigerians by saying that, look, I know that traveling the length and breadth of the country during these festivities is quite expensive. Now, free transport for you. But we know the transport system, where the other time, I think sometime last year, when people were traveling on it, or was it this year, when people were traveling on it and there were kidnappings and stuff like that. So people will be a bit apprehensive. Do I go on that transport knowing that now people know that, yes, people are traveling freely and stuff like that, that's going to happen. But you know what I mean? It's a good news, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a good news, and also that would save, some certain kind of, money for many Nigerians that will be traveling, in the next couple of days. The road network will be extremely busy, just like anywhere around the world. And that doesn't mean that, what the government decided to do is to say that we're trying our best, especially in this very difficult time, when many Nigerians would love to go back, especially those that are living in Lagos State or those that are probably outside Lagos or, the north, middle, to come back to their loved ones and celebrate, the Christmas festival. So the president under the, the news came out yesterday that 50% reduction will now be granted to anyone that wants to travel. How that is going to be done, we'll have to continue to monitor that. But like I said, it has been a lot of different, conversation as well, because, The labor has literally kicked against it. But again, the government thinks that that is in the best interest. You talked about, the real network where during the period of the former president, there were some kidnap and also killings of innocent Nigerians. I think we haven't had or seen any such of attack. Maybe the security has been beefed up a little bit. I can confirm that as much as many Nigerians still traveled and plied these very dangerous roads, but it seems that again, it is just sometimes those terrorists that are just lying down the bush take advantage, because I know someone that traveled through the Kaduna Abuja road in the last couple of days. And as much as we were concerned, but again, this individual said it was a pressing need for them to be in Kaduna. But again, like I said, sometimes you might not be lucky, especially when those terrorists that are just lying down the bush will pick you up.
Well, it is true. It's true. But in these times, we just have to wish everybody the best in those difficult and challenging times. But let's Labour's statement that they made pertaining to the fact that they think that it's not a good move by government. Someone will say, listen, every little helps. Now, if Labour is asking for increments, now, how many percentage of Nigerian population is working for government? Let's say 20%, or let's say 30%. The 70%, whatever increment that Labour is getting, the Nigerian Labour forces are getting, I don't think those other people will be benefiting from it. So if the government has done a blanket thing that, well, ideally, I would say that it should be means tested, so that if I have money, I don't need to get it for free. I can afford to pay my quota, or maybe a knockdown, something just to also help to booster whatever thing that is going on. But what do you think about Labour's punching or knocking the government pertaining to this action that the government has taken?
Well, you're quite right. The labor is there to protect, not just the workers, to fight, on behalf of many, workers that are working for the private, the public, and likewise, those that are doing their own self businesses, and protect them as well. So 50% transport subsidy, federal government slash the interstate fares, but the labor is already knocking the government. Why are they doing that? The federal government yesterday has actually announced a 50% reduction in the transportation cost will go along 22 interstate routes during this Christmas season. This was known by the Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Mr. Dele Alake, who actually chairs the Inter-Ministry Committee on the Presidential Intervention, disclosed this during the State House correspondent in Abuja, Aso Rock, yesterday. But like I said, already we've been hearing the reaction from the labor. According to the National Union Road Transport Workers, Shegun Falade says that the union will literally commence the implementation of the fares from today. And I will confirm that tomorrow. I'll be sending our team that are representing us back in Nigeria out to confirm if they are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan or Ekiti. They will be getting this discount before they board, so that they'll probably not be fighting going on by the time they've boarded the transport, and then reduction will not be happening. Well, given the further explanation, I like I said, the 50% reduction in the fares was arrived at the conjunction with companies operating luxurious buses. President Bola Tinubu has literally directed that commuters on all train services will get a free ride on Thursday up to the January 4th, 2024. But the Nigerian Labour Congress and the trade union faulted this initiative, describing that the federal government of President Bola Tinubu is just as confused as Nigeria itself is confused.
Well, I'm not with you there. I mean, if government is doing that, why not? I mean, majority of people are going to benefit from it. But let's start already. Anthony Energy, once again, thank you very much for listening in. But let's touch on this story. Now, Nigeria's debt is shot up to what, 87? That is the domestic debt, I believe. Yes, shot up to 87 trillion naira in quarter three, the third quarter that is ending. That was ending September. So, what do you think is going on? Do we see a corresponding development in the country, or yes, to show all that we are borrowing money, or is it said, money that we are just taking to maybe pay out loans or pay workers, which becomes a recurrent thing. Is that what is going on?
Well, every country is owing. I mean, America is in a big debt. UK, United Arab Emirates. But when we look into those countries, how do we gauge whether their citizens are also enjoying the benefit of if the country is in debt? Many Nigerians will probably not worried if they have the basic things of life, if Nigeria is owing, as much, because as long as what the purpose of those loans that were taken by the previous administration, and the new one is working on behalf of Nigerians. But again, what we've seen is that we've seen wastage. We've seen not just wastage, we've seen also that because the country is not producing as much, so the little revenue that is coming in was also being used to pay our debt. Well, like you said, the Nigerian total public debt stock has now hit about 87.91 trillion, which is close to about $114.35 billion as of September, according to the statement by the Debt Management Office on Wednesday yesterday in Abuja. The DMO says that the amount, represent the domestic external debt of the federal government, the 36 state government. Remember that each of these state governors also, at some point, do borrow money, but the question is whether their borrowing reflect into the lives of many Nigerians in those states. I mean, you can continue to borrow, for projects, but sometimes those projects are probably not even, what borrowing for, because we've seen projects that sometimes the quality, of those projects are not up to the standard, but yet some of the governors have taken advantage and borrow along the line. The 87.91 trillion total debt, which we said is about almost $114 billion rather, is what we called a marginal increase of 61% when compared to June figure, which was just under 87.38 trillion naira. But the debt office said this trend was explained by the decrease in the external debt from $43.16 billion as of June 30th to $41.59 billion as of September. It also went further to say that the moderate increase is just under 1.80 trillion in the domestic debt. Also, our external debt continued to increase due to the redemption of $500 million Euro bond. It also increased due to the payment of $413 million as a first principal repayment. We have to continue to pay the debt, if otherwise, we would all be in debt with some of those countries that we've taken the loan from in the first place.
Wow. Let's start verification. He said we have to pay the debt. If not,
some of us might be traveling and they might be holding us while we're traveling, especially if you're going on a Nigeria. Imagine traveling to China with a Nigerian passport and they say, just stay there. It seems that we have some issue with your country. I'm sure it doesn't go like that, but just a little bit of
well, interestingly, Nigeria was trying to information that came through this morning, trying to get the yuan, the Chinese currency to be used in trading. So it's that they want to boycott the usage of the dollars and now start using the Chinese yuan for currency exchange.
I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to use that in Nigeria, but again, I know that there's a lot of push by the Chinese. I know there's dollarization that is also, coming up. So there's a lot of, especially when you look at the BRICS summit that took place in South Africa not too long ago. It seems that, especially there's a fight going on between Russia and Ukraine. So the dollarization is becoming more pressure. Whether we will be able to start using our own currency to operate, time will tell as well.
Okay, listeners, it is STARR Radio UK. I was looking for one other story that has eluded me pertaining to the oil refinery in the south that was supposed to have been started, and information coming through says that it's started. Do you have any information to that?
Well, that is what the news is saying. But again, the news can say that we just have to make sure that that is exactly what it means. The headline says the Port Harcourt refinery recommenced operation after years of shutdown. The development is coming after many years of underperformance, turnaround maintenance of the facility. Let's go into it a little bit. The Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State has recommenced operation in line with the federal government promise to ensure production of refined product at the facility coming up to the end of this month, December 2023. This development is coming after many years of underperformance, the turnaround maintenance of the facility. 4 of the Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna have a combined capacity to process 445,000 barrels per day, but they have been shut down since 2019. However, in August, the Minister of the State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Enik Biri, said the Port Harcourt refinery will recommence operation in December, which is exactly what they're saying now. Well, Lukuburi said this as an inspection tour of the rehabilitation work in the Port Harcourt refinery plant. Our objective in the coming year today is to ensure that in the next few years, Nigeria stop fuel importation. I will not believe that, but again, it's a good note if the Port Harcourt refinery is back on board. But to say that we are not going to be importing refinery or refined product, I would definitely say that he's probably talking to those in Nigeria, not those of us outside the country.
Well, listeners in the STARR in the UK, Mr. Lightning again, and North London series. I'm actually here in the South Studios, and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria. I would like Yomi bring me the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, at 26 minutes past 11, 21st of December 2023, countdown to that, Christmas time, and also countdown to Issue Day. Issue Day is coming up on the 24th across the world. As we always say, Issue is not the Satan that is now been linked to by so many Nollywood that have tried to destroy a tradition, tried to destroy an indigenous people by giving false narrative, and everybody commit a crime. They always say it's because of the issue. Well, Oshiomhole was the biggest threat to the APC, needed to be removed as the chairman. Well, it seems that politics is back again since that the government have settled down. The internal wrangling fight continue as they all prepare again for 2027. Politicians careless. They're always ahead of the game. And when they start criticizing each other, be rest assured that something is just cooking underneath. And sometimes you might end up finding them in the same gathering, in a wedding, and then they are drinking wine. These are the two faces. Oshiomhole is a time well known, as we all know. He's been a governor. He's been also a Labour president as well at some point. While the one on the right-hand side is known as former governor of Ogun State, Amosun Ibukunle, currently a senator as well. They continue to be in the politics, and they continue to say that they're doing their best. But the question is, he left Ogun State with so much, not just debt, also unstable system. He was so wicked in the sense that he actually refused to, to fix certain areas. Especially, I came from Ogun State, so I can talk about that. This governor, as at the time, would not fix certain parts in Ogun State because he says that most of them never voted for him. So you can see that even within the tenure of people like these, sometimes we should call them back for inquiry, but this doesn't happen in a country like Nigeria. Former Ogun State Governor Ibukunle Amosun has said that Senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshiomhole, needed to be removed as the national chair of the All Progressive Congress. At the time, he was ousted because he was a threat to the party. Oshiomhole was the APC National Party between 2018 and 2020, when former President Muhammadu Buhari was the party national leader. In building up to the 2019 election, remember, we were on the ground as well. Just as, like I said again, I was covering the election in Ogun State, while the party wanted Dapo Abiodun, which is the current governor in Ogun State. Well, Amosun refused to go in line with that. He wanted another candidate, which eventually lost to Dapo Abiodun. But in 2019 build-up, the former governor, Rocha Okorocha, remember, I'm sure the one that created that happiness commissioner of Imo State, and Ibukunle Amosun of Ogun State were all aggrieved over APC primary polls presided over by Oshiomhole. Like I said, it's easier for them to come out and criticize each other, but they are still in the same party, and they're just probably doing that as they prepare for the 2027 again. Well, as we go back again, no going back. Well, not going back for the Yoruba, but it's about no going back to PDP, says cross-carpeting River APC lawmakers. Remember that last week we talked about 27 lawmakers that decided to leave PDP into APC, but they are now saying that we are not going back, just like we hear that all the time from those that are campaigning for the right to self-determination. We have crossed that Rubicon, and there's no going back for us. Eneme George have said, as the political complexity in Rivers State continue to dominate discussion in the country, a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly who defected to the All Progressive Congress APC from the People's Democratic Party, Emene George has ruled out returning to the former party, explaining the resolve of the cross-carpeting members to remain with their new party. George, who was a guest on the news platform yesterday, said that the 27 of them that moved to APC are committed to supporting President Bola Tinubu's Renew Hope agenda. So it seems that they actually dumped Atiku now for the Renew change. So you can tell that politics in Africa is all about them, not about the people that actually voted, because people voted for them because they were members of PDP. Imagine if I voted for a Labour Party and then along the line he decided to switch to Conservative. I might have the right to recall him back because my vote was not for Conservative, and it goes vice versa. AFDA, we talked about this because again, it's not in Nigeria, but because we know Femi Akinwumi Adesina, the African Development Bank president, also Dr. Akinwumi, from Nigeria, is talking about the withdrawal of international STARR from Ethiopia amid diplomatic breach. Not too sure what that means, but let's go into it. The bank president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, a former minister and a Greek during the Jonathan, I believe, in a statement issued on Wednesday yesterday that the office would, however, remain open under an office in charge. Those measures will not affect national recruited staff from Ethiopia who will continue their work and remain full employment with the bank. The bank will assure them and their family of its duty of care. I love that word. This is the word that many Nigerian politicians do not give Nigerians, duty of care. Well, they care about themselves, especially when they run out of Nigeria into other countries for properly taking care of themselves, but not to Nigerians. 11:32, I'm going to come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Then when we come back, we'll review some of those things coming out of the social media again this morning.
Well, listeners, Mr. Layomi Koiki bringing you everything that you need to know as per what is happening in Nigeria. But before we go to, let me acknowledge every one of you who have tuned in. Yes, the various people on the various platforms, the sister broadcast platforms that you are listening to us from. We appreciate each and every one of you. As I said earlier on, without you, there is no need use for us coming to sit here, and therefore you hold our backs, and we appreciate it greatly. Now, it's talking about mental psychiatric patients in Yaba Hospital that has increased by 100%. Now, I touched on this one because we're looking at a time where either because of loneliness in this part of the world, which I think that Africa might not have that, but again, because people have traveled to various parts of the country to go and work, and maybe they think that even if I get free transport and I go there, do I have what it takes to actually do whatever I want to do? You go and see your grandma or your mom and stuff, you don't have the means to do that. So mental health in that part, in Nigeria as a whole, and then Yaba as a place, how do you see it all? Why the increment? Is Nigeria not actually helping out in those things?
Well, we pray all the time that we do not have breakdown when things goes wrong, and as human beings, some point in our life, either through a loved one that died, either through the current situation of the country. Each morning, I've been up about 4 o'clock this morning before I went back again to bed, and I actually zoom around different platforms to see what is being said there, and you would wonder why many Africans are now looking to exit Africa. We're not talking about Nigerians now. We're talking about many Africans from Ghana, and different platforms are now also advising, what you should be expecting. We had one of our, campaigner, Yalaje, had a guest yesterday, Sister Yeti Queen. She's a lawyer, also a lecturer in the UK. She talked about, many of those that are now arriving into Europe probably will not understand that the system is different from where we're coming from. We blame culture for beating our wives, doing so many things. But what we are talking about this morning is about not just in Nigeria, it's just about many of us are going through so many things. But do we have these services? Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital Yaba is well known. Many people will know Yaba. Even those that live in that area are always concerned because sometimes people could dress as normal, but trust me, they are not normal people because they have gone through a psychiatric issues or problems. We also have one in Abeokuta called Aro. How functioning they are, I don't know, but let's go into it. According to the Chief Medical Director of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, Dr. Oluwagbenga Oweye, has said that there has now been increase of 100% in the psychiatric patients admitted into the hospital in the year ending 2023. What could be leading to many people breaking down? Again, making the disclosure yesterday in Lagos during the hospital annual scorecard presentation, the CMD blamed the country's economic challenges, among other social economic factors, as the responsible for the increase. He said it had been deducted that in 2023, the total number of patients that are now attendants increased by 3%. There was 7% increase in cases attended compared to no increase in 2022. We have also 100% increase in admission cases in which the drug abuse cases is 10%. Many Nigerians have now ended up to drug abuse. And like we always say, the best thing is to avoid it. If you're feeling lonely, maybe you pick up a call, speak to someone. And if you're one of those that are calling, you might want to sometimes take time to speak to them. Mr. Archie, we that are in these public figure that talks every day, we receive calls in tones and numbers. People are going through different things. And I'm not talking about Nigeria alone. I'm talking about in Europe, in America. But the only thing we can always do is we don't have what they have, but we can always console them when they reach out to us.
Well, it is so true, so true. Because mental health, you can just have anything can just snap like that. But who is there to help you? Maybe you just need to talk to somebody and you'll be okay. But as Yomi is saying, so when you have the call, at times, but you know, when it's worrying, when you have one call, can you give me $50? Can you give me £100? Can you give me any?
I always say that maybe they should go to their politicians.
Of course, but they keep on voting for them. That's why they are doing whatever things that they are doing. Well, listen, let's start ready. Okay, Yomi will bring you what is happening on the social media platform.
The Yoruba Nation Clubhouse says that the copper mask of Obalufon, let's see if we can get it out quickly, is being discussed this morning as they posted that just an hour ago. As the Yoruba campaigners continue to promote the Yoruba transistor radio that has now reached the shore of Yoruba land, if you're interested to have one, well, you can buy one and also give one as a Christmas to your loved ones. It is only on the shortwave that you'll be able to listen to the live transmission where Professor Banja Akintoye will be speaking to us on the 1st of January. I've been confirming that already. Chief Sunday Igboho will also be speaking at some point during the period. It's on the shortwave, but it also has the FM inbuilt, which you can also continue to monitor other news from Nigeria as well. But in future, there might be the FM Yoruba Nation. But for now, this transistor radio also have what they call the Bluetooth Connect. Also have the solar panel. That means you can literally charge it. You can also charge it using the house input. You can use the battery. It also has a USB port where you can literally also connect your phones as well. Well, now let's go straight to social media at 11:38. As many festival period has been are coming to you. But again, the Yoruba Nation Clubhouse says the copper, which you're looking behind me, Oba Lufon II came into power in Ife Kingdom at the time of great turmoil. The life-size pure copper mask of Oba Lufon represents supremacy of the Yoruba artistic dexterity in the medieval era. Copper is an extremely brittle metal. Going further to cast, Europeans tried severally but failed to master the art of casting, molding copper without shattering it. They had to add some impunity in order to manage it. Yorubas were able to do this with almost 100% copper. Oba Lufon is also known for introducing the Ogbonic system of democratic check and balance in Yoruba land, including the Iweri Mefa institution, 6 elders, and their symbolic gesture. I had the privilege to reach out to the Metropolitan Police in UK in October under the FOI to find out where and what is happening to one of the Yoruba sculpture that has been kept here because it's got to do with what we called a buyer that wanted to sell it in UK some years ago. But as usual, they've returned back my request, even though my request was not as fully granted because I've been told that it's got some personal information details And because of what I'm going to be using it for, it will be very difficult for the Metropolitan Police, to release such information to us. But the question is, what is the Ooni of Ife, the Ojaja II, the paramount ruler of Yoruba land, should be doing is to communicate now to the King Charles to find out why a 1,000-year-old sculpture kept in UK with the Metropolitan Police being kept there, probably dusty, when it should be returned back to where it was actually meant to be. Well, the Metropolitan Police, from what we heard, wanted Nigeria government to negotiate with the individual that brought it from Belgium, that brought it for €200. And I'm not joking, that was what he paid, because the government in Belgium actually auctioned it. And this sculpture, that is 1,000 years old, more than enough to give back to Nigeria in multiple fold. We hope that Ooni of Ife, the Ojaja II, will be doing everything possibly best to see how we can get this sculpture out. Well, let's look at what more is trending on the social media this morning in terms of Simon Ekpa continue to trend. And it seems that there's this systemic way of pulling down videos, especially the ones that comes with Simon Ekpa. I noticed that this morning they had a press briefing 24 hours ago with Bazonia. We transmitted that this morning. Facebook says that we can't, YouTube says we can't have such video on our timeline, and they actually pull it down. It shows that the social media platforms are aware of what is happening in Nigeria, but they are systematically not allowing the news to come out. Maybe they are not agreeing to what Simon Ekpa and the Ambazonia are doing, but like I will always say, if we don't allow peace to happen, then there will be problem ahead. So that is what we can say this morning. But like I said, Simon Ekpa continues to trend as usual. Many congratulations to Nigeria. Not too sure why. I believe it might be to the Port Harcourt refinery, but it's easier said than done. When Nigeria says things is done and ready, you need to just double check it again. Fulani is trending this morning. Oshiomhole is trending. We talked about it. And the 40 GB is trending. I guess that is linked to the video. Not too sure why they call it the 40 GB, but again, as usual, that is how far we can go at 11:42 this morning. My name is KOIKIMEDIA, STARR Radio UK. I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Hachi.
Yeah, I remember back in, was it last year or this year, when the national airline was launched, and then we ended up finding out that there wasn't any plane there.
They actually, went to Ethiopia and give us, a painted plane or pay so much money. So if they're saying the refinery Port Harcourt is working, I just have to make sure that the window is closed.
Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Lively Quickie for you. We'll be back tomorrow before we take the Christmas break. So keep your dance locked on STARR Radio. Yummy, let me say thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hachi. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. All right, then, listeners, it is STARR Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show.
All right. While they take a quick break, good morning, everyone. I'm going to first go and do Muti Boyle and Yebiden Pami. So, I think Showore spoke somewhere at the book launch yesterday. I listened to a bit of it. Only our time Japa, not like my Japada, because at some point, something will lead to something, and Nigeria will eventually start falling apart. But go to fall apart. There's a lot of what we need to do, which is what we are doing right now. Continue our own campaign. And draw fún ẹni tó máa wá fún yín ní iṣẹ́ tí ẹ fi ṣe wàhálà lé lórí. Ṣé rò pé ìlú táwa náà wà tá à ń jàǹfààní ẹ̀? Àwọn kan ló jà, ẹ̀jẹ̀ sùn lọ rẹpẹtẹ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ẹ̀jẹ̀ ta sílẹ̀ gan nílùú yìí ká tó lè máa gbádùn ẹ̀. So tí èèyàn kan bá ń sọ wọn pé ó máa wá lásán, èmi náà sọ pé ó máa wá lásán náà ni. Àárín jà o, àmọ́ tó bá tásìkò olúkálùkù àmọ́ the right thing. Ẹ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ gbẹ́lẹ̀ járe kí lọ fi ṣe conflicts ebi tẹ̀tẹ̀ ń pa mí gan kùn mí ṣe kankan. Àwọn arànú mi ọ̀jẹ̀ ń gbádùn látẹ̀kàn fi ṣe jókòó báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ sọ níbí báyìí kí fi padà.
It is pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. We cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, call it work. In Nigeria, where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent, call it work. To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to the revolution, I say this: hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now, and it will not be televised.
Wọ́n ní televised nígbà tó máa wáyé. Ìwọ́n tó rọ́pọ̀ máa televise revolution. Mr. Koiki, ìjọ ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀, déètì wo ni? Ṣé wọ́n máa mú déètì fún kan bẹ́ẹ̀ ni? Wọ́n mú déètì. Ẹja ìfẹ́lẹ́ sẹ́yìn ìjàre àti kúrò ní Green Studio. Ẹja fi ti Yorùbá Nation ká fi kọ́ yìí. Wọ́n televise ṣe ìrọ̀kọ́ máa televise revolution. Kò sẹ́ tó máa televise, everybody ló máa jáde nígbà tó bá tásìkò yẹn. Ìyá máa jáde, ọmọdé máa jáde, àgbàlagbà máa jáde. A máa bèrè pé kí ló dé tí ìyà ń jẹ wá? Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá náà. Àbí ìyà ń jẹ wá ni? Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá. Tí ìyà bá ti jẹ wá, gbogbo wa máa jáde àgbèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa. But as far as I'm concerned, èmi ò rí pé ìyà ń jẹ wá. Tí ìyà bá ti jẹ wá dáadáa, gbogbo àpáta àtèmi àtiwọ́, everybody, àtọmọdé, gbẹ̀du, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, ò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín. Báwo ni gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣó ń lọ lọ́dọ̀ yín? Gbogbo ọlá máa béèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa. Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá nísìn, gbogbo tá ṣe ń ṣe yìí. Preambles la ṣe ń ṣe. Ìyà ò tí jẹ anybody. Ìyà jẹ wá, wọ́n pa wá ní wéré, wọ́n jẹ this, ẹ bá wa pè Ìgbòho, kò sẹ́ni tó máa pè Ìgbòho, gbogbo apáta la máa jáde, la máa béèrè pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. But for now, àìtí the stage yẹn, a ṣe warm up. Àpò tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ń warm up kẹ̀rẹ́, oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa mú wá. Mo kàn fi gbé fóònù yẹn síwájú mi ni o. Gbogbo tó bá fẹ́ rédíò tó jáde 35,000 ni, kò sí àní-àní níbẹ̀. Dọ́là ni, dọ́là ti di àárọ̀ yìí nísìn. Tó bá send owó through àwọn application 1,495. Tó bá lo àwọn agent táwọn máa ń lò ní London 1,000 and kìíní kan ló bọ́ sí. So the exchange rate is crazy. Ìlú tó ti bá yé jẹ́. So ẹ jẹ́ ká tún play Sowore lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Gbẹ̀du. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ sì lè wọlé tó máa gbóúnjẹ wá síbà ní ìsìn máa mú cornflakes ní ìsìn máa jẹyin. Tí bá ti wá jẹ tí bá ti jẹun tí kùn mí lé dáadáa, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ conversation. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ni darapọ̀ mọ́ lórí ẹjẹ́ àgbọ́ Sowore lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí jàre. Sowore gbọ́n sókè. Sowore ti gbọ́n, ó mọ bó ṣe ń lọ. Ó mọ̀ pé tá a bá ti dàrú, a lè tún tò. Tó bá rẹ̀ ti dàrú, definitely Nigeria máa pín. So in there fi jẹ́ kó dàrú yẹn, àwọn tuntun plan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ti ready. Because tá bá ti ready ni, èmi náà kóra mi mọ́, gbogbo ọ̀ ti ready. A fẹ́ gbé gbogbo pressure ló Ìgbòho lórí àbí. Ìgbòho náà ti ṣe tán, ṣáwa ti ready. Ìgbòho náà ti ready, ṣáwa ti ready. Ṣé Ìbà Gani Adams ti ready? Ṣáwọn Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà ti ready? Ṣé OPC ti ready? Ìgbòho nìkan kọ́ ló máa gbé iwájú. Ìgbòho ní àyà, kò sọ̀rọ̀ ogun, ó ní àyà ni. Èmi àti ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ kọjá, bá mi ò ṣá. Àti ti sọ̀rọ̀ kọjá, but I give him updates every day. Bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ Nigeria, I give him security update and other news and some other things that is not for public consumption. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, òkú ìyàwó ń bọ̀, àlọ́ máa gbáradì lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àìtí mú date, bí àwọn kan bá sọ fún mi pé ti mú date, irọ́ ló wà ń bẹ̀. Koiki ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ on behalf of Ìgbòho nísìn. Kò tí ì sí date kankan, but ó máa bọ́ sí lágbára Ọlọ́run ní February. Ẹ lọ máa fi yẹn sí inú diary. Ẹ lọ bá fẹ́ travel pẹ̀lú wọn, ẹ lọ máa prepare. That's all I will say. Ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ nílé, Ìgbòho wá lé. So tẹ́ ń béèrè, ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ nílé? Kíní kan, Ìgbòho ní gbogbo wa. Èmi lè lọ represent Ìgbòho. Gbẹ̀du lè lọ, mo àmọ̀ bí Gbẹ̀du fẹ́ láyà yẹn. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Gbẹ̀du ṣe láyà, ṣe lọ represent Ìgbòho. Ta ló bá lọ represent Ìgbòho? Gbogbo wa lè lọ represent Ìgbòho. Ẹ̀dá ń béèrè pé Mr. Koiki, ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀? Ṣé Ìgbòho máa wálé? Kí lẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ bí Ìgbòho máa wálé fún? Kí lẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ yẹn fún? A ní láti mọ̀ yẹn. Gbogbo wa ní Ìgbòho. Bẹ́ẹ̀mi gan tẹ̀tù wá lọ́lé. àwọn Koiki wà nílé tó pọ̀ so you know yes tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ fi ra aṣọ mo lè confirm yẹn náà nísìn so Ankara ọ̀gá ìlọ wọn á gé Ankara the carnival gbígbówó ìṣòwò rẹ gbóhùn sókè gbóhùn jẹbi wájà rẹ. Nigeria needs a revolution.
Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens,
Something drastic
we cannot
must
have
happen.
elections that are won on the basis of ideas. I still stand in Nigeria today as a successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics.
The politician,
where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates, and even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless the revolution
as a councillor.
Same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria.
Wọ́n ní kí Sowore as a councillor. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ ní brain, àwọn ló ń control yín. Wọ́n ní Sowore lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ as a councillor. Àbí ìgbà tẹ́ máa ń sọ kọ́ nìyẹn. Àbá sọ̀rọ̀ títí di the kingdom come. Irọ́ là ń pa. Àìtí ready, bàbá ready.
As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people.
Kelewak.
In Nigeria, where your government is greater than your house friends.
Kelewak.
To the skeptics,
Kelewak.
Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution. I said this. Hunger doesn't know ethnicity. Insecurity doesn't know race.
Hunger.
Nigeria becomes a better place. It won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now. And it will not be televised.
Kò ní televised. Sowore ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ n wá ti fídíò mi tó ṣiṣẹ́. How many minutes lele? Okura ń pele pọ̀. The full video. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀ ilé. Mo kí ẹ citizen AY, mo rí yín bẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa. Tálàfíà lẹ́wà. AY. Bàbá ní rírùgbọ̀ òun kẹ́. Citizen AY did a lot about Goldie. Ẹ lọ wo àwọn fídíò kan tí Citizen AY ṣe. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Goldie. Ọ̀dọ̀ Citizen AY wọ́n ti kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Goldie. Àwọn tó ta Nàìjíríà ọ̀tá fúnra wọn. Ẹ lọ wo àwọn fídíò yẹn. Citizen AY. Ẹ lọ wo àwọn fídíòs yẹn. Goldie. George Goldie. Kódà ó ní wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ kọ ìtàn rárá. Ó bayé jẹ́ ó bọ̀run jẹ́. Àìtí dé stage yẹn. Tàbá dé stage yẹn gbogbo àwọn máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn olóṣèlú pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ ṣe jàre Citizen AY. Ẹ máa gbọ́ Sowore ní background. Ọba ti pàtó rẹ̀ ti pẹ́. Ọlọ́run ló lẹ̀mí ẹ̀. Ìsàrò wíwá Nàìjíríà ti jẹyàn ìsàrò wíwá 1994 lọ́pàá. wèrè ń pọ ọmọdé ló ń pa àgbàlagbà. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi jáyà. Compliment of the season, Yami, Chrissy, Erama. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń parí breakfast mi, káwá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tiwa. All right, ẹ̀jẹ̀ to play the revolution.
It's pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. And I'm saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that a democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, Kolewek. In Nigeria, where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent,
Kolewek.
So the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution, I said this, hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now,
okay,
and it will not be televised.
So we're going compliment of the season fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Èmi ọmọ yín náà ni olólùfẹ́ gbogbo yín KOIKIMEDIA. Bringing the world. Àwọn ọmọ mi máa ní ogun wọn á correct ọmọ nínú world ni. I love my map. Bringing the world closer. Gbogbo tó ń lọ lágbàáyé tó bá ti fẹ́ mọ̀ máa bọ̀ lórí ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. Ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ló ti máa mọ gbogbo tó ń lọ torí èmi náà máa ń káàkiri máa lọ gbọ́ gbogbo tó ń lọ lágbàáyé màá mú wá fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé àti lóko. So táyì náà bá fi mọ tó ń lọ lágbàáyé ẹ wá ní bíbá ẹ̀yin méjì làgbàlagbà máa ń jẹ nínú ilé 3 gan lẹ́yìn kí máa jẹ ọkùnrin máa lọ máa sóso tó máa pààyàn sínú ilé fúnra yàn àbúrò ọmọ yẹn nísìn. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé àtúkàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa. Mo kí àwọn ọmọ tó ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ nílé àwọn gangan ni wọ́n fi ń pè mí ní KOIKIMEDIA. Ẹ̀hàn pé mi wà ní bíbá nísìn táwọn bá ṣe wà léèyàn nísìn àwọn ló ń jẹ́ kí ẹ máa rí gbogbo tó ń lọ nílé gbogbo tí ẹ mọ̀. Àwọn ìyá tó ń sunkún yẹn ẹ̀rọ àwọn ìyá kan tó ń sunkún lẹ́nujọ́ mẹ́ta táwọn ọmọ yẹn ṣe ń káàkiri ìyẹn ló ń jẹ́ kó easy fún wa pé ká lè mọ̀ tó ń lọ kí ló ń lọ nílé àti pé kí la lè ṣe. Can't find my give $sign logo. What is your ẹ máa lọ sórí page wa kejì ni ẹ jẹ́ n send the link yẹn sí ibẹ̀ lẹ́tí mẹ́rin fún wa ní super chat. YouTube ti gbá mi dànù láti April ọ̀jẹ̀ rówó gbà wọ́n ti tojú bọ channel mi kódà fídíò mo ní máa ṣe fídíò Samuel Ekpa lọ sórí YouTube mọ́ wọ́n pull it down èyí tí mo ṣe pẹ̀lú òun àti tó ṣe pẹ̀lú òun àti Ambazonia níjẹta YouTube láàárọ̀ yìí nísìnyí wọ́n ti pull it down pé kò ní sí wàhálà Nàìjíríà yẹn gbogbo wọn pátápátá ló máa jẹ gbá but I don't want to go that side so ẹni tó bá fẹ́ support wa ẹ máa lọ sórí backup channel wa máa share link yẹn nísìn àti April ní àwọn kan máa ní ẹ wọ́n fi Yorùbá Nation gbáwó ẹ̀yin tẹ́ẹ̀mọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ lọ wo Channels Television wọ́n ń ṣe advert lórí page wọn 1 billion ní Channels reach nísìn 1 billion viewers ìmọ̀ àwa sí ìbámu ní ẹ wọ́n fi àwọn èèyàn ṣáwọn tó fẹ́ fún wa lówó kọ́ máa fún wa lówó àbí ẹ jẹ́ n fi link yẹn síta ìyá mi tẹ bá lọ sórí yẹn lè send owó sínú yẹn ẹ lè fún wa super chat láti yẹn Al Jazeera láàárọ̀ nísìn kí n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ studio ẹ mọ̀ pé journalist wọn kan ó kú ní Gaza wọ́n máa ń ṣe press mọ̀mọ́ tó ń ṣe wọ́n ṣàfihàn report Israel fún ICC International Criminal Court gbogbo àwọn kìnìyàn kì í yá but it's good àwa náà ti gbé Buhari lọ síbẹ̀ tẹ́ bá lọ sórí page mi ẹ̀rí ibi táwọn lawyers tí wọ́n lò ń gbà yẹn àwọn brothers wa kan lamẹ́ríkà so mo kí grandma lè Àjàyí ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wọn so link ẹ mo fi síbẹ̀ ìyá mi Kristi tẹ́ bá gbọ́wọ́ lé ó máa gbé imú wa live náà lórí ẹ̀ YouTube méjìlá máa ń ràn lójoojúmọ́ kọ́dà ṣe ń try àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ wọ́n lọ subscribe sórí channel yẹn ẹ bá wa lọ subscribe ó wà very very important. Ìjáyà ń béèrè pé níbo ni a ti lè rí rédíò ní London ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kò sí rédíò ní London o Nàìjíríà ló wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá so kò sí bó ṣe kó wá sí London so ilẹ̀ máa rányàn kó lọ bá yín rà wá bó ṣe máa dé London fún yín so that's all I can say. Ṣójú òfin rọ̀ ní àbí kí ló ń fa tẹ́gùn tó tó yìí ṣàmárí snow ní London ṣá nínú ọdún yìí ẹ jẹ́ start channel mi tó kù so Ìjáyà tẹ̀bá máa send number ẹni tẹ̀ máa contact àwọn èèyàn tí ń ra o kò dẹ̀ pọ̀ 3,000 pieces ṣe ní first come first serve dẹ̀ ni tó bá ti tán ọmọ láti tó order mi láti produce ẹ̀ so ìjọba Ìtàló mo rọ́wọ́ yín ẹ ṣé gan Ọlọ́run tó bọ̀ wọn àbọ̀yìn láṣẹ ẹ ṣé gan mo appreciate ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ fi support wa First Bank mi lọ́ fi síta yẹn 30 96 80 84 48 mo ti withdraw cash app mi because wọ́n ti report ẹ̀ títí wọ́n jẹ́ ká rówó gbà lórí ẹ̀ náà ojoojúmọ́ lọ́n report mi ẹ yẹ ká ṣáàtìbí tá à ń lọ ẹni máa kàwé mi ẹ̀rí oríṣiríṣi bẹ́ẹ̀ èmi ò ní time yẹn níṣẹ́ our on the movement èèyàn máa ń focus nínú movement ni ò ní jẹ́ kí distraction kankan oríṣiríṣi táwọn máa ń èmi ò fẹ́ kí wọn kan distract mi àwa lórí ìrìn àjò ni Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè àdégbé wa débẹ̀ mo kí Sheikh Imam Nazil ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ojú oríṣiríṣi ló ṣàn wò yàn àwọn ojú dáadáa dẹ̀ ní gbogbo ojú tó ń wò mí bọ̀tẹ̀ ẹ̀wọ̀n ojú kan tó wà ó yẹ yín àwọn ojú ńláńlá ẹ̀já ń bínú no problem Ọlọ́run wà àwa di ọ̀pọ̀ Ọlọ́run mú mo dòpò Jésù mú mo dòpò sẹ̀lẹ̀ mú mo dẹ̀ dòpò àwọn onílẹ̀ mú ní ọ̀fífẹ́ Ọ̀jájá second orí adé babalá ṣífìlà fún yín bàbá mo rántí gbà tán ní wá gbẹdúṣẹ wá sígbà nígbà tí ọ̀ ní wá sí London ṣájọ wà níbẹ̀ mo kí ọ̀fọ́láyàn ó rà pé ẹ̀tẹ̀ láǹfààní ẹ lọ kí wọn nígbà yẹn pẹ̀lú ìyá àdúrà ojú tó ń wò mí lójoojúmọ́ dash mayor àwọn ojú dáadáa ló ń wò mí báyìí àwọn ojú kan tó wà ojú kùnú lábẹ́rẹ̀ bí wọ́n mọ̀ ìṣá ojú àná ò ní gbà tàbí wọ́n sọ pé spiritual battle là ń jà ẹni tó bá yé ló lè understand ẹrọ kojú lásán ní gbogbo tá à ń jà yìí wọ́n ti lọ́ọ̀kì Nàìjíríà pa we are fighting a spiritual fight mo kí bàbá mi tì á mi o mo kí gbogbo yín dáadáa bí ìṣe ọlọ́pẹ́ ẹni tó bá kí mi náà èmi náà kí mo ń bọ̀ nìbàdàn láìpẹ́ àwọn tèmi Ògúnmọ́lá wọn máa ń fi nǹkan sínú oúnjẹ mo ní tó bá wà ní kò fi sínú oúnjẹ ìjọ́kíjọ́ tí bá ti wálé àjọpọ̀ agbé mi lọ́jọ́ tó máa ń jàmà láti ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìgúnfe bọ̀ mo ti wálé nísìn ìyá ẹ̀ ti ṣe tó dáa ìyá ẹ̀ ti jù kankan wá ìyá Kristi nìkan wọn kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ikò dẹni tó ń bẹ̀ láíláí Shalom, ẹ ṣé gan ni. Mọ̀ pé owó ni Ìjẹ̀bú láì kó owó. Nígbà tí mo ti rí gbẹ̀mú owó yẹn, èmi gan àyà mi já. Kò ní tán níbẹ̀ fún yín mi. Thank you so much. Níbo ni ká ti tún bẹ̀rẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀? Mo ń try láti mọ̀ pé láàárọ̀ tí bá wá sórí program. Mo ní tó bá ti di January 1st tí bàbá Akíntóyè bá ti ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n tán orí Yorùbá Nation Radio gbogbo àná la máa gbé world media home based media. Ẹ ṣé gan ni mọ́mí wa Chrissy. Mo appreciate yín. Pẹ̀lú ẹ̀yin tẹ́ṣin fún wa náà àtàwọn tó ti fún wa gbogbo náà mo kí. Brother mi kan nígbà tá a ṣe program níjẹta àbí jẹrin. Ó ní Mr. Koiki, ó ní mo bẹ̀ ṣòro kòlónì yẹn àbí kòlónì àbí whatever yẹn ìyẹn ni kò máa bá ń ṣe program lé lórí kò tí ì yí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yàn nílé mo kọ sílẹ̀ mo kọ sí colony ó ní mo gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ fáwọn èèyàn. It seems a lot of our people do not understand. Mo kí a great Yoruba nation. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ APC náà. Like I always say, we are not fighting each other. Àlàyé la jọ ń bára wa ṣe. Mo fẹ́ situation. Mo kí ẹ àwọn tí KOIKIMEDIA team ní Ṣàgámù. Gbogbo yín pátápátá. Àwọn boys mi wọ́n ti mọ tí mo fi ránṣẹ́ sí wọn. Àwọn tó kù ó kù díẹ̀ ni. Àwọn ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ ká má múṣẹ. Gbogbo bẹ ṣe ń ràn mí lọ́wọ́. Àwọn 25 ló ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ nílé, but 15 kan ẹ mọ̀ wọ́n. Báwọn kan wà spy ni wọ́n fẹ́ èmi náà. Èmi náà ní spy. Government ní DSS, èmi náà ní DSS. Bẹ́ẹ̀ èmi náà ní Koiki náà ní DSS tiẹ̀. Mo ní intel káàkiri gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Láìtàlá ìsinmi abẹ́rẹ́ àlàzí láhùwà kò ń ṣe tẹnu. Iṣẹ́ tèmi gbé dání kò ń ṣiṣẹ́ kékeré. Mo sì ní ọ̀kan tó fún mi ní information kan láti Kaduna as at 72 hours ago. Mo rán yàn kan lọ sí Kaduna. Ẹ wọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo military formation wà. There's a lot happening in that shito country called Nigeria, but mo kí gbogbo apárapátá. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà. Ìta bá sọ, ta bá fi ṣẹ̀yìn, ẹ má bínú. Ṣebí kò bá dá fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá láwa ń sáré ẹ̀. Òkè mi ti jẹun nísìn. Gbogbo tí mo jẹ àgbàdo ló fi ṣe conflicts yẹn. Wàláì. Conflicts tí mo jẹ lẹ́ẹ̀kan. Kò mean anything. Àgbàdo, mílìkì yẹn, ó wá látara màálù. Fresh milk. Mo dẹ̀ máa ń lo team milk náà lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ẹyin nísìn, bí ṣe wà báyìí nísìn. Tí bá kọ̀ ni mo tún jẹ lé agídí ni. Mo ti wà full up already. And I'm not joking now. Ẹyin méjì tí mo ṣe mo tẹ̀ ti parí méjèèjì. Because mo jẹun sùn lánàá. And this is my first meal for the day. Internally tí mo ń jẹ nísinsìn, òun ni first meal. Kí ló wá dé tílẹ̀ Yorùbá débi ń pa wá tí ìyàn wà nílé? Why? Kí ló dé? Why? Ṣẹ́rí question yẹn, àìtí ìráwọn olóṣèlú akọ́wá bá wa answer ẹ̀. Kí ló dé tẹ́bi ń pa àwọn èèyàn? Kí ló dé tó di pé gàrí wá di tó wọ́n fún jíjẹ? Kí ló dé tí àgbàdo di tí a lè máa mọ̀gì mọ́? Why? Kí ló dé? Taláṣẹ. Kí làwọn èèyàn wá ṣe gan? Tẹ́ fi kórí wọn sábẹ́ ègò. Táwa wá ń sọ pé ẹjẹ́ ayọrí ìkúrò lábẹ́ ègò. Ẹ wá di pé àwa di enemy sí yín. And it shouldn't be like that. Tí Nàìjíríà bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ as an example, ìwọ̀nba gan ta bá ń sọ, àwọn èèyàn máa sọ fún wa pé Mr. Koiki, ṣó mọ̀ pé mi náà níná gbogbo ràkàtíà tó ń sọ ní London yẹn kò make sense. Kí làwọn èèyàn wá ṣe? Okay, tó fẹ́ ṣe poultry business wà níbí báyìí nísìn. Ṣé mọ̀ pé poultry business, wọ́n ní ejò máa ń wá síbẹ̀ tó pọ̀. Wọ́n ní ejò like ẹyin jíjẹ. But tí iná bá wà, tí gbogbo system yẹn wà set up, which it is, mo ṣàrí àwọn kan nígbà kan, gbogbo àná la máa rí fídíò yẹn. Very massive, ó dà pé Ọ̀ṣun state lọ set up poultry business yẹn sí. Wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí complain bóyá fún kọ̀ọ̀kan àbí nǹkan méjì, mo àmọ́ bóyá Governor Adeleke padà sàn, ó help wọn. Ṣèbó owó tó ń fún àwọn governors wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀ dúró lórí àwọn state wa, ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká dúró lórí state wa gangan. Láti Kwara state, Kogi state, Ondo state, Ekiti, Ọ̀ṣun, Ọ̀yọ́, Ògùn àti Lagos. Kí ló dé tí ìyà ń jẹ àwọn èèyàn wa? Ẹ jẹ́ á béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn governors wa. Ṣé owó tán fún wọn láti federal tó máa ń pín ní every month, ṣé kò wà enough ni? Àti pé internal generated revenue tí wọ́n tá mọ̀ sí IGR. Kí ló dé tí wọ́n increase capacity yẹn by building on the people? India, àwọn Indian, àwọn government wọn ló build wọn. They are very good in everything. Kí ni gbogbo ẹ ṣe rò pé production lọ ní India, which I'm going to link with this conversation. Mo ní bí by international news yìí. Mo ń wo Vantage lánàá. Girl yẹn ṣe mọ̀ pé pé kò ní sí third world war, ó máa kù díẹ̀ o, kọ́lọ̀ má jarógun o. Gbogbo ìtẹ́ǹsẹ̀ táwọn sọ pé kò ní sógun, irọ́ là ń pa fúnra wa, truth and question, mo kí yín. Tẹ́ bá ní kò ní sógun ní Nàìjíríà, likely pé third world war ó lè erupt o. The Red Sea is in danger right now. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ẹ mọ̀ pé India náà ti di superpower gan. Kí ló mú wọn tó fi di superpower? Because wọ́n build àwọn èèyàn wọn, wọ́n náwó fáwọn citizen wọn, wọ́n build wọn up, wọ́n wá ti di èèyàn ńláńláńlá. Ṣé mọ̀ pé bí ṣe wà báyìí nísìn, Nàìjíríà ló yẹ kó máa jẹ́ subcontract of a lot of things tó yẹ ká máa ṣe. Kí ni mo mean by that? Òyìnbó nísìn, wọ́n sublet many of the projects tó ń ṣe láti Bangladesh as an example. Ṣé àwọn pé Bangladesh ló ní the biggest garment? Kí ló ṣe Nàìjíríà tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ìyẹn ló yẹ káwa jẹ́ superpower lé lórí? So that tí bá fẹ́ ṣe mọ́mí wa tó wá bá wa ṣe program ní last week, Mr. Koiki, àwọn ní the video yẹn, kí ló dé tí mo tí bá wọn ṣe, mo ní ẹ má bínú mọ́mí, ọwọ́ mi kún ni mo busy díẹ̀. Ṣé mọ̀ pé automatically iṣẹ́ tó yẹ káwọn kan bá wa ṣe nílé nìyẹn. So bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe ń parí fídíò mi, tí bá kàn ti fún wọn information, which is what my team are doing, tí bá ti fún wọn information, but níbi tí kò sí stable electricity, okay, mo ti send the computer sí wọn, mo fún wọn ní generator. Ìyàwó mi jẹ́ kó yé mi pé generator is there for backup. Kò ń ṣe tó yẹ kíyàn máa tàn mọ́jú láti 24/7. It is only there for backup. Spell orúkọ yẹn dáadáa, Mr. Ọláfẹ́lẹ̀ òkìkí lẹ́kọ́ yẹn, mo ń ṣòkìkí o, Kóìkì lórúkọ mi o, ẹ bá ń tún kọ KOIKI. Àwọn kan tẹ̀nà ọmọ Ìgbò ni mi, ní tó bá wù ní kẹ́ pè mí, problem yìí nìyẹn. Èmi ṣàmọ́ bí tí mo ti wá. Wọ́n ọmọ Ìgbò ni mi. Adéyínká grandson lẹ̀ ló dágbó wàhálà yẹn lẹ̀. Ọlọ́ba yọ kúrò nínú prison tó wà. Ó sì wà ní prison. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà is because mo wà lórí TikTok láàárọ̀, ẹ má bínú, I'm just mixing things and mo máa move because ní topic. Mo ti jí láti mo tají time mo ni mo jí yẹn náà, ilẹ̀ ti fẹ́ mọ́tán náà, ráà pé bí almost bí up to 5 or somewhere around there, or bí 4. Mo ṣáà dìde, màá lọ èmi náà lọ sórí TikTok, màá lọ mọ káwọn èèyàn sọ. Bàbá kan sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹni tó bá fẹ́ travel this and that, àwọn tó fẹ́ lọ sí Hamburg, ẹni tó fẹ́ lọ Germany, dẹ̀mọ̀tòrà àwọn kan náà sọ̀rọ̀ Mohbad. Ẹ̀gbọ́n kan náà wà, wọ́n pé kíní kan Ààrẹ Máyégún ló ń pè wọ́n. Ààrẹ àwọn ọmọ American kan wà ní báyà ń ṣàjókòó síbẹ̀ náà wo náà sọ, but I don't comment. But I just like the feel of the new technology, how every one of us is engaging in different things. So platform kankan ní nǹkan tó ń discuss. Kódà mo wọ platform kan, àwọn èèyàn ń discuss nípa ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn platform kan tó wà tó ń support Wùnmí. Gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń bú Wùnmí yẹn, àwọn ìyá kan wà tó ń support ẹ̀. Mo wà lórí platform yẹn, mo jà ń gbogbo tó ń sọ, and in life, ẹ máa balance kan náà ni, ẹ máa wo síra wọn. Irú ìlú yìí nísìn, kéèsì kan wà nísìn, irú kéèsì designing nísìn, ó níwọ̀n bàtẹ́ mi lè sọ, because òfin wà nílùú tiwa. Ẹ mọ̀ Nàìjíríà, everybody is just talking about the case of Mohbad. Tó bá yẹ pé ìlú tó dá ní Nàìjíríà, tó bá sọ fún yín pé ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lórí kéèsì yẹn, ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ̀ o. Ṣé mọ̀ pé kéèsì kan wà ní London nísìn, mọ̀ bí a paper. Ṣé inú pépà fẹ́ nù? Inú kíní mo ti kà, inú NCA, National Crime Agency, First Bank Manager kan tó ní wọ́n gbé wá sí ó gba òun náà wọ́n máa swear or something like that. Kéèsì yẹn lọ sí mo tètè gbọ́ orí Gazette ni mo ti kà níjẹta, èní Thursday àgbẹ̀dà àgbẹ̀jọ Monday. So àwọn kéèsì kan wà nílùú yìí, ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí o. Ó níwọ̀n bá tẹ̀lé sọ, but Nigeria is a lawless country, so everybody come ṣe analysis. tílùú ìbá jẹ́ pé ìlú tó dáa ní Nàìjíríà tó bá ní ẹ lè sọ lórí case because but nítorí pé system yẹn ò ṣiṣẹ́ so mo wà lórí different platforms èmi náà máa lọ ń gbọ́ so tẹ bá wá sórí platform tẹ́lẹ̀ náà nísìn in táwa ń discuss òun ni pé àwa dúró lórí pé Nàìjíríà ò ṣiṣẹ́ kò mí ìpẹni tó ń sọ pé òun náà fẹ́ àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ní other platforms yẹn náà in tó ń sọ right but the same thing táwa ń sọ yìí òun náà ló ń affect gbogbo okay ẹni tó mo wà níbi platform débi pé wọ́n advice bọ̀bọ̀ kan ó náà pé Canada ló wà pé o máa láti mọ̀ mọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣá wọ́n ṣá advice pé bí ọkọ̀ tẹ̀ withdraw gbogbo information ẹ̀ kúrò lórí social media I don't know what has happened ẹ mọ̀ immigration kẹrì mọ̀ sí wọn sọ pé ẹni tó bá bí sí ìlú yìí o máa go through immigration so tó bá jẹ́ pọ̀rọ̀ immigration èmi máa ń like immigration ìlú yìí kàn ní pé tó bá ní òde ìlú kan and this is just an advice mo ń ṣe visa o but lórí ọmọ immigration mọ̀ sí mi ti go through ẹ̀ èmi ti go through ẹ̀ so mo dẹ̀ máa ń mọ̀ sí pé kí ló dẹ̀ bí mi sí ìlú yìí last born wa irú ẹ̀ lọ bí sí Margaret Thatcher ló pa òfin yẹn mọ́ kò jẹ́ kó máa bí èèyàn sí ìlú yìí kó máa dípò automatic British àti gba British passport kan ti le gan nísìn and they're making it very tighter and tighter so ṣe rí àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ náà ní other platforms yẹn tó ní èèyàn máa sá lọ a máa travel kinní kan Nigeria is not working Africa is not working it is the same problem táwa ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí pé àwọn colonial during the colonization ìtọ́ṣe nìyẹn we are now going into the second or the third slavery àwa la wá ń travel nísìn a máa lọ raise owó a máa parọ́ ni a máa mo fẹ́ máa go through gbogbo alamọ olúkàlùkù ló mọ eré tó ń sá fáwọn family ẹ̀ àti wọ́ bó ṣe fi kúrò Nàìjíríà èmi ti kúrò nísìn 25 years ago this is the problem tá à ń try láti resolve pé we should now work about or we should talk about báwo la ṣe fẹ́ make sure pé ayé wa going forward ẹ ṣe gan ìgbọ́n mi gbẹ̀dùn mo rí ìtẹ̀fìránṣẹ́ owó gidi ni mo fẹ́ ẹ tètè pè mí kẹ́ bó dẹ̀ pẹ́ máa ra chicken yẹn wà ní ẹ̀yin kúkú mọ ibi tí mo wà ẹ má dẹ̀ sọ ibi tí mo wà fẹ́ ní kankan ẹ mọ̀ pé mi àti yín ẹ bá ti sọ ibi tèmi wà èmi náà sọ ibi tẹ́yìn náà wà ọ ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀dẹ̀ ń wá ní Nàìjíríà so ẹ̀yin lẹ máa lọ represent Ìgbòho ẹ̀yin lẹ máa lọ represent Yorùbá World Media nílé ẹ̀yin àti Dr. Zabi àti Alhaja Ara ẹ̀yin mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta ni máa rán lọ èmi á dúró sí ẹ̀yin òdì báyìí èmi á máa gbé gbogbo transmission ọláwà pẹ̀lú gbogbo. So what I'm just trying to say is that Nigerians are good people. There's nothing right about that. But now we are now understanding that kò sí kankan tó ń pè ní Nigerians, it is lie. But many Nigerians still doesn't want to accept that. So ẹ fẹ́ mú Nigeria, ẹ fẹ́ máa jẹ́ Nigerians, àwa ní no problem. If that is what you want, mo kàn fi ń ṣàpèjúwe pẹ̀lú àwọn platforms ẹ mọ̀ kí mo ti fún yín ní multiple àwọn tó bá mọ platform tí mo dárúkọ nísìn wọ́n pe ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ ní Ààrẹ Máyégún àwọn fine girls kan wà níbẹ̀ àtàwọn mọ́mì kan ó dúkọ̀ àwọn yàtọ̀ American accent mo èmi náà ṣàrẹ́rìn mo wà nínú orí bẹ́ẹ̀dì mi mo kàn gbọ́ létí mi dẹ̀ mo lọ sí page kan ìyẹn woman yẹn ìyẹn tẹ̀ ní ìyẹn sọ ìyẹn complained pé òun ò lè ever fẹ́ dúdú bàbá òun ti nà ìyá òun kíní kan domestic violence it happens as well. It is not something that we advise that is good. But please, if you are in that situation, sometimes maybe you have to work out so that come out the problem. Mo wà níbi àwọn tó supporting Wunmi. Mo gbọ́ analysis àwọn mothers yẹn. I'm not here to defend Wunmi. I'm not here to. Ṣé rí problem tí wọ́n go through yẹn àti case Mohbad tó bá jẹ́ pé ìlú tó da náà ni. Ní ìwọ̀nba kò ń ṣe pé ìlú yìí náà ọmọ crime tó wà nílùú yìí kò ṣe kékeré rárá. Journalists lawa we get report about crime ó náà àwọn Twitter kan táwọn náà follow every day tí máa lọ ẹ̀ka ọ̀rọ̀ yàwá Ọlájírè ẹ̀yin tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń jí ní America ní Canada ẹ̀ka bọ̀ sórí ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wà ní Japan àwọn tí wà lọ́wọ́ alẹ́ New Zealand Australia mo kí gbogbo wa ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wà Nàìjíríà náà mo kí yín ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ dẹ̀ tí gba Yorùbá nation country o mo máa sọ fún yín gbogbo nonsense táwọn jagbajantis yẹn sọ it is all lies a ṣe ń campaign ní pàfẹ́gbà country àìtí débẹ̀ bọ̀ kọ́ba Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ kójú gbogbo wa ṣí ìtorí ojú gbogbo wa ò tí ì ṣí a wà nínú ìgò tó ti lock àwa fẹ́ ṣí gbogbo àwọn ń jà Kóìkì bí wọ́n ṣe ń sọ yẹn kọ́ ló ṣe jẹ́ kó sọ ò bá sọ tẹ́mi ò bá sọ dáadáa ìwọ náà sọ tiẹ̀ so gbogbo àwọn platforms tó ń complain pé Nàìjíríà ò da kéèsì Mohbad rí báyìí a fẹ́ travel the same complaint tẹ́ ń rí yẹn òun ni Ṣòwòrẹ́ náà tọ́ra sọ pé tá a bá fọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ ká fọ́ délẹ̀ bá ṣe máa sọ nìyẹn Okay, some of us are well, ẹlòmíì, mo tún gbọ́ woman kan náà, mo tún wà lórí platform, alẹ́ àná tẹ̀ mo tẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yẹn, mo jókòó bẹ́ẹ̀, ìyàwó mi jókòó báyìí, mo ṣáà ń gbọ́ bèbí ẹ̀hún àìní ẹ, àwọn ọkùnrin kan nísìn, wọ́n máa wá sórí platform, àwọn ìyàwó náà máa wá, tó bá ti wá gbọ́ àwọn ìyàwó yẹn, wá gbọ́ lọ́wọ́, different things. So every platform have what they are discussing, but lórí platform tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa, self-determination la dúró lé, but all this you're complaining about Nigeria, Nigeria is not doing this, Nigeria is not doing that, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, if the system was good, if the system was loyal, journalist me, moving reference in it, problem as far as I'm concerned, that is a part of the problem in Nigeria that has been created that we are trying to resolve. But because if it's interesting, whether we like it or not, the interests of Nigerians are always attached to certain things. Interestingly, Yoruba, especially because the kind of future that we are talking about. Whether I return back to Nigeria or not, as long as I can have my future here and I can decide not to be in Nigeria. Mama to lost in Nigeria in the last 40 years. Mama to in Nigeria in the last 30 years. Nigeria. There's so much to do in this world. Now, again, para see India. India ti gbé worship lọ sí Red Sea. Again, we are married. Mo ti gbé ma ti mo bi en teti sono. So ẹ jẹ́ kí n wò kí n kà jáde as an article India Red Sea. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀? Because wọ́n lè afford kí $200 billion wọ́n. Mo ti rí lórí mint. Akanisin. India cannot afford $200 billion of owó tó máa pa kó get stock láàrin route yẹn Red Sea yẹn ibi tí àwọn kan gbà tó ń gbé oríṣiríṣi ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn dem produce nǹkan so wọ́n lè afford kí wọ́n lose owó nítorí àwọn Yemen àwọn Yemenis àwọn ti di another deal tó yẹ pé ìjà tó ń lọ ní orí omi yẹn ó kọjá rẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré kà fún yín kó lè yé wa. This is coming from the Mint, website calling www.lifemint.com in case they ever feel a reference there. And the headline says, the Red Sea. Òun kọ́ ni wọ́n sọ nínú ìtàn Bible. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ Kristẹni. Òun kọ́ ló sọ nínú ìtàn Bible, Israel, Red Sea. Ṣé òun náà ni the same Red Sea yẹn náà ló máa jáde tán ní ó ṣí táwọn ọmọ ogun Fáráò tó wọnú ẹ̀. I'm sure many people that are Christians will understand that. Eba mi fi sínú comment section. Ẹ̀yin pastor tẹ́ wà lórí live show pẹ̀lú mi. Now, kí ni important fún India? The Red Sea important and its economic impact. Bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí nísìn. Bàbá problem pọ̀ ní area yẹn. Okay, that's me ní òun náà ni. So Red Sea náà ni Òkun Pupa. Pledge to support Palestine cause. Yemen Houthis have been hijacking ships that ply the Red Sea to travel through the Suez Canal, S-U-E-Z Canal. Here is why that has raised jitters throughout the oil and gas industry. There's a lot of issues in that side. Okay, there are only one Red Sea. So Red Sea, let's go further. A series of attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea have been reported since the Israel-Hamas war broke out on October 7, sparking fears of global supply of chain distributions. On November 21, a Galaxy leader, an Israel cargo vessel en route from Turkey to India, was hijacked in the Middle Eastern Sea with 25 people on board by Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi rebels. This disruption is significant as approximately 12% of the global shipping traffic navigates through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. It's a very, very important route for business. Moki Pastor Ayodele Mubarak, Ekabo Daddy, Ekabo Sir. And like I always say, you don't believe in Christmas, please am I condemn àwọn tó believe it àwa náà máa ṣe ṣùdé ní 24 tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ ló believe it tó bá dẹ̀ pé muslim nìyẹn ìyá mi á ní ẹni ọdún bá bá láyé ló ń ṣọdún ni o. Again, let's go further. All the ships belonging to Israel enemy or that deal with it will become a legitimate target. Now, India not to be warship lọ síbẹ̀ because they have $200 billion to play with that they cannot afford láti jẹ́ kó wà jeopardized. Now, kí ni tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ní Nigeria? Every day, àwọn ọmọ Nigerians à ń dìde, à ń jí, but wọ́n prepare future kankan fún wa. I want sọ fúnra wa pé fair enough, some of us will be much advantage than the other. Ẹlòmíì kan máa jí láàárọ̀, Nigeria ò lè di olówó, bíá through fame, bíá through whatever. But in reality, what about all the others? Tàbá sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, we have 774 local government. Lánàá a sọ pé wọ́n sọ fún Tinubu nísìn, ìyẹn Jagaban, pé kó declare state of emergency because there's no jobs in every 774 local government. Ìwọ bá mi wo local government ọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀. Kí ni wọ́n produce níbẹ̀? Yàtọ̀ sáwọn tó wà ní àwọn axis kan níbi Ọ̀gbárá ọ̀nà Ògùn state, a mọ̀ pé oríṣiríṣi company wà níbẹ̀. But apart from àwọn tó jẹ́ gbòógì, think about níbo ni ibi tó jẹ́ the major production hub tó wà ní local government ẹ bá mi fi sí ní comment section. So why are we asking for Yoruba Nation? We are asking for Yoruba Nation so that we can be able to now decide our own sovereignty. Because sovereignty tó wà ńbẹ̀ nísìn ti Nigeria kò favor wa based on the fact that àwọn tó ń represent wa, they are being also controlled from outside and from within the federal. But ẹ ń disagree pẹ̀lú wa, whereas ẹ ń complain bitterly. So I don't know what you guys want, because if you are complaining about Nigeria and we are bringing another solution, Sowore ti sọ pé ẹ lè fi election fi bring a peace àti unity àti ntẹ́nfẹ́ ní Nigeria. Ẹja túbọ̀ tí Sowore sọ níbí.
It is pointless chasing a rat.
It's pointless chasing a rat. Kí ló ń pè ní rat? Ẹ mọ àwọn eku tó wà nílé yín yẹn tó fẹ́ jẹ ráìsì yín tẹ̀sẹ̀ rà tó fẹ́ jẹ gàrí, àwọn náà ebi ń pa wọ́n. Even though ó yẹ kí a ti eradicate gbogbo kìíní yẹn to some extent. Kò ń ṣe pé kò sí láwọn ìlú kankan, but ibi tó máa wà, ibi tó ti ń dín dòdò, tó ti ń dín àkàrà, bí àwọn ṣọ́ọ̀pù kankan nílùú iná tó ń ṣe chicken and chips, bó kò jẹ́ kéku máa wá sínú ilé. Eku tó fẹ́ gba bíbẹ̀ kọjá nísìn, á try gan because system yẹn á ti clean ẹ̀. Kò sí ọ̀nà tí kú fẹ́ gbà wọlé, kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n nílé wọlé o, but ó wà very very minimal. But nígbà tó yẹ pé Nàìjíríà ti wà develop, ara lé síbi títí ẹlòmíà ni àwọn kọ́lé, ilé tẹ kọ́, okay, ilé tí ń fine, but títí ò débẹ̀. There is no point chasing a rat. In Mokia Easy Dollar, káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. There is no point chasing a rat. À ń complain pé Nàìjíríà ò yẹ wá, kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa. Àwa dẹ̀ wọ́n mú another option wá lábẹ́ bàbá wa Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, pé okay, a ti try, a ti gbìyànjú pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà. Ṣe jẹ́ ká gbélé ìyẹ̀wò ẹni no. Ẹ fẹ́ secure Nàìjíríà. Èmi béèrè pé ta lẹ ń secure fún, ta lẹ ń protect Nàìjíríà fún, because àwọn tẹ́ ń protect ẹ̀ fún òun ni Shell, òun ni BP, òun ni àwọn olówó ńláńláńlá, òun ni àwọn edit wa tí bàbá Akintoye sọ. Mo ti ṣe audio yẹn jáde lánàá nígbà tí mo ṣe Star Radio. Ẹni tó bá rí audio yẹn ẹ bá wa pín káàkiri. Sowore gbóhùn sókè.
House is on fire.
Ilé wa ti wà lórí iná. Nigeria is on fire. But many Nigerians are living in denial. It is currently on fire. There is nothing we can do to rectify the damage that has been done if we do not pull out of Nigeria. If you are one of those that say, we don't want to pull out of Nigeria, mo máa ń gbọ́ argument kan táwọn kan máa ń sọ pé we are better off ká wà ní odindi. Lọ́kàn wọn kan wọ́n rò pé bí àtẹ́ pé a fẹ́ pínra wa sí half. Ó dẹ̀ better ká wà ní formation kan báyìí. Ẹ mọ̀ pé lóòótọ́ formation da, ẹ mọ̀ tí wọ́n bá ń gbá ball, formation yẹn da bad. But èèyàn lè gba 6-6 náà, ó lè gba èèyàn gbá 3-3. The formation of this country tá à ń pè Nigeria tó wà lódindi kò ní any impact. Ó mì gan jẹlẹjẹlẹ ṣe pé kí ni ṣe mì bí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà nìyẹn. So àwa live in denial. à ń sọ pé níjọ́ kan ẹ lágbára Jésù Kristi, lágbára Ànábì Muhammad, lágbára àwọn onílẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá, Nàìjíríà máa san wá. Okay, lóòótọ́ ó máa san àwọn kan, bọ̀ kò ní san ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àfi tá a bá ń parọ́ fúnra wa. Tí Nàìjíríà bá máa sànyàn ni, ó jẹ́ kí a máa rí so much of the atrocities tí à ń rí tó ń wà lójú wa tá à ń rí, but à ń live in denial. Now, àwa wá ti wá wo ilé ayé ta wà lénìí nísìn, a rí pé dandan kọ́ ni pé ká wà lódìndí báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wà ní ààbọ̀ láàbọ̀, ká di bọ́dà wa, ká wá bá àwọn tó kù ká bá wọn ṣe. Àwọn tó kù ká bá wọn ní relationship, ká bá wọn ní representative, ká send representative wa lọ sáwọn tó kù. Kò mean pé àwọn tajọ́ ń gbé yẹn we will become enemies. We will still be friends with the Hausas. We can even be friends with the Fulanis, but Fulani ta fẹ́ bá ṣe, àmọ́ pa ti gba fingerprinted. Bẹ́ẹ̀mi ṣe wà nílò ìnísìn, my fingerprint is with them. Because ìdí tí mo ṣe fún wọn ní fingerprint mi ni pé because I want to live here. Tí màá fẹ́ gbé nílùú ìmọ̀ ní fún wọn ní fingerprint. Ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ Òmùgọ̀ tẹ máa ń sọ, Koiki come and lead us. Orí yóò pè tẹ máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀, mo sorry gan. Ìwọ tó ní kí Koiki come and lead us. Nobody is going to lead anybody. Everybody will come out at the appropriate time. Ṣòwòrẹ́ wà níbẹ̀, kí ló dé tẹ̀ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́? Ẹ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́ náà, ṣebí Ṣòwòrẹ́ ń sọ pé òun ready. Ẹ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́, ẹ wá ní Koiki come and lead us. Nígbà tí mo wá sílé for 6 months, kí lẹ ṣe sí? Ṣèbí mi wá sílé tá ń lọ káàkiri, tá ń gbé campaign káàkiri, ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lọ ṣe yẹn kí n rí yín. Stop saying Koiki come and lead us. I don't have to lead anybody. I don't have to come and lead anybody. Ṣé èmi nìyà ń jẹ ni? Èmi kọ́ nìyà ń jẹ. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ń lé gangan nìyà ń jẹ jù. I am 6,000 kilometers. I am here to guide. Mo dẹ̀ ti sọ fún wa pé èmi ò ń ṣe àwọn mídíà tó kù. I will be at home in 72 hours. Tẹ́ bá yẹ pé tòótọ́ lẹ ready. Ti ready. When we came home and we were talking about the movement, many of you bí bàbá yẹn Kọ́lá Olóòtú, nígbà táwa ń lọ sínú igbó tá káàkiri, ẹ lọ gbọ́ fídíò tó sọ, ó ní òun tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ rí nígbà tí gbò èbé mi wá sílé, ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ Kọ́lá Olóòtú pé kó jáde kó lead yín. Nígbà tèmi wá sílé pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho, bàbá yẹn náà òun tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ rí, ó ní kó máa ro àmàlà fóun. If you are waiting for me, ẹ máa wait. Ìyá máa jẹ yín dáadáa ká tó débi tá ń lọ. No problem, èmi ò ní kẹ́ máa wait for me. But if you are waiting for me, continue to wait. My job is to remind you every day on this platform that the country is not working. The only solution is for us to talk about it and prepare our mind. Mo dẹ̀ ti sọ pé tí Nàìjíríà bá dé stage tó wà ní anarchy stage, tó wà níbi tá ti rí pé yes, àti ready lóòótọ́, àwa kan máa wá sílé, a máa darapọ̀ mọ́ yín. Look, journalists wà káàkiri àgbáyé nísìn tó ń fight on behalf of the people, innocent people. They are there, they're fighting. So this Nigeria that is on a fire,
Nigeria needs a revolution.
Only Nigeria needs a revolution. Kí ló dé tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ ń lo terms revolution tó yàtọ̀ sí táwa ń sọ, which is self-determination. Ṣòwòrẹ́ mọ̀ pé tẹ́ bá fẹ́ rí a reset button. This is a mobile phone. I have this phone now. Think of bá ṣe phone yìí nísìn. There's probability pé wọ́n lè sọ fún mi pé a máa reset ẹ̀ ni. Tí mo bá lè fix problem tó wà lórí ẹ̀. Wọ́n á dẹ̀ sọ fún mi pé Mr. Koiki, gbogbo data yín, picture, files tó wà níbẹ̀, a máa wipe it off. That is what we are saying. If you do not wipe off the current data tó wà ní Nigeria, then intention pé ẹ̀ ń top it up by voting every 4 years. That means you are giving the politicians extra power to become dominant against every one of us. And owó kẹ̀rẹ́ is another kind of devil, because ẹni tó lówó ó máa intimidate ẹni tó ní, especially in a society that is lawless like Nigeria. Irú bíbá ẹni sìn. I don't have to look up to, mo sorry pé láti mention DJ Copy. Olówó ni wọ́n lóòótọ́. I don't have to look up to her. Olówó tiẹ̀, ó jẹ́ kọ́ ni mo jẹ́ nísìn. Ẹ má dáhùn náà, bá ṣe máa sọ, bá ṣe máa wá àwọn tó wà lọ, bá ṣe máa sọ nìyẹn. Koiki come and lead us. Ìgbà tá wá sílé, tá wá lead yín kí lẹ ṣe sí. Àkóbá àdàbá náà kọ́ lẹ ṣe fún wa pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho àtèmi. Àbẹ́yìn kọ́ lẹ lọ kó bá wa. Ẹ lọ sọ fún wọn pé wọ́n fẹ́ dàlúrú. Ìlú òde ti dàrú báyìí nísìn. Mo kí ẹyí tán tó sè, brother mi dáadáa kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Ìta àṣẹ ń sọ fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ni pé tí gbogbo wa bá ti láì pé lóòótọ́ Nàìjíríà kò wà fixable, because àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan sì believe pé a sì lè fix Nàìjíríà. Ibi táwa ti ní issue pẹ̀lú yín nìyẹn, a lè fix Nàìjíríà. A ti kọjá stage bá fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà. Ṣé rí gbogbo wọ́n máa restructure Nàìjíríà, ó máa padà sí regional government bí ìgbà tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1960 yẹn, ìyẹn ò lè wáyé mọ́ because àwọn olóṣèlú ti taste power. Mo kí yàrá wúrà _ Yorùbá and ẹ̀yin tẹ́wà lórí Twitter space. What it taste power? They are very, very happy the way Nigeria is. Look, if you say that we are going to be able to fix Nigeria, the question is, actually, Mr. Ike Oluwa, one in Nigeria cannot be fixed. But many Nigerians, I read your comment, I see your reaction. Everybody is not happy with the system, but you don't want it to collapse. That is where there's a difference between why Soviet Union collapsed and Ukraine is able to stand on its own. Latvia is able to stand on its own. Why don't we allow this country to fold up? When we say fold up, the Yoruba territory, Oshimawa, the Igbo territory, Oshimawa, the Hausa territory, Oshimawa, the Middle Belt territory, Oshimawa, the first thing that we want to take out is that name called Nigeria. The moment we can pull off that name, and then we go back to our original name, we can then start talking about the movement of a new way of life. What a lot of you want is, you are waiting for these corrupt politicians like Amosun, all these corrupt politicians like Yayi, Oshoba, and the rest of them. They are not going to fix Nigeria. What they are there for the purpose is just to keep us together, as they say, keep them together and let them fight each other. So again, let's talk about where we continue from. I'm trying to break down a little bit of what Showore said, and I'll go straight into another section.
Yes. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we
I like that bit. Go to Kellen Consumer.
cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today,
meaning drastic. What is the meaning of drastic?
Drastic.
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 Drastic. Kí ló dé tí Showore ṣe lo èdè yẹn? Ẹ jẹ́ rewind ẹ̀ díẹ̀ padà. Ẹ gbóhùn sókè Showore.
So we cannot have elections that are. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens,
what is the drastic thing that is going to happen for us to be able to move forward? Okay. Tẹ́bá ní ẹ̀fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Ẹ sọ fún Bàbá Fẹ́ Babalọ́lá. Ẹ sọ fún Fẹ́mi Fálànà. Ẹ sọ fún Robert Clark. Ẹ sọ fún Talutuya àwọn lawyer ńláńlá. All these big lawyers. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé kó sọ fún Tinubu pé kó pull down 1999 constitution. Mo kí Baba Nurudeen. Okay, first self-determination. Can we pull down the 1999 constitution? Can we pull down? We pull it down completely. Ní lomo ní Nigeria láti fi ṣe Nigeria. Àwa ṣe draft a new constitution. Gbogbo eléyìí tí mo sọ yìí can happen within a space of time. Now, ṣé evidence wà? Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wo laptop yìí ń gbé súnmọ́ bí ó ti jìnnà sí mi jù. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Kí ni meaning drastic?
Drastic.
Likely to have a strong or far-reaching effect. Nigeria would not have impact on our lives just as it never did. Tẹ́mi fi ṣetán ní secondary school. Mom sí mi ló spend gbogbo owó tí a fi lọ sí secondary school. There was no government support from 1991, 1990 mo wọlé, yeah, títí dé 1995. Èmi ni mo ń sọ, èmi ò sọ tẹlòmíì o. Tí mo fi ṣetán ní Abẹ́òkúta Grammar School is a public school, if I'm right. It's a public school, kò ń ṣe private school ni mo lọ. Ní secondary school mo mean. I went to a private school. Ká tẹ̀ sọ pé private yẹn, àwa la decide pé ohun ẹ̀ ni because government is a public school. Ẹ̀yin lè rán ọmọ yín lọ. Okay, I went to the public school. but a very sound one and a very, very strong school called Abeokuta Grammar School. Tafitemi fi ṣetán ní 1995. Mọ̀mísí mi ló ná the last penny títí tí mo fi ṣe WAEC. There was no government intervention at all. Ìwé ni tí mo rà ni, aṣọ school ni, hostel tí mo gbé ni, I mean boarding school tí mo gbé ni, oúnjẹ tí mo ń jẹ ni. Ọlọ́run mọ̀ tí ìyá yẹn ná for that period. Ṣé mọ̀ pé it is not the same thing ní outside the country. Ní outside the country, o máa ra school uniform, government ò ń bẹ̀ rà, but tó bá wà stock, torí àwọn kan wà poverty náà wà ní abroad, àwọn kan máa intervene, wà lọ bá wọn, government create àwọn kan náà, àwọn charity kan náà tún wà, ẹbí ọmọ ẹ tó lè wọ kò lè raṣọ school, wà bẹ̀ sort it out, but pé o máa sanwó school nílùú yìí, ò ní sanwó school at least up to secondary. Tó bá wá fẹ́ lọ sí university, ṣe rí gbogbo wàhálà táwa ṣe ń wá owó ta fẹ́ fi wá sí business center ní university ìlú yìí, mo ti sọ fún yín so many times, but èmi ò ní discourage anybody láti má wà. Tó bá jẹ́ pé yẹn ló lè gbé wọ UK, ló lè gbé wọ Canada, ló lè gbé wọ Europe, ibikíbi tó bá máa gbé wọ, I don't care, but it is all business center ni, because business center I mean pé àwọn university yẹn nílùú yìí wọ́n fi ń make owó láti fi progress. Ṣòwòrẹ́ wá ní something
drastic.
It has to be radical and extreme. Ṣé kò ń ṣe extreme ni wọ́n fi wá bá wa nígbà táwọn òyìnbó yẹn dé? Lóòótọ́ à ń try láti avoid nísìn lórí ètò tèmi nísìn pé ọ̀rọ̀ a máa jà yẹn, but àwa mọ̀ pé àwọn tó yé ní bíbáyìí tí wọ́n mọ̀ mí dáadáa orí M1 la máa padà sí. Ìgbà tá a fẹ́ padà sórí M1 yẹn láì tí mọ̀, tó bá mọ̀ tán pè M1 máa béèrè lórí comment section because mo ní sọ fún ẹ. Orí M1 tá à ń sá fún yẹn, orí ẹ̀ náà la máa end up sí. Ìgbà tó máa wáyé, àsìkò tó máa dé, tá máa fi bọ́ sórí M1 because M1 oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà dẹ̀ ló lè gbà wọnú M1. Mo lè join M1 látọ̀dọ̀ M25, mo lè lọ join látòrí M1 látòrí A40, mo lè gba A406 wọlé, anywhere ló lè gbà wọlé as long as tabasha ti wà lórí M1. A dẹ̀ máa pàdé ra wa lórí M1 ni at some point. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mú date fún M1. Ó máa come up on his own nígbà tí gbogbo wa bá ti gbọ́ àgbọ́yé dáadáa. But they are avoiding. Èyí tó tó sí ní pé in Nigerian school, you will even buy chairs and tables in the 21st century. So when we are talking about this manipulation, táwọn olóṣèlú wa ń lò fún wa nísìn, àwọn tí mọ bó ṣe ń lọ, they become so powerful in the sense that they are now using the country. Àwọn ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn politicians yìí àti ti buwa, àwọn ló ń represent wa pẹ̀lú àwọn West. They are the puppet of the Oyinbo people. Ẹ̀rí Ṣèyí Mákindé, ẹ lọ bá mi bè lọ́wọ́ Ṣèyí Mákindé, governor Ọ̀yọ́ state pé nígbà tó wá sí London, what has been the advantage sẹ́yìn tẹ́wà nílé nísìn tọ́nà wá ṣe summit kan ní London? Because wọ́n fẹ́ raise the IGR. It's all lies. They don't come here and tell us, and Koiki, it will take some time. You will never progress in the system that is not just biased on the indigenous people, it is also taking us backwards. So let's go back. Mo ti ṣàlàyé fún yín nípa Red Sea, the importance of that area. It is so important that India ti send its warship lọ síbẹ̀ nísìn, méjì ló wà níbẹ̀ nísìn. Àwọn Yemen yẹn tó ń sọ yìí, àwọn Yemeni, they are ready to fight to the last man standing. Kí ni mo sọ fún yín? So the probability pé ìjọ kan máa gbọ́ gbòòs tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, ọlọ́mọ ayé kí World War III kó ṣẹlẹ̀, but like I said, the chances of that is still very high. I want to move swiftly to the next section. We want to go back again to the British, or àwọn British gangan náà ni, the British Empire of Nigeria. Mo kí bàbá wa Ṣítù Ọmọ́wùnmí, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀tẹ̀ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. We've been talking about this for some days now, and it will be my focus more as we go into 2024. Unbelievable that come as we were found in Nigeria in 1914, and Nigerians are so happy. You know what they do? So, nígbà found in Nigeria in 1914. So, ìran Yorùbá yẹn, kingdom wa yẹn, ká sọ yẹn nù. Nítorí pé wọ́n ti àwọn òyìnbó tí tó jẹ́ onígàbẹ̀jẹ̀bẹ̀. Tó òyìnbó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ rìn báyìí, kó tètè mọ̀ pé something is not right. These are the people that some of you are still trying to save Nigeria for. Mo sọ fún yín pé mo pray pé kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ kó fún ẹ. Ó kì í tẹ̀ ní kó fún ẹ ní visa pé ó fẹ́ lọ sí slave museum. Pé ó fẹ́ lọ wo slave museum. Wọ́n ní fún ẹ. Sọ pé ó fẹ́ lọ sí British museum. Ó fẹ́ lọ rí gbogbo àwọn artifact wa tó wà níbẹ̀. Ẹ wá mọ̀ tó mọ̀ ṣe. During that era, àwọn people ṣe jàmbá. Ṣé tẹ̀rí jàmbá tó ṣe yẹn, we should not have anything to do with them again. Mo ń bọ̀, ẹ má bínú. Kò jẹ́ ká ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú wọn mọ́ láyé. But Nigerians still prefer the lies. A sì prefer pé ká wà abẹ́ wọn kó máa parọ́ fún wa. And this is why KOIKIMEDIA, as we go into 2024, which is just some few more days to now, we will focus more. M1, when there's fire on the mountain, everybody will run. There is fire on the mountain. Run, run, run. Colonial Nigeria was ruled by the British Empire from the mid-19th century until 1960. When Nigeria achieved independence, Mohammed lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa èyí tán tó sìn níjọ́ ní nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe election lọ ní February, wọ́n ṣọ́ àdúgbò wọn. Mo ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín nísìn kí la ti achieve after independence ní Nigeria. No, on a serious note, ṣé ká ṣí phone line àbí ká kọ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ? Kí la ti achieve láti ìgbà tá ti gba independence? Mo ń bi gbogbo wa ní sàtèmi kí la ti achieve ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹ kò sọ ta ti achieve. Ẹ má side mi nísìn. Ẹ má side mi. Ẹ kò jẹ́ ká kọ̀ tẹ̀ wò kí la achieve gangan sef. I mean, there's probability pa ti lè achieve nǹkan kan. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká go wrong o. Ẹ má nítorí pé a fẹ́ Yorùbá nation, a fẹ́ Yorùbá. No, kí la ti achieve láti independent láti 1960. Because in terms of one, nísìn ni pé we are until 1960 when Nigeria achieved independence. Kí la achieve? Àti pé kí la feel láti fẹ́ achieve ní another 63 years tá bá ṣì wà in existence. Then who is scared of the dissolution of Nigeria? Ta ló ń bẹ̀rù pé ká dissolve ìlú tó found? I mean, ó dá pé get nǹkan tó ń sọ níbẹ̀. What found in Nigeria ni kò ń ṣe pé forget about gbogbo tí church àti mọ́ṣáláṣí sọ fún ẹ̀ bá barọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Kò sí ẹ̀mí mímọ́ kankan. Kódà wọ́n gbàdúrà gan sef. I am sure kan pé àmọ́ bí ìgbà tí lùgádì yẹn bóyá inú ìwòwò gan ló wà ní, bóyá inú omi òkun ló wà ní, bóyá wọ́n tẹ̀ ti ṣàǹjọ̀nú kan nígbà tó ń found in Nigeria. We don't know. That is the reason why we are going through all this turbulence. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé àwọn ò ní volcano, ní tornado, ẹ lọ sí America, ẹ lọ wo gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Ọlọ́run fi tibẹ̀ yẹn ó fi káwà. Béèrè lọ́wọ́ pastor ẹ̀ àti mọ́ṣáláṣí imam pé ṣé nígbà tó ń found in Nigeria, Koiki sọ pé wọ́n found in Nigeria ní 1914. Ṣé wọ́n jókòó àdúrà? Ṣé mọ̀ pé nísìn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kò sí nǹkan tá kì í jókòó àdúrà fún. Tí aláfà bá ṣe máa fi parí tiẹ̀, mọ́ṣáláṣí àwọn Kristẹni náà máa ṣe tiwọn, oníṣẹ̀ṣe máa ṣe tiwọn lórí ìjókòó kan. We love who we are as people. But mo wá ń béèrè pé ṣé nígbà tó tán dá Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀, ṣé wọ́n jókòó àdúrà ṣá? Because lùgádì tí a gbọ́ pé ó ṣiṣẹ́ fún àwọn British Empire, àwọn colony níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn, because òun ni governor administrator. Wow, you look good. Òun ni governor administrator as at that time. Ó ṣiṣẹ́ on behalf of the colony as at the time ni. Bí ìgbà tá a ṣe ní president nísìn, òun ló represent UK. Òun ló represent ìjọba wọn ní gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Kò dé ń ṣòun ló make decision yẹn. Decision yẹn wá láti bíbá ẹni. Òun kọ́ ló wá sọ síta ni. Ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard? Ẹ má parọ́. Ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard? Àwọn Nigerians tó wà nílé àtẹn tó wà níta. Ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard? Tẹ́ bá mọ̀ mo fẹ́ ṣe analysis lé lórí ni o. Ká sọ̀rọ̀ nípa lugard. Ibi báyìí máa ń kọ́ra wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni. Forget about gbogbo tó ń gbọ́ nílé tẹ́lẹ̀. Àní ibi báyìí ló ti máa gbọ́ tó ń pè Nàìjíríà. èmi náà mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ìwọ̀nba tí mo mọ̀ nísìn mo gbọ́dọ̀ fi kọ́ ìwọ náà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ta ló mẹ́ni tó ń pè ní Lugard ta ni Lugard ta ni Lugard wọ́n tó wá fún ní oyè wọ́n pè ní Lord Lugard ta ló ń pè ní Lugard. Let's talk about Lugard. On the January 1st, tó bá máa di January 1st nísìn, January 1st, how many days nísìn ló kù tá máa fi wo January 1st lágbára Elédùmarè? How many days ló kù? Ọ̀la 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ó kù 11 days. Ṣé mọ̀ pé tó máa di January 1st nísìn? Ṣé mọ̀ pé January 1st ni wọ́n merge Nigeria together? Truth and question ni ó lè ní Lugard. Tó bá tẹ̀jẹ́ pé ó lè ní is a different thing. Ó ti ṣe jàǹbá on behalf of British Empire fún ìran ẹ̀mí àti wọ́. Ilẹ̀ wa kọ́ ló ní problem o. Okay, ẹ̀ka ìnímọ̀ nìyẹn, èmi ò ka èní ti lọ. Tabaka ìnímọ̀ ra 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ẹ̀ka ìnímọ̀ èmi ò ka ìnímọ̀, èní ti lọ already. 11 days ló kù, a lè ka ìnímọ̀, èní ti lọ, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, triple DRS. Ṣé wọn kó tó bá di 1st of January nísìn? It will be ṣé 64 years kọ́ ló máa pé yàn àbí? No, kò lè, sorry, I take that back. It will be 109 years to merge Nigeria. Yeah, I'm right. 1914, and then Mamas, 1914 till 2014. How many years in here? You know, sorry, calculate and be right. Oh, yeah. 2024, rather, not 2004. 2024 minus 1914. So Nigeria will have been 110 years old. No. I think Big Barry, Mori 114, Mori 109. No, 110. If you not to calculate it, minus 2024 minus 1914, 110. In Boletiri 114, delete it, Mr. Laniwaju. 114, 110. In Boletiri triple DRS, in Boletiri 119. 2024, Tafemu, in January 1st. Yeah, 110, he said. If you not to calculate it, I come minus 2024. Now, Tani kan parent dàgbà ní gbogbo àtàwà lórí ètò báyìí mo fẹ́ mú kọ̀kan jáde tó ju 110 years old lọ àbí tó gbọ́ ìtàn pé bàbá mi màmá mi ó ju mo mọ̀ pé ìyá kan wà ìyá yẹn ṣẹ́kù ni ìyá tó máa wà lábẹ́òkúta èmi láǹfààní àti rí wọn ìyá àgbàlagbà kan ó náà pọ́ṣẹ́ kù láìpẹ́ ni mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó ju 110 lọ kátẹ̀ mú ìyá yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ nínú platform nísìn láàárọ̀ yìí àbí lọ́sàn-án rádà aago kan fẹ́ lọ lò ta ni parent or grandparent wín tí ẹ gbọ́ nínú ìtàn yín pé ìyá yẹn dàgbà kódà àtẹ̀mọ́ éjì wọn bọ̀wọ́ ju 110 years old lọ ta ló wà ní platform yìí láàárọ̀ lọ́sàn-án yìí. There must be somebody that our parents. What am I trying to say that? Tí a bá rẹ́ni tó ju 110 years old lọ, that means pé àwọn ò lè pera wọn ní Nigerians. Kí ló ń pera wọn níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn? This is where we are having difficulties to explain fáwọn èèyàn wa nílé pé Nigeria tẹ́yìn kàn rí yẹn àwọn Nigeria tẹ́yìn rí yẹn I mean yes I agree pẹ̀lú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi easy ètí mo tẹ̀ ń try láti fi mú jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé nígbà tí wọ́n ti create Nigeria kí ni gbogbo wa ń jẹ́? Even though they told us we are Southern Protectorate, but we are a kingdom of our own. But on the 1st of January, 1914, Lord Frederick Lugard, the governor of both the Northern Nigeria Protectorate and the colony, and the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. Protectorate of Southern Nigeria ni ilẹ̀ Igbo àti ilẹ̀ Hausa. Àwọn kan bàbá mi ní Oduduwa Empire là ń jẹ́ nígbà yẹn. So that means pé as at that time, my grandfather was over 100 years when he died about 15 years ago. So Imbolama co category àwọn bàbá yẹn sí. So that means pé wọ́n force in Nigeria lórí àwọn bàbá yẹn àwọn tí jọ́nà lọ́hùn àtàwátàwà nísìn. So that means pé wọ́n override in tí a máa ń sọ pé Ọlọ́run ti Jésù lẹ́fẹ́ ni, Ọlọ́run tànábì ni, àbí tàwa ta máa ń sọ pé àwọn ò nílẹ̀ wa níbi tó ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá, ní Yorùbá kingdom, nílé Ifẹ̀ ni, ní kinní kan ni, ní báyìí ni. Wọ́n override yẹn. Wọ́n wá fún wa ní Nàìjíríà. Nàìjíríà yẹn ni òyìnbó wá maintain títí. Òyìnbó tó jẹ́ Britiko tó jẹ́ ìjọba wọn tá à ń pè ní ọbalẹ̀ ibi báyìí, wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a wá override ẹ̀ padà. Ibi tá ti ní problem láàrin ara wa nìyẹn. Because àwọn lọ override ilẹ̀ tiwa. Yet another confirmation here. My grandmother is 114 when she died in 2009. Mo kí Queen Momo Ọmọlára. Bí ẹ notification ni àwa wà lórí ètò lójoojúmọ́. Àkópalẹ̀ mọ́dún mà. Mo kí bàbá wa, mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wọlé lọ́tùn lósì. Mo kí bàbá Akínládé Emmanuel. Taofik Quadri mo kí yín. Ìtàn sọ fáwọn Yorùbá ni pé tó bá di January 1st nísìn, ẹ̀rí Channels Television wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa when Nigeria was amalgamated. No, when it was amalgamated, we should now de-amalgamate it. Yes, Nigeria was amalgamated, but we have the right to also say inti wo amalgamate yẹn o. Ta ló fún wọn ní order kan amalgamate? Ṣé wọ́n discuss ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ọba ẹjọ́ náà lọ́hùn? Àbí wọ́n kọ̀ ṣe on their own? Ẹ wá mọ̀ tó máa happen. Many Nigerians are now saying, Koiki, yes, only argument pẹ̀lú gbogbo area yẹn, but we have moved on. Ẹ jẹ́ ká move on. Ẹ jẹ́ ká protect Nigeria. Èmi wá ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé kí la fẹ́ protect Nigeria fún? Nígbà tá a lè protect identity wa, tá a fi mọ́ra wa sí Yorùbá ni mí, ọmọlúàbí. Because the same set of people, travel, identity yẹn will continue to remain behind. Àwa gbé Nigeria síwájú, a gbé Yorùbá sẹ́yìn. So, tí má jáde nísìn, tí bá fẹ́ travel nísìn, màá wá ná Nigerian passport sí wọn. Tó bá jẹ́ tó mọ̀ nípa ọmọ Nigeria, kò ń ṣe pé Nigeria we have people now that knows about who we are with our names. Are you from the southwest part of Nigeria? Wàá wá máa bèèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé báwo ló ṣe mọ̀? I need because of your name. Ọláyọmí, because Ọláyọmí ò kì í ṣe Emeka. Ọláyọmí ò kì í ṣe Musa. Ọláyọmí mí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lórúkọ it is likely to generate from. So why don't we now have our own real identity? Tó máa jẹ́ pé passport tí máa gbé káàkiri ní gbogbo àgbáyé, àbí mo travel, because kò ń ṣe gbogbo ọmọ America ló ní passport, ibi tí ilẹ̀ ṣúdé láàárọ̀ yìí. Kí ló fẹ́ fi passport ṣe wọ̀ kúrò nílùú wọn? Àwọn Americans who can travel. They prefer to be in their country because 53 states in àbí 56 àbí how many ló wà ńbẹ̀? Wọ́n ti tọ́ ọbẹ̀ tán. And some of them are not exposed. And I'm not joking. Àwọn British mi ò ní British passport. Kò síbi tó ń lọ. So kí ló wá dé tí àwa ń sọ pé ṣe jẹ́ ká padà sí bá ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ rí, ká override tí wọ́n tọ́ ride lé wa lórí ní 1914, ibi tá ti níjà láàrin ara wa nìyẹn o. Ibi tí conversation yìí tó fi di pé àwọn olóṣèlú dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé tá bá ti lè override eléyìí tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà yẹn, òun ló máa wà lẹ́yìn, Yorùbá máa wà níwájú. Kí ló dé fẹ́ jẹ́? Àwa máa ní àwa ni ìran ọmọ aládé, àìtí ìdí ìran ọmọ aládé until tá bá hold identity yẹn in what is called a proper identification in today's world tá à ń pè ní Yorùbá passport. As long as tá bá ṣì ń sọ pé a ní Nigerian passport, a dẹ̀ ń pera wa dán ọmọ aládé, gbogbo wọn tanra wa nìyẹn. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ ọmọ aládé, ẹrú ni gbogbo wa. Tó bá di January nísìn, in 11 days from today, tabaka ìnímọ̀ 12 days, tabaka látọ̀la 11 days, wọ́n á máa sọ̀rọ̀ ní gbogbo news in Nigeria, wọ́n á máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa this same amalgamation. Tẹ́mi sọ fún yín pé is a fraud. Ẹ jẹ́ ká di amalgamate kí a lè rí ọ̀nà kọjá. Ẹ wá ń sọ fún mi pé ọdọọdún mẹ́rin o, a máa lọ dìbò, a wá gbé ẹni tó jẹ́ èèyàn tiwa síbẹ̀. Okay, after tẹ́ bá ń ṣe yẹn lọ títí, ẹ sì ń shield the identity yín. It is called identity theft. In táwọn òyìnbó ṣe fún wa ní 1914, in tá lè pè ní identity theft ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kà díẹ̀ sí. On the January 1st, 1914, which we have talked about it is now about 110 years ago. 110 years ago, olórí burúkú arákùnrin kan tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn British Empire ìjọ náà lọ́hùn, tí mo máa fojú ẹ̀wọ̀n yín nísìn torí ẹlòmíì ò mọ ojú ẹ̀, ẹlòmíì ò mọ bó ṣe rí. Òun ló ń pè ní Lord Lugard. Òun ló ṣiṣẹ́ as governor administrator ní Nigeria as at that time, tó wá change ibi tí òun máa ka ìtàn ẹ̀ nísìn ṣe mọ̀ pé wọ́n gbé wá láti ìlú mi ni. This is the man that we're talking about. This is your grandfather as long as tó bá sọ pé o fẹ́ Nàìjíríà, as long as tó bá ṣe ń sọ pé we are one Nigeria, grandfather lele because òun ló create Nigeria. Ọlọ́run forget about gbogbo pé yẹn Ọlọ́run lọ let's pray for Nigeria. Ọlọ́run ò create Nigeria, Lugard ló create Nigeria. Àwòrán ẹ̀ lẹ́ ń wò yẹn. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí n yọ background mi kúrò ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok, I can do that so that kẹ́ lè ríran dáadáa. I can do that just for a few minutes. Kọ́ ẹ pé system okay máa lọ sí enhance àbí effect ẹ jẹ́ ká yọ kúrò. Ṣẹ̀rí òun lélẹ̀ Lugard nìyẹn. Arákùnrin tá à ń pè ní Lugard òun lè arákùnrin tí ó create Nàìjíríà fún èmi àti ìwọ tó fẹ́ kú lé lórí. Arákùnrin tó create Nàìjíríà fún ìran tiwa tí àwa ń sọ pé kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Bọ́lọ́run ṣe dá wa kọ́ nìyẹn, bí Elédùmarè ṣe dá wa kọ́ nìyẹn. Elédùmarè dá gbogbo wa bí ó ṣe jẹ́ kó rí, àmọ́ ẹ fẹ́ gbà ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbọ́. Ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ lè fẹ́ gbọ́ yẹn àwa náà nígbà because ẹ lè máa sọ fún mi pé torí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu kí wọ́n á para mi lórí Nàìjíríà nígbà tí Nàìjíríà ò kí ń ṣe ìlú tí Elédùmarè create. Elédùmarè kọ́ ló created. Lord Lugard as at that time was just a British colonial administrator, bí bàbá mi ṣe kọ́ sí bíbá, who played a significant role in the history of Nigeria. History yẹn lèmi fẹ́ jẹ́ ká rewrite. Ẹ wá ń sọ pé Koiki ó fẹ́ dá ogun sílẹ̀, Koiki wàhálà ti pọ̀ jù, ìwọ àti Gbólẹ̀. Ṣé ìwọ mọ̀ pé wàhálà yẹn ó bẹ́ẹ̀ kàkà dá sílẹ̀ nísìn ká lè protect ọmọlúàbí wa, ká lè protect who we are. Kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn, kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ẹ̀sìn. Èdè ń sọ̀rọ̀ mùsùlùmí ni mí, kìrìsìtẹ́nì ni mí, oníṣẹ̀ṣe ni mí. Àní ká kọ́kọ́ padà ká di amalgamate Nàìjíríà. Tó bá dẹ̀ wá ń sọ fún mi pé kò lè rí bẹ́ẹ̀, màá máa sọ fún ẹ pé irọ́ ló pa. Ìlú kan wà tó ń pè ní Soviet Union, ó ní agbára ju Nàìjíríà lọ. Òun náà wọ́n founded ní. It was founded in the 30th of December 1922. After 30 found in Nigeria, ni wọ́n ṣe found the Soviet Union. Kí ló wá padà ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Soviet Union? Ìlú mélòó ló padà jáde kúrò? Kí ló fà tí USSR ṣe fail? The unsuccessful August 1999 coup against Gorbachev sealed the fate of the Soviet Union planned by the hardliner communists. The coup diminished Gorbachev's power and propelled Yeltsin and democratic forces to forefront of the Soviet and the Russia politics. Again, kí ló fà tí Soviet Union ṣe break? Why did Soviet Union break up? Why did the Soviet Union collapse? Òyìnbó tó lò nìyẹn. Nàìjíríà máa collapse. Ó bá máa gbàdúrà lójoojúmọ́ ní mọ́ṣáláṣí àti ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì. Nàìjíríà máa fọ́, ó máa collapse. Ìgbà tó fẹ́ collapse ni Ọlọ́run ò tí fún ẹwọn anybody. Nítorí pé Ọlọ́run kọ́ ló create. Lugard ni ó create Nàìjíríà. Is a British administrator. So tó bá mọ̀ tètè máa gbọ́ sínú mind ẹ̀. A máa pín Nàìjíríà. A máa wá pín pẹ̀lú jà ní a máa pín pẹ̀lú peace ni. But èmi mọ̀ pé orí ẹ̀ mú ọ ní gbogbo a máa bọ́ sí nígbà tásìkò bá tó. A ṣe ń wọ́n mọ̀pù ni torí pé a lè continue kí àwọn òyìnbó tí wọ́n ní the same iota of truth tí wọ́n ń believe òyìnbó. Èmi sọ pé irọ́ lóyìnbó ń pa fún ẹ, òyìnbó máa parọ́ títí nítorí pé onírọ́ ni wọ́n bó ṣe parọ́ títí tó lọ amalgamate wa pẹ̀lú àwọn Fúlàní olórí burúkú tí wọ́n ní ilẹ̀ wọ́n wá fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Ìwọ wá ní kẹ́mi dákẹ́ torí pé kí wọ́n lè jàǹfààní Nàìjíríà. Ó lè jàǹfààní kankan nínú Nàìjíríà torí pé Nàìjíríà is not a God creation. Ọlọ́run ò create Nàìjíríà. Kò síbi kankan tó ti kọ́ sínú Bible pé Ọlọ́run create Nàìjíríà. Sọ bí tó kọ́ síbẹ̀ nínú Quran tó gbé dání pé Ọlọ́run ló create Nàìjíríà. Káwọn church kan ní pray for Nigeria. Àti pray ìgbà kan Elédùmarè wá sọ pé ìrọ́dà ń pa àdúrà yẹn ò lè gbà. Ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Sẹ̀lẹ̀, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Kérúbù, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn KICC, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Redeem, ẹ lọ sí gbogbo àsàlátù pátápátá. Irọ́ ni gbogbo wọn pa. Kò sẹ́mi kankan tó ti create Nigeria tó wà nínú Bible tó wà nínú Quran. Quran ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi. English Quran ni. Mo ka ìtàn kankan níbẹ̀ pé Ọlọ́run níbì kan ó wá create Nigeria. It is a man-made. Ìtò bá dẹ̀ ti jẹ́ man-made, there will always be problem. Problem tá à ń rí lẹ́ni tá à ń bára wa jà tá à ń ní conflict of interest pẹ̀lú àwọn Igbo pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù nítorí pé Ọlọ́run ò create bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run náà òun dá gbogbo wa, òun dá wa dáadáa ní ìwọ̀nba tí òun lè dá wa. Àwa kóra wa sínú abẹ́ àgbo ní tó ń pè Nàìjíríà nítorí pé Lugard olórí burúkú tí kò ní kú síbi táṣọ ẹ̀ wà. ó wá create Nàìjíríà fún wa. Àwọn wo ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún? Ìlú yìí ló ṣiṣẹ́ fún. Tí wọ́n bá wá ń trust ìlú yìí against tèmi sọ, ìwọ ló máa jẹ gba tó èmi oúnjẹ lọ́tún tó ń fẹ́ máa sè nísìn. What are you doing now? Help me to do as well. Ìwọ ló máa jìyà. Èmi wà láàrin wọn níbí. The worst case scenario ni pé mo ní nǹkan kan ṣe pẹ̀lú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti Nàìjíríà. Look, ayé yìí dùn bàjẹ́. Sórí ayé tó ń rí. Mo tẹ̀ tí dá Amẹ́ríkà. Mo fẹ́ lọ rí Easy ní Miami. Mo fẹ́ dé New York. Mo fẹ́ dé Australia. Mo fẹ́ máa sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà. Nàìjíríà òṣìwò. Ní ìlú wà lágbàáyé tó dùn bí wèrè. Tíyàn lè lọ káàkiri tó máa gbé British passport dání tínú ẹ̀ máa dùn. Ìwọ gbé Nigerian passport dání wá fi gba etí ẹ̀. Wá di ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Kó tó mọ̀ pé visa tó fún ẹ gan authentic ni wá ti mú ẹ dé prison. Àní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣe country. That is where we are having clash between you and those idiot political parties. Don't put on the APC, don't put on the PDP, don't put on the AAC. It is all lies. And they know this. Tó bá wá sọ fún mi pé kò lè collapse. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹyẹ máa disrespect Ọlọ́run o. O mọ̀ why? Jẹ́ nǹkan fún ẹ. Ìlú kan ní agbára ju Nàìjíríà lọ. Ní 1991, wọ́n pè ní Soviet Union. Tó bá wá ń gbọ́ Soviet Union ni, wàá ti máa gbọ́ USSR. Ó pín ju olúkálùkù gbé bọ́dẹ̀ wọ́n cut bọ́dẹ̀ olúkálùkù lọ́n ti wọn. 15 republic ló jáde kúrò nínú ẹ̀. Nàìjíríà ò bá jáde pẹ̀lú 20 countries. Problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ìlú wà tó pé 200,000. Ìlú wà tó pé 35,000. Ìlú wà tó pé almost 50,000 tó wà láyé yìí. Ìwọ ń sọ fún mi pé àwọn Koiki àwọn kéékèèké yẹn kí la máa ṣe pẹ̀lú color form country tí wọ́n olúkálùkù kó di ọmú yẹ̀ mú. Wọ́n wá ń fìyà jẹyìn àwọn ìkà ẹ lọ wo Dino bó ṣe ń tẹ̀sí lójú. Ó wá ń gun mọ́tò ó ń tẹ̀sí lójú kò ní tẹ̀sí. Ṣé ẹni tó fẹ́ ṣe gọ́ọ̀nà Kogi náà nìyẹn? They are all the same corrupt individuals. Yàyà Bello ẹ wo gbogbo wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Wọ́n wá dagbada wèrè bolẹ̀. Ẹ wá ń tẹ̀lé wọn lẹ́yìn. Ẹ ṣe mùgúnmùgún. Àwa ń sọ fún yín pé ẹ jẹ́ ká pull out. Èèyàn mélòó ló tún fẹ́ dìbò ní 2027? Ẹ lọ dìbò. Ìbẹ̀ náà mi mo fẹ́ gbé ogun wá èmi àti Ìgbòho. Ogun ò ti wọlé báyìí nísìn. Ogun jẹ́ wọlé báyìí. Ṣé wọ́n ti rí èmi ò mọ̀ ìṣòro èmi ò tẹ̀ follow news ẹjọ́ mẹ́ta again. Ṣé wọ́n ti rí bọ̀bọ̀ tó kidnap òun àti band crew ẹ̀? Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi gbẹ̀dú kílẹ̀ gbọ́ lórí ẹ̀. Ṣé wọ́n ti release ẹ̀? Ṣé wọ́n ti release ẹ̀? In tó yẹ kó máa dùn á nígbà àyà pé wọ́n create Nàìjíríà fún wa tá a bá tẹ̀ mọ̀ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. Eléyìí tá a wá mọ̀ nísìn kan. Ṣé TikTok wà ní 1914 òmùgọ̀? Ṣé o fi pé tí TikTok bá wà ní 1914 àwọn èèyàn wa máa gbà níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn? Àwọn ọba oníjẹkújẹ tó ti bayé jẹ́ wọ́n ti bọ̀nà jẹ́. Òun náà kọ́ láàrin lẹ́jọ́ mẹ́ta yìí kí gọ́ọ̀nà máa fún ọba ní certificate of kinní kan tó yẹ kó fún nígbà tí àbí kó pògèdè kí gọ́ọ̀nà kó ṣubú kó máa rọ́ lọ síbi tó ti máa tọ́jú ẹ̀. Ọba monarchy system tàwa jẹ́. Ọba monarchy ọ̀bí bàbá ẹ̀dá kó bú ọba ìlú yìí ò fẹ́ kú nìyẹn. Tẹ́yìn bá ń bú ọba èmi ò lè bú king ní bíbà tí orí báyìí lè mí gbé. Ìyẹn la ṣe ní God bless the king. Some of you are all in bondage. Bondage lẹ́wà, but àwa máa release yín. It will be painful, it will be hard, it will be difficult, but I need give up. Tẹ́ bá rò pé àwa kan máa give up, we are not going to give up. Tẹ́ bá rò pé àwa kan máa give up, èmi ò ní give up. Yes, it's costing a lot of things. Financially, it's costing. Spiritually, it's costing. Èmi mọ̀, torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé tá à ń sọ yìí, in tó máa liberate gbogbo wa pátá òun la gbé dání. Tó bá fi pé APC ló máa liberate ọmọ ẹni tó máa wà nìyẹn. Ó bẹ́tà ká kúkú wá lọ set up another APC nígbà tá a bá délé Yorùbá. Mo kàn fi ṣàpèjúwe ni o, but kò ní sí pé Nigerian system ló ń lò mọ́. Mo ní ẹ sọ fún Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá gbogbo àwọn lọ́yà ńláńlá jàgbàjàgbà lọ́jà ẹni kọ́ bá wa sọ fún Tinubu pé kó pull down 1999 constitution nígbà tóun ti wà níbẹ̀ nísìn. Ariwo tó yẹ kí gbogbo wọn máa pa nìyẹn. Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá ò lè pariwo kankan. Over 10,000 pounds ló donate fún King's College nílùú yìí about last year kọ́ ni. They are all the same. Inú wine kan náà ni gbogbo wọn ti mu. I don't have anything against him, but these are our early tí bàbá Akíntóyè ń sọ. Tí wọn náà bá rántí ẹlòmíì. Mo ti dárúkọ bàbá yẹn náà òfin pé Lizade mọ́tò ó ní time gbogbo wa ni bàbá yẹn ti wà in the 80+. Àwọn ti jayé tèmi àti ò lè jẹ ẹ lọ wọlé tó kọ́ èmi dẹ́rọ̀ ni mo débẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ fún mi ìwọ wà níbi tí yà ń jẹ́ èmi wá ń sọ fún ẹ òun dúró de bàbá Adébóyè bàbá Adébóyè ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ẹ jẹ́ kó máa bá wa bí Ọlọ́run níbi ọ̀rọ̀ tó ṣe ń bẹ̀ àmọ́ sẹ́ àwa máa pín lé wọn lórí. These are old men àwọn tí ṣayé tiwọn àwa tó kù nísìn bá ṣe máa ṣayé tiwa ló kù nísìn tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé Koiki don't touch the anointment òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn. It has nothing to do with religion. Ẹ̀sìn nílùú branch àwọn Adébóyè ó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi níbí báyìí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ lémi just about few meters away from tí bá débẹ̀ nísìn wọ́n ti tiẹ̀ everybody ti lọ fa gbùrù wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ lọ everybody ti ṣiṣẹ́ ó tún di ìrọ̀lẹ́ bí adíjọ́ Thursday lọ́mọ àwọn ṣe ìjọsìn kékeré kan bá dẹ̀ tún dijọ́ Sunday church everybody everywhere ti close everybody ti lọ sí church ó ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ó ti lọ fa gbùrù ẹni tó jẹ́ medical doctor wà lára àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn members wọn tó ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ but ìwọ nísìn ìwọ ṣe medical tán ní Nàìjíríà as a member of the Redeemed Christian Church as a member of Celestial as a member of KICC as a member of Catholic ó wá ń wa ọ̀kadà káàkiri ṣọ́kadà ló yẹ kó máa wà àbí kó wà lọ hospital kó máa tọ́jú àwọn èèyàn àwa ń sọ pé kò lè jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó wá ní kémi shut up oníkó ẹ come and lead us ìkan tí mò ń bọ̀ jókòó dé mi pásítà mi ló ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn pẹ̀lú ọbẹ̀ tó dùn Kúmúyì gbogbo wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹ sọ fún gbogbo wọn àwọn elite wa nìyẹn tí bàbá Akíntóyìn bá sọ̀rọ̀ I am not calling them in a negative way ẹ má get me wrong but these are our elite they have large followers ẹ̀ńdó de Genesis kò sọ fún yín pé ó máa lọ báyìí you go wait ẹ̀ńdó de Yàdúrà àwọn ọmọ Yàdúrà ń gbádùn ayé wọn pàdé mi ní gbogbo wọn Gbẹ̀dúmọ̀ mo ti lọ church Yàdúrà dáadáa mo ti jẹun níbẹ̀ mo ti ṣe fàájì níbẹ̀ pàdé mi gidi ní gbogbo wọn àwọn ọmọ wọn àti àwọn ọkùnrin mo sọ ọmọ àwọn obìnrin yẹn ẹ̀ńdó de Yàdúrà gbogbo àwọn yẹn small yeah they are philanthropists but kò lè ká ṣé Yàdúrà lè fix gbogbo 191 local government tọ́ba tẹ̀ ní gbogbo owó yẹn ṣáwọn ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ máa ṣe. So some of you are living in denial. The unsuccessful August 1999 coup ní Soviet Union okay ẹ jẹ́ ká kà báyìí eléyìí nísìn wá látọ̀dọ̀ United States Department US Department of State bó ṣe máa rewrite history Nigeria nìyẹn láṣẹ̀dùmarè ó máa collapse àwọn kan láìkì tí máa sọ pé break up why is it so windy outside kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ is it gonna rain or what ní ládẹ́gùn yẹn fẹ́ pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ báyìí I'm not sure we're gonna see snow ní Christmas yìí o ẹ jẹ́ ká kàn tí America sọ sometimes we just feel very pain because it's like pé à ń communicate pẹ̀lú yín but kò ń ṣe fault yín Nigeria is on a spiritual bondage because gbogbo tá à ń sọ kò jẹ́ kó pẹ́ kó tó yé yín but spiritual bondage lẹ́wà let's go and say what the US says bó ṣe máa ka ìtàn Nigeria tó máa rewrite náà nìyẹn àti America àti Britain o whether they like it or not that country will collapse nǹkan kan dé ló máa kọ trigger pia collapse yẹn dẹ̀ máa dé just one small thing mo kí Akọ́lá Afọláyan mo kí gbogbo èèyàn olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo ẹ̀ tí ń wò wá Kentos Àbẹ̀bí èèyàn dáadáa mo rí ẹ kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ Nigeria is a limited liability company. Sam Smith, I don't pray for snow this Christmas so irọ́ èmi máa ń like white Christmas so kí ló dé Mr. Lukman Okin ẹ má bínú ẹ tí mo ṣe ń rí comment níbí báyìí ni fast caring humble guy wọ́n ní don't mind them when you come back home mo ń bọ̀ èmi ní kẹ́ máa dúró dè. It is high time that we come out of the country that merge to form one. The Biafrans has formed alliance with Ambazonia. Ṣé mọ̀ pé YouTube láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n pull down video mi pẹ̀lú àwọn tí mo record pẹ̀lú àwọn Ambazonia àti Simon Ekpa. Ìjà ń bọ̀ sẹ́ kò ń ṣe mi mò ń sọ àwọn Biafra ìjà ń bọ̀. So YouTube so àní máa transmit live kíní Biafra mọ̀ lórí YouTube wa. Wọ́n send message sí mi láàárọ̀ wọ́n pull it down. Video yẹn dẹ̀ ti lọ. It's not about the video has gone far but definitely ọmọ wọ́n sọ fún mi pé platform is strong gan. Àárọ̀ ni mo rí message yẹn lórí YouTube pé ó go against community standard or whatever. Ṣé àwọn yẹn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ another level àwọn wà nísìn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni religious bondage ẹ jẹ́ ká kàńtà America sọ nípa the collapse máa kà díẹ̀ briefly bó ṣe máa wáyé ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ no believe me then share link yẹn torí èmi máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú fact so link yẹn ni mo fi síta fẹ́ni tó bá fi gbọ́wọ́ lé ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lè kà link tí mo fi kà yìí mo ti fi sórí YouTube wa then ẹ follow wa lórí àwọn platforms wa náà it's very very important mo kí ẹ Allen Conde Mr. Abayomi ní ó lé ní gbogbo wọn àwọn òpònú àgbàlagbà ọ̀dẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn bá yẹn wọ́n ti bayé jẹ́ wọ́n ti bọ̀nà jẹ́ àníyàn jẹ́ wá Allen Conde tún sọ pé South Africa fight for their freedom to regain their land back in control today ìyẹn ló ṣe ń lé gbogbo akúrò. My grandfather and grandmother was not born as in Nigeria. Also, my father and mother was not born as in Nigeria. Only we, the children and grandchildren, was all born. So that means pé bàbá tó Allen Conde yẹn àgbàlagbà ló máa jẹ́ nìyẹn. Tó fi lè ní pé àwọn bàbá tó bí àwọn gan. Yeah, some of our parents, àwọn tá a jọ ń ṣe program yẹn lómi ti wà in their 60s, in their 70s. Èmi náà ti wà in my 40s. Ẹ ṣe pé ká save Nigeria. Mo kí bàbá wa ọ̀nà Adéọlá Fortune. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. We gained nothing since 1914 Nigeria, putting we Yoruba backwards since the evil kingdom of Britain. Evil kingdom ni wọ́n, àwọn pera wọn ní great. I mean, how can ọbalẹ̀ Yorùbá, èmi ò kò sí tó kàn mí pọ́ lọ gba church ń gbàdúrà fún yẹn kọ́ ló kàn mí. Kí governor wọn náà òun fún wọn ní certificate of, kí ló máa ń fún wọn yẹn certificate of kíni? Àwọn fún ọbalẹ̀ Yorùbá ní certificate of kí ló máa ń pè? No, not yet. Màá jẹ́ later. O ṣe. Ẹ má da ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Kọ́lá Olótùn yẹn ó náà tilẹ̀kùn mọ́rí ìyàwó òun rọ àmàlà fóun àwa ń lọ sí Ìgàngán so that àwa ní kíbọn bà lórí. Our local government chairman are using our local money for their personal need, not for the local, so we need to challenge them for stealing the money. Wàá gbé owó wá láti federal governor àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́sẹ̀ líná àwa ṣe máa distribute kò sí autonomy fún local government. Gbogbo tó yẹ kí Tinubu kọ́kọ́ sáré máa ṣe lélẹ̀ kí ayé tẹ àwọn ọmọ kẹwàá ń bẹ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ṣe rẹ́ èpè aláyé yẹn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ẹ má fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ mi báyìí o ẹ kò sọ pé yes or no Ọlọ́run fún yín ṣe o certificate of rulership bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Jàkó Olúṣọlá àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwọn máa ní governor fi fóun ní sà lórí ọba gangan ní custodian of the stool àwọn gangan ló lédùmarè gbé kìíní ẹ̀ lé lọ́wọ́ ṣèbí governor máa ṣe tán máa lọ Ṣèyí Mákindé máa ṣe tán máa lọ ọba yìí máa wà níbẹ̀ but nǹkan kan sọ ni pé kí wọ́n lo the right people for the right thing. The Raya sọ pé I normally call all our obas as an evil junior brother. Ọba. Tá a bá tẹ̀ mọ gbogbo ilé tẹ́lẹ̀ ilé tá a bá mọ̀ nísìn technology ló jẹ́ ká rí gbogbo àṣírí gbogbo kìíní yìí so yẹ ká tún gbẹ fún technology náà even though wọ́n ń lo against wa because mo mọ reason ti YouTube ń pull down video kan pé torí a broadcast Simon Ekpa àti Ambazonia so àní máa broadcast wọn mọ́ lórí YouTube àmà ó dà pé Elon Musk ìyẹn tẹ̀ gba oríṣiríṣi tiẹ̀ so bí orí Twitter nìkan ni máa broadcast ẹ̀ lọ máa wo Facebook rò pé Facebook ní problem pẹ̀lú as well so jẹ́ kí n sáré ka ìtàn bí Soviet Union ṣe collapse mo kí wo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní underground ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe ń jí káàkiri àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe fẹ́ lọ sùn. The breakup of the Soviet Union. After its inauguration in January 1989, George H.W. Bush did not automatically follow the policy of his predecessor, Ronald Reagan, in dealing with Mikhail Gorbachev. Yes, certificate of speech, Benny. Sherry, in Kokoshi Madeni Jokon. Ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe sọ pé Kóìkì ṣe sùúrù Tinubu náà ní Jagaban ó ló máa pín orí ìtẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà máa pín èmi ní I don't agree with that. I disagree. But I might be wrong. I don't know. But for now, the picture of what I'm saying, I don't see Tinubu breaking up Nigeria for now. Because kò gbọ́dọ̀ waste too much time. Kóìkì ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ ṣe second time. Ó ti rí first time so this is sọ pé second time àfi kọ́ lọ́wọ́ ọba Elédùmarè kó bá wa pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ nǹkan kan rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kó gbọ́dọ̀ kú bó ṣe wà yẹn Ṣètìmá gbàjọba nìyẹn so kò ní time ó gbọ́dọ̀ máa show signal pé yes òun ti ready bí a dẹ̀ show signal indirectly tá a mọ̀ ni so ilé tí kò release Nnamdi Kanu gan nísìnyí bí a kí Biafra lè máa gbà sí fún government kí gbogbo ẹ̀ dàrú I don't know ẹ̀wọ̀n káwa kan máa ń ronú oríṣiríṣi ni tíyẹn bá sùn tó bá jí now nǹkan kan sọ níbi báyìí ni pé George W. Bush Wani did not automatically follow the policy of his predecessor, Ronald Reagan. Kí ló dé tí Tinubu Jagaban tó ṣì ń follow the same policy Buhari, because tábà wo ìrìnàjò Tinubu láti ìgbà tó ti débẹ̀ nísìn a rí pé kò tí sí much changes kankan lọ títí ṣé mọ̀ pé Tinubu òun náà ní presidential order tó lè máa give ó dẹ̀ lè lò anytime ìtàn pè lágbára nìyẹn ṣèbí nǹkan tó fẹ́ náà nìyẹn jàgàbá lu agbára yẹn kọ́kọ́ ní kó fún wọn ní autonomy fún gbogbo local government kó override the senate bí a mo dẹ̀ wrong bí a kò possible bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ lawyer ẹ bá mi kọ síbẹ̀ yẹn ṣé Tinubu lè override the senate àti house of reps to give us the full autonomy kátẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ rí autonomy yẹn gbà jáde lọ sí local government wa kí a lè hold gbogbo àwọn local government tí wọ́n ní function kó tó di pé Nàìjíríà máa pín because kò jẹ́ kí ìyà jẹ anybody. ṣe máa wà wá síbẹ̀ kẹ́ máa fún wa ní fàbú pé Tinubu máa wá ṣe ẹni kó kọ́kọ́ lo presidential order ṣé ó possible yes or no I don't know I'm not a lawyer. ṣé Tinubu lè override pé 1999 constitution yẹn o presidential order òun sọ pé full autonomy for all the local government. He said it will continue from where Bubu stopped. That means pé òun ò follow the same thing tí George H.W. Bush ṣe nígbà tí òun wọlé ní 1989. ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn Bush àwọn family tó àtàbà mọ bàbá wọn aṣáàmọ George Bush to the president níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. wọ́n ní kò follow policy Ronald Reagan in dealing with Mikhail Gorbachev and the Soviet Union. So bí àyẹn lọ ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Donald Trump padà àdúrà tèmi ní sí ni pé anybody tó tà máa wọlé lamẹ́ríkà again nísìn kó jẹ́ tó lè bá wa push ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo tá à ń fà lọ́tún lọ́sì. Yes, he can use an executive order. Tinubu should be using that. Kò jẹ́ kó máa bẹ̀rù anybody. But ìgbà tó yẹ pé abẹ́ ẹ̀gò Sultan of Sokoto ló wà. Sultan of Sokoto ló ní Nàìjíríà. Tinubu is just another stooge. Tó bá mọ̀ tán pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Puppet ni Tinubu fún yín tẹ́ bá mọ̀. He's a puppet. Kò lè make a decision fún rẹ̀ ó kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ through process kan sí process kan through àwọn tó wà níta àwọn èèyàn kọ́kọ́ communicate pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ kí ló fẹ́ ṣe no ó lè ṣe yẹn o Koiki ní kò pín Nàìjíríà no má dá Koiki yẹn lóhun láìjẹ́ kó máa pariwo ń tiẹ̀ iṣẹ́ tiẹ̀ ni pé máa ṣe tá bá ní kó ṣe ìyẹn ni Tinubu ṣe ń ṣe gọ̀gọ̀lú òdùgà rẹ̀ kò tẹ̀ ṣe bí president wọ́n ṣì ń wọlé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n lọ ń gba ráìsì lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ṣí north border sílẹ̀ wọ́n ń kó bọ̀n wọlé wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹ̀ wọlé ó yẹ kó ti máa give àwọn presidential order kan káwa gan máa sọ pé yes but tó débẹ̀ tán ń ṣe jágbajàgba ẹni jàgàbá ìyá máa jẹ gbogbo yín dáadáa. ẹ jẹ́ ká continue collapse of Soviet Union ni mo fẹ́ kà yìí bí Nàìjíríà náà ṣe máa collapse ta máa sọ de ìtàn a máa kọ report lé lórí wọ́n máa ṣàtìkù wọ́n máa ṣe movie lé lórí. Soviet Union was very powerful. wọ́n ní ìbọn wọ́n ní gbogbo ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà lẹ́yìn sọ̀rọ̀ ìbọn bí Nàìjíríà sójà bá náà máa kó gbogbo bọ́ jáde fi báwọn Biafra jà Biafra ní ẹ ṣáà fún àwọn ní referendum àwọn ọjà torí kẹ má sọ pé ṣóòkó ìkìlẹ̀ tí ń gbọ́ pọ́ máa jà tí ó ń tẹ́lẹ̀ omi fi wá gbọ́ nìyẹn Biafra náà òun ọjà ó ní ẹ̀fọ́n òun ní referendum la fẹ́ àṣẹ Nàìjíríà mọ́ àkúkú nífẹ̀ẹ́ wọn already they are our enemies bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń sọ ìbọn fẹ́ gba Lagos mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ tó bá fẹ́ gba Lagos mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ ẹni kí Tinubu fún wọn ní referendum káwọn tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ máa lọ kémi àti yín wà nínú Nàìjíríà kájọ máa mílkẹ̀ ẹni kó fún Biafra ní referendum and it is a right for the Biafran to ask for that referendum because àwọn náà the same thing tí mò ń sọ mo wá bí ṣe fẹ́ ló apply sáwọn náà so gbogbo tí bá ń sọ pé bó ṣe kó wa sínú ògo Nàìjíríà náà ló apply sáwọn ló apply sáwúsá ta ni Fúlàní ṣé Fúlàní ní ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀ ni Fúlàní wá dẹni tó ní agbára ṣẹ́yìn ò mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn gọ́vnọ̀ tí wọ́n wà ní north wọ́n ti di Fúlàní tán El-Rufai the Fúlàní ó ti di gbọ́ba níyì nísìn tí Àwùjalẹ̀ bàbá wa Ṣífìlà Foríadé ẹ máa tanra yín ẹ máa rò pé eré là ń ṣe ní bíbà. Mr. Koiki, believe this with me according to my own brain years ago Tinubu will be the last president. I'm not disagreeing with that. Tó bá possible bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣèbí kínú mi fi dùn náà ni but èmi ò gbọ́dọ̀ jókòó síbẹ̀ kí wọ́n máa ní mo ntẹ́mi rí lèmi sọ I might be wrong tó bá jẹ́ kó mi the last president so be it àní kí n kọ́kọ́ ló máa pín Nàìjíríà ibì kan ló ti máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ but something must take for something. Má listen sáwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ kan tó wà láàbúrò pé má dábọ̀ bọ́yẹn lóhùn kò mọ tó ń sọ mo mọ tí mò ń sọ the collapse of Soviet Union jà sáré lọ́kà battery cell yẹn tí bá rí pé battery phone yẹn ti lọ́lẹ̀ tán pátápátá la máa end the program yìí tó bá ti indicate fún mi pé ó ti wà ní zero dífẹ́ kanlẹ̀ but for now a ṣe wà good. Mo kí ẹ̀yin gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà lórí ètò pẹ̀lú wa pátápátá lọ́tún lọ́sì tó bá mọ grandfather òun lélẹ̀ lùgáàdì nìyẹn bàbá ńlá ẹ̀ nìyẹn sọ pé ó fẹ́ keep Nigeria tó bá di January 1st nísìn wọ́n máa celebrate the amalgamation of Nigeria gbogbo pé wọ́n amalgamate Nigeria kan kò tí ì pé 102 more than 110 years gbogbo pé wọ́n amalgamate Nigeria. It was amalgamated in 1914. By January 1st, 2024, Nigeria will be 110 years old. Inú tiẹ̀ wá ń dùn. Instead, he ordered a strategic policy re-evaluation in order to establish his own plan and method for dealing with the Soviet Union and the arms control. Ìjọba kan máa dé, ìjọba Tinubu ni, I don't know. Ìjọba America ni tó máa change dimension. I don't want to say eléyìí kan làwọn support. Ìtọ́lọ́run ṣáà máa jẹ́ kó dé tó jẹ́ pé ó lè àwọn ní agbára. Ẹ lọ fọ́ country yẹn dànù kẹ́kẹ́ má jẹ́ kó olúkálukú parẹ́ dànù. Ìjọba kan máa dé l'Amẹ́ríkà. Bí èyí tó ń bọ̀ ni o, bí èyí tó ti lọ ni o, we don't know. Kó má pẹ́ là ń sọ ni. Let's go further. Boris Yeltsin. Ẹni tó bá rántí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn, ẹ lọ Google ẹ̀. Boris Yeltsin makes a speech from atop a tank in front of the Russian parliament building in Moscow, USSR, Monday, August 19, 1991. Date kan máa wà tó máa dé the final date of the dissolution and the collapse of that country. Tẹ́ ń pè Nigeria tó olúkálukú máa mú tiẹ̀ kó olúkálukú máa lọ máa deal pẹ̀lú internal problem wọn. A lọ máa deal pẹ̀lú our all internal problem because a ti ní so much internal problem. Púpọ̀ nínú wa gan sẹ̀ wọ́n sì máa kó wa lọ sí psychiatric hospital láti lọ re-evaluate brain wa because ìrònú Nàìjíríà ó gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ní psychology àti báyé jẹ́. Ó ti báyé jẹ́ gan. Let's continue. Conditions in the Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, however, changed rapidly. Gorbachev's decision to loosen the Soviet yoke on the countries of Eastern Europe created an independent democratic momentum that led to the collapse of the Berlin Wall in November 1989. And then the overthrow of the communist rule throughout Eastern Europe, while Bush, ẹgbọ́n bíbá dáadáa, ìyẹn bàbá àwọn Bush ló ń sọ yìí o, kò ń ṣe Bush, George Bush o, bàbá tiwọn, ẹ̀wọ̀n fún àwọn powerful wọn l'Amẹ́ríkà. Why Bush supported this independent movement? Government kan máa dé ní àgbáyé yìí, ó lè jẹ́ Russia ni, ó lè jẹ́ America ni, we don't know. But ẹ bá ń dúró de ti UK, èmi ò rò bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo sorry. It has to be a country away from UK. It has to be a country away from UK. Why Bush? Ìkànnì wọn máa dé. Ó lè jẹ́ South Africa náà ni, ó lè jẹ́ African country kan náà ló máa support wa. Ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe ń sọ pé Mr. Koiki, ti jẹ́ ká máa bá wọn olùkọ̀ọ̀kan sọ̀rọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ náà, wọn ò ní jáde freely. Ó lè jẹ́ China gan ló máa ní jẹ́ ká pẹ̀lú yìí. Ó lè jẹ́ America. We don't know. But we pray that something will lead to something. But àwa fúnra wa náà láti make effort. Ìyẹn làwọn èèyàn ṣe sọ pé àìmá jáde yín kọ́ rí yín gan lójú títì. Àwọn kan nìyẹn ṣe tẹ̀ bá kàn jáde lójú títì nìkan ló máa fi gba Yorùbá nation ni. Mo tó ń pè ní movement ni. Movement ó máa paralyze the country ni. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti paralyze country, àwọn ìlú yẹn ló máa hàn pé kí ni okay, àwọn ò ní support Nigeria mọ́. Okay, let's give an example now. If countries start pulling out of support of Nigeria, ìlú wo lẹ fi pé ó ń support Nigeria pé tó bá pull out, strength Nigeria máa reduce in terms of gbogbo gidigidi sí Nigeria ṣe lé ní nísìn, àwọn ìlú kan ló support wọn. Ẹ fún mi lórí comment section mo fẹ́ rí. Àwọn ìlú wo bí méjì mẹ́ta wo lẹ fi pé tó bá pull out support wọn kúrò lára Nigeria, gbogbo tí Nigeria fi ń sọ pé òun jẹ́ Nigeria yẹn ó máa collapse. UK lè jẹ́ yọkan nú wọn, there's no doubt about it. America lè jẹ́ yọkan, ìwọ náà bá fi ìlú tẹ́ bá fi ìpè lọ́kàn yín. In tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. Bush wọlé dé, ó support independent movement. The US policy was reactivated or reactive rather. Bush chooses to let events. Ẹgbọ́n bíbá yìí dáadáa, ìwé wa very very important. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ bíbá yìí, bó ṣe máa wáyé níjọ́ kan náà nìyẹn ní Nàìjíríà tá a mọ̀ lẹ́nìí. Yes, UK àti America bá pull out their support from Nigeria. Kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria mọ́. At least ìlú méjèèjì yẹn. But there might be some other countries as well. Wọ́n ní Germany náà, China náà ó lè pull out. India gan lè pull out. France, ẹ máa bá wa fi sínú comment section. So àwọn ìlú yẹn bá sọ pé àwọn support Nigeria mọ́, kí Nigeria lọ pín. But the question is, kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀? Ibo la máa dé? Ìrìn wo la máa rìn? Ṣé true rally ni? Ṣé true lobby ni, ṣé through akọlẹ́tà sí àwọn senator wọn ni, ṣé through projection ní tá à ń ṣe yìí ni. What are we going to do to give this country down so that we can be able to let them know that it is time that we could allow Nigeria to collapse? What do we do? Àti rí country bíi mélòó kan nísìn, àti rí UK, àti rí America, àti rí China, àti rí France, àti rí Germany. So all these 5 countries, kí làwa máa ṣe? Ìyẹn ló yẹ ká máa ronú sí. Ṣé a máa jáde lójoojúmọ́ so that àwọn embassy wọn lè máa feel pain yẹn nígbà tí aircraft ò bá lè land sí Muritala Muhammed Airport, tí yíyan kọ̀ọ̀kan lè rìn láàrin gbogbo àdúgbò Lagos State títí dé Ogun State títí dé gbogbo Ọ̀kọ̀yà náà. Kí lẹ rò pé àwọn British ṣe ń sá fún ọ̀nà South East nísìn because ó ń gbóná lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́? Kí lẹ rò pé Britain ṣe bó wà nínú FCDO? Ẹ rò pé wọ́n sọ ni? Ẹ jẹ́ kí n kàn tó sọ fún yín. Wọ́n sọ fáwọn ọmọ wọn pé ẹ avoid ọ̀nà ilẹ̀ Igbo because ibẹ̀ yẹn kò ṣe lọ nísìn. Má kà fún yín. FCDO advised Southeast and South Nigeria. The FCDO advised against all travel to riverine area. Kí làwa náà máa ṣe? Ìrìnwó la fẹ́ rìn tó máa di pé wọ́n máa sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wọn pé ẹ má lọ sí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà mọ́ for the time being tí solution máa fi wá sí nǹkan tó ń jà fún ni àbí nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ìyẹn làwọ̀ tí ìdè stage yẹn àwọn Britain ti mọ̀ pé ní òkè ọya náà ní South East àti South ibẹ̀ yẹn ń gbóná, kò dáa fún ọmọlúàbí láti gbàbẹ̀ kọjá lọ́sàn. Kí làwa máa ṣe lókù nísìn? Ìyẹn ló yẹ ká máa ronú sí as we go into 2024 because Britain ò tí ì rí feelings wa pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ó dàbí àtẹ́ pé a kàn ń jáde lójoojúmọ́ à ń sọ̀rọ̀ without no action. Wọ́n dẹ̀ reaction yẹn before election wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún Tinubu àti Buhari pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tètè gbéra, Ìgbòho àti Kóìkì àtàwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé wọn wọ́n máa pín Nàìjíríà mọ́ ní lọ́wọ́. That is a fact. Idiot all over the place. Ẹ rò pé Britain ò ní fún wọn ní signal ni? Ìyẹn ló ti fẹ́ wá pa Ìgbòho sínú ilé náà. Ọmọ kìtọ́ bá ti pa Ìgbòho sínú ilé, then at the end of the day, èmi náà sá lọ, ṣèbí torí mò ń rí Ìgbòho mo ṣe ń dúró. Idiot all over. Mo lẹ́yìn ni last man standing lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. Enough is enough. A gbọ́dọ̀ collapse in Nigeria so that the next generation of people, àwọn ọmọ táwọn wò yìí, come out to jìyà, wọ́n disrespect àwọn ọmọ wa nílùú yìí. Tó bá disrespect ọmọ tiẹ̀, ó kù díẹ̀. Nígbà tó ọmọ ẹ bá lọ ṣiṣẹ́, tó sọ pé iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe yẹn kò lè ṣe because ó ti lọ ní one criminal offence àbí torí pé wọ́n value ẹ̀. Ó fi pé torí pé ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ British passport dání wọ́n máa value ẹ̀ ni. Ó kù kékeré díẹ̀ fún yín, wọ́n máa disvalue àwọn ọmọ yín. Àwọn ọmọ yín tẹ́ gbé sí America tẹ́ gbé sí UK wọ́n á sọ fún wọn pé wọ́n ní respect kankan tó lè fún ọmọ and the same racism táwa go through àwọn ọmọ yẹn máa go through. Àwọn ọmọ tí sí òde nígbà ó dẹ̀ máa di pé wọ́n máa fún wọn ní criminal record. Ó kù díẹ̀ ni sọ pé ó fẹ́ Yorùbá nation ó kó àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀dá ní sílùú yìí wàá jẹ bàbá ìgbà lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn máa dá sí ìdìsẹ́lòmí lára nínú yín ìgbà tẹ́ bá kú tán. Ó kù díẹ̀ ni. A ní enough is enough. Ẹ jẹ́ ká collapse in Nigeria. Interface ṣe ní 2021 yẹn yọ lórí burúkú ọmọ àlè. Ẹ wá sọ pé Ìgbòho sá lọ, Kóìkì sá lọ because wọ́n mọ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé tá a bá dé kò níjọ́ yẹn something will lead to something. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa ta sílẹ̀ ni, ẹni máa kú, ẹni máa yé ni. That is enough is enough. We must talk about it. There's no doubt about it. Nigeria will collapse just as Soviet Union collapsed. Mo kí àtúnkì mi lótóbi iná ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Sister mi Yeti Queen, mo gbádùn program yìí yẹn lánàá. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Ìyá mi á ní beast ní Nigeria. Èmi máa ń sọ pé á ní beast ní Nigeria. The only solution ò ní pé ká wá sórí round table. Tá a bá ti wá sórí round table, we must all be prepared láti padà sójú títì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, a máa padà sójú títì. Africa mentality ló máa lò fún wa. Wọ́n máa kó sójà jáde, wọ́n máa kó ọlọ́pàá jáde. Ẹ lé wọn kúrò lójú títì. Ìyẹn ló ń ṣe. Kí ló ṣe ní Ọjọ́ta? Nígbà tá a bá ní káwọn èèyàn jáde, wọ́n ní náà ní jáde o. Wọ́n máa pa wá o. Ẹ ti máa kú nísìn nínú ìṣẹ́ àti ebi. Britain sọ fáwọn citizen wọn tó wà níbí báyìí pé ẹ má gba Abia State kọjá, ẹ má lọ sí gbogbo non-riverine area, ẹ má dé Delta, ẹ má dé Bayelsa, ẹ má dé River, ẹ má dé Akwa Ibom, ẹ má lọ sí Anambra, ẹ má dé Imo State. Kí lẹ rò pé wọ́n ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? Nítorí pé reaction àwọn ọmọ Biafra níbẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n rí lórí data wọn. Ẹ fi pé gbogbo tá à ń ṣe ìwọ̀n mọ́ ni wọ́n mọ tá à ń ṣe but wọ́n mọ̀ pé kò ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ terrorist ni mo sọ ní bíbá. Collapse of Nigeria is a right because under United Nations Charter December 14, 1960 idiot all over the place. Ẹ rò pé àwọn tá à ń sọ ni but ìyẹn is just a word. Ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà bí àwọn sister mi Yeti Queen wọ́n mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ pé a máa pín lórí pépà nìyẹn action gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé lẹ́yìn. Britain mọ̀ pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá fẹ́ action sí àwọn gan lè má support yín wọ́n máa wò wá bí òmùgọ̀ pé kí làwọn eléyìí sọ yìí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ pé ayín lọ́mọ Yorùbá ẹ máa ṣakọ ẹ máa gbé àyà síta láti sọ pé enough is enough. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí ní American sọ. Bush bàbá wọn ló sọ pé òun ò ní follow policy Reagan. Òun máa allow ẹni tó bá fẹ́ kúrò nínú Russia kó kúrò. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé USSR ní agbára. But nígbà tí America ti back movement yẹn, we need a country that will give us that strong backing. Tá máa fi gbé ṣe àti sọ pé enough is enough. But whether we are still have those country or not, I don't know. But I can say that àwa tí àwa mọ̀ pé wọ́n àrí country, ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà takú pa àgbà. But tabako ń jáde orí social media, èmi pariwo gbogbogbogbogbò ìgbàgà, gbẹ̀dúgbàdú gbogbogbò ìgbàgà, yèyé dára tó bá tún dalẹ̀, ọmọlúkà. Yes, those are good. It's just the awareness. But the real deal, òun ni bàbá Kító ìfẹ́ ṣe níjọ́ yẹn. Tọ́ni yẹn, bàbá yẹn ò mọ̀ ṣe. Bàbá yẹn ní tá bá máa jáde torí pé a ní owó bí àwọn olóṣèlú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe rally ládùúgbò wa. Àwọn kan tó wá sínú meeting, wọ́n dàrú. Wọ́n ní bàbá Kítóyè, ẹ ti jẹ́ kí gbogbo wà lójú kan, ẹ ti mọ̀ pé ibi tá àti rí nǹkan tá serious nìyẹn. YSDM kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Oríṣiríṣi wa kàn ń gbọ́ left and right. Wọ́n ní bàbá Yelóge ti resign. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Tẹ́ ẹ̀ báyìí ti gbọ́, òun lẹ ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn. Wọ́n ní bàbá Yelóge, wọ́n náà ti kúrò nínú YSDM. Kódà bí tún ṣe ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n náà ti fẹ́ set up another platform. Àti wọ one chance. Àti wà ní rí one chance ni mo sọ fún yín. Ṣẹ́rẹ́ yẹn ọ̀dọ́, àwa set báyìí. Ẹ lajú ká shine face wa dáadáa. Àti wà ní one chance. Àti wà ní one, kí ni mo sọ? One chance. I'll still hold on to my thought on that. Ẹ máa kí n ti fọ gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. Ṣé àwọn pé people have been calling the attention of the YSDM for some time. I'm a journalist. I'm independent. But back to it, mo gbà fún. Mo gbà fún bàbá Yelóge. But wọ́n ní bàbá Yelóge náà ti ṣe kí ni? Wọ́n náà ti resign. Kí ló ṣe resign? I don't know. Mo ti mọ̀ fact. But wọ́n náà ti resign from information tí mo ń gbọ́. He's no longer the deputy chairman of the YSDM. Tí YSDM bá ní gbé wá, ẹja fọ gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká padà sí ìlànà ká tó sórí ìlànà bàbá yẹn gangan. Torí pé bàbá yẹn tèmi rí, bàbá Kítóyè tèmi rí yẹn, tèmi dúró tì tí mo rí tó dúró tì Ìgbòho ọmọ èèyàn ni bàbá yẹn. Èèyàn ni bàbá, kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè sọ fún mi láyé spiritually, physically, èèyàn ni bàbá yẹn. Ṣé kò ṣe pé YSDM ti compromise wa báyìí? Mo kàn ń gbé sí létí ni o. I don't know. Ẹ máa rò lọ́kàn yín o. Because Yorùbá nation tàgbédání ogun lóòótọ́ o, but a lè slow it down tí Nigeria máa fi collapse. I hope we are not in one chance. Kí ni bàbá Yelóge ṣe resign fún? Okay, wọ́n náà ń bọ́ àwọn wọ́n ṣe wọ́n ní èmi kówó jẹ. Ṣé wọ́n ní èmi kówó jẹ? Ní àwọn kan má dẹ̀ pè mí lẹ́yìn ètò. Ẹ má bàa gba ìpè gidi. Ẹ wò mí dáadáa. Ìyẹn mo ṣe dá dúró independent ni mí o. Independent ni mí. Ìgbòho bàbá Professor Banja Kítóyè. Mo sọ fún yín, àwọn alẹ́pàá bí ṣúgà ni. Tí àwọn ọmọ ìta fẹ́ lọ. Ẹ má gbé wa lọ. Mo sọ fún yín pé ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ṣe program kan ní a máa jókòó sí a máa ṣe program. Ẹ máa rò pé à ń ṣeré. Mo ní ẹ má jẹ́ kó lọ fún yín ní clause lórí afẹ́gbà Yorùbá nation no. Anyway náà ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tèmi bá wà ṣe wà. Ẹ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ òṣègbè mi sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́. Ẹ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. A ní gba clause kankan a fẹ́ kúrò. Tá a bá ti kúrò ká mọ̀ bá ti kúrò ká wà lójú kan. Yes, you only believe in anybody. Yes. But like I said, in reason to ṣe kúrò. Because why must they leave now? Time tower yìí, ó wà very delicate. Ó dàbí kí n jẹ́ another reason kí sọ fún pé mo ṣe Yorùbá nation mọ́. Ẹni máa sọ pé Koiki kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. That's the question. Kí ló dé tán resign nísìn? Tí wọ́n tún wá náà fẹ́ set up another platform. Come on, understand, tell me by that. Tí wọ́n fẹ́ set up platform for. Why is you want to set up another platform? Èmi ò dẹ̀ rí bàbá Yelóge rí, orí fún láti sọ̀rọ̀. mo rí Ìgbòho rí torí Ìgbòho lèmi ṣe lọ Nàìjíríà torí bàbá Akíntóyè mo ṣe lọ Nàìjíríà àwọn tí mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn Ìgbòho ní kẹ́ lọ máa dúpẹ́ fún bó bá yẹ pé gbogbo tètè sọ nígbà yẹn pé ká tètè ṣe ni tí gbọ́ coordinator nítorí tún gbé wáyé lágbára díẹ̀ o bá mi ẹ̀yìn lọ dúpẹ́ fún so orí ìrìn àjò làwa ṣì wà èmi ò rí bàbá yìí lógeri ìṣe èmi ò wà tó wọn appoint wọn mọ̀ ọkọ̀ àwọn ní deputy chairman máa dábàá tí wọ́n appoint èèyàn àwa gbọ́dọ̀ gbà fún gbogbo movement ni bó tó bá dé ti di pé movement ti di pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ a gbọ́dọ̀ wá tó wá béèrè náà ni what is going on in YSDM is a question I've just asked. I'm not scared of any one of them. What is happening in YSDM? Kọ́pẹ́ town hall meeting. Kọ́ wá ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? That's what I've asked. Journalist ni mi, mo ní right láti béèrè. Mo lè máa question bàbá Ìgbòho ṣá. Torí mo mọ tí Ìgbòho lè ṣe. Ẹ ní láti sọ fún mi. Mo mọ tí bàbá Akíntóyè lè ṣe torí mo rí wọn. A dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Mo lè ti suspect bàbá Adéníran ti pẹ́. But àwa ta sọ fún bàbá kìíní nígbà yẹn mo rẹ̀ mọ́ ẹ máa kí n tó wọnú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń dè mọ́ bẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ sí mi máa ń ní òun ṣọmọdé mọ́ so ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń ra dè mọ́ bẹ̀ ká padà sórí ìtàdúró lé mo kàn gbé sí létí náà ni tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tí mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ní bàbá yìí lóge òsì lára YSDM mọ́ ó dàpọ̀ náà ti elected omi I don't know but we expect them to come out and speak to every Yoruba sons and daughters if not ká lè mọ̀ bóyá ṣé YSDM náà ṣe ní the Yoruba self-determination movement tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ ká fà wálẹ̀ ká dúró lórí ìlànà torí ìlànà dúró tán bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín tí mo bá mọ̀ rárá mo mọ̀ ní ìlànà dúró tán páípáí ó dúró tán bámbám mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ ìlànà US wọ́n náwó wọ́n nára ìlànà Canada ti Nàìjíríà so tí YSDM bá ní wọ́ọ̀kì mọ́ káyà tètè yá ẹ má yẹ ká jẹ́ kó pẹ́ ká tètè yá jáde kó sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá èmi kàn sọ tèmi ni ìrìn àjò tá gbé dání kò ń ṣeré àwọn kan rò pé là ń ṣe ni ẹ pé àwọn wá sórí social tẹ bá fẹ́ ṣeré àwọn kan máa ń ṣeré èmi náà wà lórí TikTok láàárọ̀ yìí nídàájí oríṣiríṣi eré àwàdà wà ń bẹ orí ibi tá a wà yìí ibi tó serious gidi ni ẹ jẹ́ ká ka díẹ̀ sí nípa bí collapse ṣe wáyé ní USSR while George Bush níjọ́ náà long supported this independent movement the US policy was reactive. Bush chose to let events unfold organically. Mo like ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Things will unfold in Nigeria organically. Mr. Lajire says, I was part of that program. No clause either we are free or not. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ẹ mọ̀ pé mo sọ níjọ́ yẹn. Because èmi kàn sọ̀rọ̀ as in town ká dẹ̀ ń rí àgbọ̀dọ̀ ní any clause. Because àwọn kan ti ṣe mistake yẹn rí àti rí ìlú yẹn. India gbàsí fún wọn nísìnyí. Wọ́n ti detain gbogbo àwọn leaders wọn. Because àwọn tó lọ sign fún wọn ká má nà lọ gba Yorùbá nation Bush the senior bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ká máa lò bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe ọmọ wọn tó ṣe ọmọ Bush o allow things to unfold organically okay wọ́n ní Baba Iloge is a principal among those that are saying Yoruba should go and vote for APC bàbá vote for APC kí la máa ṣe àkó wà mọ́rógà Bush senior ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa fà ó allow ṣẹ́rí in tó dùn jù ni pé kí ṣẹ́rí fear táwa ń fear wàláì ó lè jẹ́ pé UK gan máa kọ̀ sọjú nù fún Nàìjíríà pé ọmọ kí lẹ rò pé UK ṣe ń sá fún ṣé mọ̀ pé UK bẹ̀rù Biafra ẹ̀ kò mo ti sọ́rí no ta ló accept bẹ́ẹ̀ pé UK yìí wọ́n bẹ̀rù àwọn Biafra gan how many people knows that UK tí àjọ tèmi wà yìí ṣe àwọn kan bẹ̀rù àwọn Biafra ó bẹ̀rù wọn gidi ni because wọ́n ti rí ìtọ́jọ́ bára wọn pa ìtọ́jọ́ bára wọn fò ìtọ́jọ́ bára wọn sọ ìtọ́jọ́ bára wọn ṣe ní 1967 ẹmọye secret agent Britain tó máa wà ní Biafra land nígbà tó ń já ogun yẹn lọ ni pé àwọn people lọ pẹ̀lú bó ṣe 3 years tó fi jàjà yẹn ọdún mẹ́ta ló fi jàjà yẹn so Britain mọ̀ pé wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé generation okay I think I have mo ní fídíò kan tí mo lè play fún wa ti ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Facebook Koiki Oduduwa ẹ̀ ní ráyè gbọ́ because bí system ṣe wà set up náà ní má bínú ẹ jẹ́ n lọ mú fídíò yẹn jáde ó dà mo send ẹ̀ sí yàn kan náà lánàá ẹ jẹ́ n lọ mú jáde fún yín kẹ́ gbọ́ ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ fídíò yìí audio ló máa jáde.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry with you. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, England won't exist. That I can assure you.
Ẹgbọ́n kan tí Nnamdi Kanu sọ.
People must understand
the rage. Kí ló ń pè ní rage? R-A-G-E. Romeo Alpha Golf Echo. And this platform is not violent platform. Self-determination. Self-determination. Ó dẹ̀ máa hit up. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa hit up gidi ni, especially in the African context. A lè compare self-determination táwa ń ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn ti Scotland o. Ti Scotland, civilized diplomacy làwọn ṣe o. Àwa ò lè ṣe the same thing o. Tá bá ń dúró dè yẹn, ó máa pẹ́ o. Kí ló ń pè ní rage? Tá bá sọ pé rage. Why is Nnamdi Kanu saying tẹ́ bá mọ rage tó wà láwọn lẹ́mìí àwọn?
Rage.
Violent, uncontrollable, anger. Her face was distorted with rage. Ọmọ bí Koiki ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí. Bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ti sinmi gan. Ẹgbẹ́ yín sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí. Ṣé ìwé yín pé ọmọ yìí ní problem? No, ní problem. Nàìjíríà ló ní problem. Tá à ń try láti. Àfẹ́ problem tó wà Nàìjíríà. Àfẹ́ either ká fa oxygen yẹn kó kú or ká wá sórí round table. Kí the remaining oxygen yẹn kó má lọ ṣe kí ni kó má di ticking time. Oyè yín. There was a time they begged them with visas. The Biafra turned down the visas. Ṣègbọ́n kan tó sọ. Wọ́n bí àwọn Biafra pa àwọn fún wọn ní visa kó máa bọ̀ nílùú yìí. Ẹ bá jẹ millions. Wọ́n náà wọ́n fẹ́. They're very worried and concerned about them. So, rage also means feel or express violence, uncontrollable anger. What is the full meaning of rage or violent anger? So, Nnamdi Kanu sọ nínú fídíò yẹn mo post lánàá. Ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Biafra yẹn ni mo ti rí because tó bá ń comment abẹ́ mi wọ́n máa ń post àwọn fídíò kọ̀ọ̀kan mo á rí oríṣiríṣi fídíò dẹ̀ lòun ti ṣe 21 seconds ní ẹja gbọ́n kò tó tún sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us.
Ó ní ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ the rage tó ń boil nínú àwọn. Kí nìkan tó ń boil nínú wọn? Skarsgård sọ pé it is disheartening that the overall experience of the Yoruba elder is not directly proportional to their age. Tàbá máa ń dúró de gbogbo àwọn bàbá yẹn bá ṣe máa dúró títí forever nìyẹn. Ó ní àwọn èèyàn mọ in táwọn face. Mr. Favre, in this modern, they will find it very difficult in this modern world.
You must understand how
Only you must understand how kini, how angry táwọn wà. Inú àwọn dùn. Àwa Yorùbá ń criticize wọn, a ní àfẹ́ wọn, àwọn náà lọ ń ṣe fake wine, àwọn náà ń ṣe fake drug, àwọn ó dá ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ. Ẹ fún wọn ní referendum, káwa ló wà ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹ fún wọn ní referendum, ẹni kí Tinubu fún wọn ní referendum, kí ó fẹ́ dógúnlẹ̀ ni. Ṣé Tinubu fẹ́ dógúnlẹ̀ lé wa lórí ni? Ṣé Bọ́lá Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, ṣó fẹ́ dá ogúnlẹ̀ fún wa ni? Ẹ jẹ́ kó fún àwọn Biafra ní referendum, káwa dé wà ní Nàìjíríà, ká máa ṣe Nàìjíríà wa lọ. Bàbá mi Ọlásùnkànmí làwà ní Tingo Group Nigeria Company frauded US. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Ẹ sọ fún Jagaban. Ẹ sọ fún Ṣèyí Tinubu pé kó sọ fún bàbá rẹ̀ kó fún àwọn Biafra ní referendum kó máa lọ àfẹ́ ogun. Because gbogbo yín náà lè sọ pé ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun la mọ̀ àmọ̀ parí ogun but bọ́rọ̀ ṣe ń lọ yìí pẹ̀lú Biafra àti federal government wọn ò ní gbà because Nnamdi Kanu ní tẹ́ bá mọ bí rage tó wà láàrin àwọn àti inú àwọn sí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà wọ́n hate British bí ìgbẹ́ especially torí àwọn ti jagun pẹ̀lú wọn wọ́n hate wọn bàjẹ́ ibẹ̀ ní Nnamdi Kanu pé British passport tó ń lò ìyẹn ni Britain ò ṣe dá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ fi pé wọ́n mọ bọ́ ṣe ogun ọlọ́mọ bọ́ ṣe kidnap ẹ̀ náà wọ́n dákẹ́ lọ́lọ́ ni àwọn Biafra náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Britain ò like àwọn ẹ lọ gbọ́ bí Simon Ekpa ṣe máa sọ̀rọ̀ kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè ṣe fún because Finland náà ti go through this kind of self-determination independent tí Simon Ekpa ń jà fún yìí.
we may look normal to you.
Ó ní àwọn máa look normal. Nísìn a kà nínú paper láàárọ̀ yìí pé Aro ní Abẹ́òkúta ní Yaba. Psychiatric patients in Yaba hospital have increased by 100%. So dìgbà tá a bá pé 250%. Tá à ń kó gbogbo ra wa lọ sí Aro, tá à ń lọ sí Yaba. Ẹlòmíì ní Nàìjíríà lé ní nísìn kò normal mọ́. Ẹlòmíì ò normal, ó kàn wọṣọ ni, ó wọ suit. Asumwe. Wetin happen? Oga, abeg, I never chop ọmọ Yorùbá. I never chop. Kò dẹ̀ tí chop lóòótọ́. A dẹ̀ wọ suit jáde. Wọ́n níyàwó, wọ́n lọ́mọ. Tó bá dé stage kan, èèyàn máa ní mental problem, èèyàn máa ní breakdown. And ìlú tó bẹ́lẹ̀ tí ní this kind of thing, that is symbol of breakdown tí ń bọ̀. Ó kọ̀ dàbí ìgbà tẹ́gbà ẹ̀ tí mọ̀. Okay, nígbà tí 100% of people, kí lẹ rò pé wọ́n sọ níbẹ̀? Wọ́n náà èèyàn tí ń lo drugs. Kí lẹ fi ń lo drugs fún? Because everybody feel high. Ẹ̀dẹ̀ pé tí àwọn bá dẹ̀ ti high, oríṣiríṣi ló máa, o lè máa rí, o lè máa rí spirit oríṣiríṣi gan. Oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa rí torí pé ó ti mu Colorado. Ìlú tó bá ti wà ní stage yẹn, ó ti di pé ó máa collapse náà ni. Because yes, ìlú yìí náà ní sẹ́ wọ́n lo drugs, but à ń try láti make sure pé wo ọ̀pọ̀ tó bí pé wọ́n máa wá dàlúrú mọ́ wa lórí. Ó náà pẹ́ mọ̀, psychiatric patients in Yaba hospital have increased by 100%. These are the same set of people tó máa wá jẹ èmi àti wọ́ tó ní kí n máa bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. So kàkà kí n wá sí Nàìjíríà kó jẹ mí, ẹ jẹ́ ká yọ oxygen tó wà ní Nàìjíríà, ká rọra máa yọ díẹ̀díẹ̀, ká yọ díẹ̀díẹ̀. Torí pé tó bá padà wá bá gbogbo wa, everybody ló máa jẹ breakfast. In 72 hours, ọkàn mi wà lókè gan. Torí èèyàn kan tó ń rìnrìn àjò kan lọ sọ́nà Òkè Ọya, wàláhì tàláhì símọ́ bílà làzìláwà. Mo bẹ̀ wọ́n títí pé ìrìn àjò yẹn wọ́tẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin ò ní mọ̀ ni. Ẹni tó súnmọ́ mi gbágbágbá ni. Ọkàn mi ṣe kí ni? Ó wà ní òkè tó fi lọ tó fi padà. Ṣé yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀? I couldn't sleep until tó wọ flight tó fi dé the final destination, and I don't have to give you all the breakdown of ibi tẹ́ni yẹn tí ń bọ̀, ibo ló lọ. Mo bẹ̀ títí pé ìrìn àjò yẹn ò dáa. Mo ní mi tí mo pariwo Yorùbá nation. Ó ní mo máa lọ náà ni o. Mo ní dà. Títí di alẹ́ àná tó wọnú ilé ẹ̀ lọ́kàn mi ṣẹ̀bàlẹ̀. Idiot all over the place. Ẹ rò pé mo ń ṣeré lórí program tí mo wá sórí program ni. Ẹ rò pé mi náà láwọn tó wà affected ní Nàìjíríà ni. Ṣé ẹ rò pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń kó lọ sáró yẹn, ṣé ẹ rò pé tó bá dé stage kan wọ́n ní wá attack yín, ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lówó àtẹni tó lówó àtẹni tó lówó. Cousin mi sọ pé wọ́n já fóònù mọ́ sí òun gbà níbi àbí last week. Tẹ̀dúpẹ́ tó ṣìyá yẹn léṣe. Àwọn ló ń já fóònù gbà. Wọ́n ṣe pickpocket nílùú iná. Kí ló ń fà tó fi wá sí Aro? Òun fẹ́ kà fún wa yìí. Kí ló ń fà tó fi wá sí Aro? We also have 100% increase in admission cases, in which drug abuse cases is now 10% increase, and the discharge cases is reduced by 10%. Ó wà wà ní level kan náà. Bó ṣe ń try láti curb it down, làwọn kan tún wá drug abuse. The poor and the rich will eat each other if we do not collapse that contraction. Tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà. Bọ̀ kó tó dọ́dọ̀ àwọn Ṣèyí Tinubu á pẹ́, kó tó dọ́dọ̀ Davido wá fìbọn fọ́ orí yín. Ẹ lọ wo fídíò bàbá kan bó ṣe gbá èèyàn kan tó ń tẹ̀lé Davido lẹ́yìn. Tẹ́ bá rí bó ṣe gbá etí ẹ̀. Kí ló dé? Ṣèbí fans ẹ̀ ni. Ṣé wọ́n lè ṣe security yẹn ó lè dán wò bẹ́ẹ̀ l'Amẹ́ríkà kó gba etí èèyàn torí pé ó jẹ́ fans ẹ̀. Davido máa san gbèsè l'Amẹ́ríkà. Bọ̀ nígbà tó yẹ pé lawless country ní Nàìjíríà. Fídíò yẹn wà lórí social media. Ẹ bá rí bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn ṣe gbá etí bọ̀bọ̀ náà. Ó kàn fi báyà picture, ó dẹ̀ lè fi pickpocket. Kò sí nǹkan tó possible náà làwọn yẹn náà ó lè fi já chain gbà. Bó tó bá já chain gbà ní mẹ́wàá pa síbẹ̀ ni. Bó kò lè jẹ́ kó kàn ní the picture. Ẹ mọ̀ kan tó bá ti jẹ́ celebrity, people are always excited about you. Wọ́n máa ń ya wèrè nípa ẹni. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó dẹ̀ wà nílẹ̀ kò ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ celebrity. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó kan gbogbo wa ni. But àwa fi ń ṣeré, a fi ń ṣàwàdà. Ẹ já padà sórí Soviet Union bó ṣe collapse. Àti sọ mí ní rage fún yín tí Nnamdi Kanu sọ. Ó ní ẹ mọ rage tó wà nínú àwọn. Tẹ́ bá mọ rage tó wà nínú àwọn ni. Kí ló ń pè ní rage? Mo ti fún ní meaning rage. Meaning rage yẹn violent ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Tí wọ́n bá lè sọ pé o fẹ́ violent, máa béèrè pé nígbà tó wá colonize wa, ṣé wọ́n lo violent lé wa lórí? Gbóhùn sókè, Nnamdi Kanu.
We are very, very angry
ẹ lè máa rí àwọn as normal people but àwọn wà very very angry. Àwọn Biafra yẹn wọ́n bínú pé àwa ò push, àwa ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ push nítorí pé a sì like Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Yorùbá gangan ló ń hold Nàìjíríà. Every day lára àwọn Biafra yẹn tán attack wa, every blessed day pé ẹ̀yin gangan lẹ̀ ń dá wa dúró. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwa gangan need the key to Nigeria. But tá a bá wá dá wọn dúró títí ṣe fi pé wọ́n ní jáde fúnra wọn tó bá yá. Ìbọn láti rí nísìn. Káwa máa bá lọ bá ṣe ń bá lọ. Àwọn ò ní bá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí yẹn kan máa jáde pé Koiki ṣe rí pé wọ́n ló ń support àwọn Biafra yẹn. Anyway, ẹ jẹ́ kó tó time kí yẹn kan jáde kó ṣe program lèmi lórí àbẹ̀ wọn. Èpèlẹ́ máa gbà lẹ́nu mi. Torí à ń sọ nísìn pé kí Tinubu fún wọn ní option. Referendum yes or no ni. Tó bá dẹ̀ náà wọn lọ wá wà ní Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú wa, àjọ máa ṣe, àjọ máa jẹ, àjọ máa mú. O lè sọ pé ò fẹ́ràn wọn tọ́dẹ̀ náà wọn fẹ́ lọ kò ní kó máa lọ kò possible. Ìkànnì ẹ̀ la máa mú. Ẹ fẹ́ràn wọn ẹ lè fẹ́ kọ́ lọ èwo lẹ fẹ́ nu méjèèjì. Hypocrite Yorùbá people, hypocrite nìyí, hypocrite. Ẹ fẹ́ràn àwọn Igbo wọ́dẹ̀ náà wọn fẹ́ lọ ẹ dẹ̀ fún wọn láyè kó máa lọ. We are all hypocrite. Àwọn ni wọ́n ń gbalẹ̀ mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. Ó ń pẹ́ kó tó gba gbogbo Èkó mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. Ó ń pẹ́ kó tó gba gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. Ẹ sọ fún Tinubu pé kó fún wọn ní referendum kó máa lọ káwa máa lẹ̀ dímọ́ Málà àti Fúlàní nínú Nàìjíríà kí ya máa jẹ wá. Hypocrite people, hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ wọ́n ní wọ́n ti gbalẹ̀ gbogbo Èkó láti gba Koiki ìwọ shut up idiot, shut up. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé kó máa lọ. Tó bá ti wá lọ tán ká wá lọ́ọ̀kì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ wọn lọ́rùn wọ́n bí wọn dá kó máa bọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà yẹn. Ẹ lè ṣe nothing nísìn because they are part of Nigeria. In tó bá wọn ní kódà tó bá lè ra House of Assembly Lagos gan ẹni kó rà á. Ṣé bá ń rí wọn nísìn ẹ̀yin ò mọ̀ pé àwọn náà wà strategic ni wọ́n wà strategic ni ṣèbí mọ̀ rí money tó ń lọ báyìí pẹ̀lú àwọn immigration officer tó ń ṣe kíní kan because òun náà fẹ́ wà strategic. Tó bá dẹ̀ máa wà strategic that means pé wọ́n expand mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ nìyẹn. So let them go. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Àwọn ẹláìdá. Like àwọn Igbo dẹ̀ sọ pé òun fẹ́ lọ. Ta ló bá máa kọ́kọ́ pariwo kó máa lọ. Gbogbo iná kúkú ṣe fake drug lẹ́ ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ ká lè lọ́kìlẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ wọn lọ́rùn. So that wọ́n lè máa dí pẹ̀lú ra wọn kó máa para wọn sókè lọ́hùn. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ tí mọ̀ kankan. Jẹ́ gbẹ́lẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú.
The rage that is boiling in us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, Benin won't exist.
By the time they are done with Nigeria, well, Bioruko Yenda kò ní exist anymore. That is what they're going to do. And they are already on the track. What it dawo, what it prepare mind wọn. Àwọn dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ogun ló máa parí ẹ̀. Tí Biafra kan wá sọ fún yín pé àwọn máa lọ without fighting, irọ́ ló ń pa fún ẹ. Á jẹ́ pé èyí tó ń tẹ̀lé DOS nìyẹn, torí wèrè ni wọ́n ti pín sí méjì. Àwọn kan náà ti tẹ̀lé DOS. Ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn autopilot yẹn. Ṣé mọ̀ pé bọ́ ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ lójoojúmọ́ ló ń dáwó sí àpò ìjọba olówó wọn tó fi sílẹ̀. Wọ́n ti ṣe as a mandate pé kàkà kí mo níra mi lára, wọ́n lọ ń ṣe extra hours tó fi ń dáwó. Àwọn máa ní ẹ dáwó nísìnyí o afẹ́ ṣe díṣe o àwọn kan tí máa probe ẹ̀rọ kan ṣeré. If you think they are joking, they are not joking. So actually we are very good because like I said, I still have a bit of energy and I'm not going anywhere. So phones yẹn gbogbo wọn ṣì mo dúpẹ́ lọ́mọ sí mi. She actually have to leave one of her phone. Pé kí wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn fóònù yẹn ni mò ń lò ní orí Facebook ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń wò mí ẹ̀ máa bá ń kí mo sí mi dáadáa. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin grandma náà tẹ̀ ń tọ́jú wa lọ́tùn lósì. So bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe ń ṣe ni mo sì tèmi náà ń ṣe. Mo lọ gba fóònù yẹn lọ́wọ́ wọn láti fi replace mẹ́ta tá fi ránṣẹ́ lọ sí Nàìjíríà. Ẹ tó bá ní phones ẹ wipe it off ẹ send ẹ̀ sí wa. Tó bá dé pé Nàìjíríà náà ni ẹ bá dẹ̀ lè ra tuntun fún wa. I should need more of all these products so that we can continue to do so much of this campaign. Now a sì wà lẹ́nu pé báwo ni Soviet Union ṣe pín nítorí pé George Bush senior ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa Fab àwọn lọ ní Koiki máa fi senior sí kó lè bá yé gbogbo wa. George Bush senior ó support independence. Ṣe rí internet nísìn ni pé kọ́lọ́ Elédùmarè kókò fún wa ní country kan àmọ́ country náà ẹ lè máa fọkàn sí pé bí a Russia ó tẹ̀lé má jẹ́ Russia kódà ó lè jẹ́ UK àní kókò fún wa ní country kan tó máa sọjú nù. Kí lẹ rò pé Biafra nísìn tí wọ́n ṣe ń sọjú nù fún wọn bí àwọn ìlú kan fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó tètè pín kò dẹ̀ ní wọ́n ní wá align tó bá dé United Nations tí Amẹ́ríkà bá ń veto nǹkan kan Russia náà lè veto against ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ Biafra máa dé United Nations Security Council láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà ìgbà tó máa débẹ̀ láì tí mọ̀ bọ̀bọ̀ ṣe ń bá lọ yìí especially ẹ̀dín Nnamdi Kanu síbẹ̀ ẹ̀ wá ń sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ ṣẹjọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ìdájọ́ náà wọn fẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́ ẹ̀yin wá ń sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ ṣẹjọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ nítorí pé ó fẹ́ set up rédíò ṣé Bọ́lá Tinubu ò set up rédíò nígbà nàdẹ́kò hypocrite Yorùbá people hypocrite ní gbogbo yín tó yẹ kí Tinubu máa sọ pé kọ́ dín Nnamdi Kanu mú ẹ fi sí ẹni bí ọdẹ ń ṣe reverse ni ẹ máa bára ẹ máa gbà sí fún wọn I don't know ṣé Tinubu ò set up radio Yorùbá radio Nadeco Kudirat radio níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn Nnamdi Kanu fẹ́ set up radio and so what wọ́n ní ó fi pín Nàìjíríà tó máa collapse. Why George Bush Senior supported this independent movement? US policy was reactive. Bush chose to let events unfold organically. Things will unfold organically in Nigeria when some countries look away. Careful not to do anything to worsen Gorbachev's position. While the policy review complete and taking into account unfolding events in Europe, Bush Senior met with Gorbachev at Malta in the early December 1981. Omar Kubu just under 2 years till USSR máa pín, and it eventually collapsed. They laid the groundwork for finalizing START negotiation, completing the Conventional Force in Europe Treaty. Wọ́n máa force Nigeria kó negotiate pẹ̀lú Biafra láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà. Àwa máa lẹ́pa mọ́ Nàìjíríà torí ọmọdé kì í ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó wà níbẹ̀. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ fẹ́ràn Igbo. Ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ lọ. Èwo lẹ máa múnu méjèèjì. Wọ́n ti gba Koiki wọ́n ti gba gbogbo Èkó mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́ lọ ká wá lé wọn pa jáde pé kọ́ máa kọ́. Ẹ bá wà lá nílẹ̀. Èyí tó bá náà ra lẹ̀ kọ́ fún lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ kọ́ jẹ́ kó máa kó gbọ́ngbára ẹ̀ padà lọ sí Biafra. Àwa mọ̀ pé a ti lock wọn. Èyí tó bá fẹ́ wá wọlé á follow òfin tá a ṣe wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà. That's táwa náà báyìí ti lọ. Ìtọ́ba náà ra lé ẹ fún lówó ẹ̀ kó padà lọ sí state ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n ti gba Biafra wọn ẹ níṣẹ́ yẹn ọwọ́ wà nínú Lagos state ẹ wá ń complain wo dey play ṣèbí nǹkan tẹ́yìn náà máa ń sọ fún mi nìyẹn ẹ ń play ni dey play. We cannot say we don't want Igbo people in our territory yet we don't want them to be given referendum economy méjèèjì la máa mú and that's a fact. ó lè máa wà comfortable fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ problem tí mi yẹn kò ṣe problem tí mi ìkànnì ẹ̀ la máa mú. So anyway eventually a ní láti ka gbogbo ìtàn yìí mo fẹ́ padà sórí ti ìta ń bá bọ̀ gangan Lugard. Eventually we saw that Soviet Union collapsed. Now ìlú mélòó ni Soviet Union ló jáde látara wọn? How many countries eventually? Eurostar service suspended after strike. And tẹ́ bá fẹ́ travel update kan nìyẹn. Kò rí atẹ́gùn yẹn tí ń fẹ́ fúrúfúrú báyìí. What are the 15 countries of the Soviet Union? 15 ló jáde níbẹ̀. Lágbára Elédùmarè mẹ́wàá máa jáde nínú Nàìjíríà kò sí nǹkan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ bá gbàdúrà ní crossover night pé kọ́lọ́ máa pín Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ ń tanra yín ó máa collapse. Akọ̀run lè bẹ Ọlọ́run pé tó bá collapse kó má di ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ tó máa pọ̀. That's all. Kíyàn kan máa lọ sí church ní crossover night. God bless Nigeria. God please don't let this country break. Òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn. Prior to their independence, they existed as Union Republic top-level constituent of the Soviet Union. Prior to independence, kó tó gba independent, kí Yorùbá tó gba independent, kí Igbo tó gba independent, ojú kan la wà. Kí Mala Hausa tó gba independent, ojú kan ni gbogbo wa. But along the line, it will eventually paka. Baba Sunday Okparani, Koiki, God Almighty will bless you for great enlightenment to your people. The truth will keep you forever. Thanks for the liberation and the vision of the people. Baba Fabni, is either you agree to wind or snowing, you must take one. And all this demon soil, it can be dissolved without even one bullet if we are honest with each other. But our politicians, ṣé ìtì dínà tó ń wá Bentley tó ń tẹ̀síwájú ṣé owó tí ló fi ra Bentley tó bá ń ṣòwò Nàìjíríà àwọn kan ní hustler ní tẹ́lẹ̀ ìwọ hustle ẹ̀yin ò ṣe lówó ẹ ṣe bàbá wa Àríṣekọ́lá ẹ̀yin ò ṣe lówó ṣèbẹ́yìn náà hustle gbogbo akọ́là hustle kí ló ní káwa náà lówó politics ló ń jẹ́ kí gbogbo lówó tó yọkùn pọ̀npọ̀npọ̀n yẹn. There are 15 post-Soviet states in total. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kà Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine tó ń jà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ àti Uzbekistan. Gbogbo àwọn ìlú tó jáde lára Soviet Union nìyẹn. Soviet Union ní agbára tó pọ̀ níjọ́ náà lọ àmọ́ wọ́n ní Amẹ́ríkà sọjú nù torí àwọn kan fẹ́ independent kọ́lọ̀ ọ̀bẹ Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ káwọn ìlú ńláńlá tó lè jẹ́ pé káwọn náà kọ́ sọjú nù káwa máa bá tiwa lọ pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà tí Nàìjíríà bá fẹ́ wá lo tòkánná jẹ tiwọn kó sọ fún Nàìjíríà pé tó bá lò yẹn ànígbà ẹ wá sórí round table kájọ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Qatar torí Qatar ni gbogbo àṣẹ máa end up sí lágbára Ọlọ́run ibẹ̀ láti máa lọ yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. What are the 15 countries of the Soviet Union? How many countries are Soviet Union? 15 Soviet Socialist republics. Soviet Union formed Northern Eurasian Empire from 1917 to 1991. It was founded and it was dissolved, it was collapsed. Nigeria was founded, it will be collapsed. It is just that nobody knows when. It could take another 5-7 years. It could take longer. It could take shorter. It all depends on every single one of us. Not just about one person. It is about every one of us, including the loyalty to the country. Àwọn kan loyal sí Nigeria because àwọn countries yẹn inú ibẹ̀ làwọn tí ń jẹ. Àwọn kan loyal, àwọn kan náà fẹ́ ká pín because wọ́n lè ṣe business pẹ̀lú Nigeria. Wọ́n ní Simon Ekpa should not travel to Qatar. Ara àwọn tó máa tẹ̀lé lọ, wọn ò ní láti lọ. So, how far have we done? A ti ṣe 3 hours. Ẹ ká wind down there. Ẹ ká ka lùgáàdì díẹ̀ ká tó máa lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka lùgáàdì ẹ̀ padà. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ ka ìtàn lùgáàdì. This is coming from the www.cfr.org. Màá share link yẹn fún ẹni tó bá fẹ́ lọ kà á lẹ́yìn tá a bá parí ètò. Follow backup channel wa dẹ̀ bá wa pín ètò kí ló dé ṣebí church náà máa ní kẹ́ pín ètò dẹ̀ máa ń pín ètò eléyìí náà ara service náà ni ẹ bá wa pín mo kẹ́ jùlọ tó sìn ẹ bá wa máa pín ẹ jẹ́ kó kárí ilé ẹ jẹ́ kó kárí ìta ẹ jẹ́ tó sáré wo àwọn tó ti comment ní gbogbo ibi tí a ti ń ṣe broadcast ká wo ká máa ní mo kí bàbá wa Gbájé Wàsíù Denix mo rí ẹ oní Yorùbá nation need them one outright now. Well, everybody mama. If Yoruba stand up between 24 hours, that is the end of Nigeria. Baba, I've programmed yesterday at the YWM about that. Okay, Momonte Kosibe. Mama mi dúpẹ́ làwa ẹ ṣé gan ni mà. Tsunami nìkan ló lè tú ìlú yẹn ká àwọn wèrè tí pọ̀ jù nílùú yẹn. Wọ́n ní sùlá ìyá mi mo dúpẹ́ làwa ìyá dáadáa ìyá ìwé wọ́n ní tsunami ló máa tú Nàìjíríà ká. Eleni, I don't pray for snow this Christmas. Okay, Atika, you don't want us to enjoy Christmas. But actually, enjoy Christmas. Ni pé kó wá wà ní Tajari ká máa build the snowman. Ẹ̀yin like ẹ máa build the snowman ni. Mo kí gbogbo ilé nǹkan sí. Ní pé parí ètò yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka ti Lugard díẹ̀ sí ká tó máa lọ. Lugard. Kí ni Lugard? Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka ìtọ́kọ nípa Lugard. A ti sọ ti Soviet Union. Mo ti fún yín ní understanding ẹ̀. According to Lugard created Nigeria Omade ìgbà tó kọ article was January 2nd, 2018, which is about, some years back. But now, Nigeria was 104 years. But ní January 1st, Nigeria ma di 110 years old. Kò ní territory. Tó bá ṣe pé fraud ni, òyìnbó lo territory lẹ Yorùbá, wọ́n gbé Nigeria lé lórí. Ìtọ́ ṣe nìyẹn. Because Nigeria tá ń sọ yẹn, ṣe mọ̀ pé kò ní territory òyìnbó ló wò pé ibi táwọn ti ṣe ẹrú fáwọn wa wọ́n ti colonize wa wọ́n wá ṣe gbogbo yẹn títí kàkà kọ́ máa lọ mo kí justice for the masses ẹ kí wa pé ẹ káàsán èmi náà ní ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò sá ṣe mọ̀ pé what they now did was rather than allow everybody to stay on their own. Okay, no, ẹ jẹ́ ká pa orúkọ yẹn rẹ́, wọ́n wá pa orúkọ tiwa rẹ́, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó pa orúkọ wa rẹ́, wọ́n wá gbé orúkọ mi lé lórí bí ṣe sọ fún yín tó bá wá ń travel, especially àwọn àtàṣe ní Nigerian passport, kò ṣe ẹ̀yìn tí ẹ ti ní British passport o. Wọ́n wá ní, are you a Nigerian? And yes, oh, from Southwest, wọ́n mọ̀ based on orúkọ ẹ̀, a ní Ọlákúnlé, Ọláyọmí, wọ́n mọ̀ pé orúkọ ọmọ Yorùbá ni. Kí ló dé tá wá jẹ́ ká gba real identity wa? Mo kẹ́ ẹ TJ bàbá káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Kí ló dé tá gba real identity wa? Mo kẹ́ Kúnlé Bakers, mo ti rí yẹn kó wọlé, tó bá ti wọlé ó máa ń fún mi lówó ni, ó máa fi mọ̀ pé ó ti wọlé. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kan tí John Campbell tó kọ ní January 2nd, 2018. Lugard created Nigeria 104 years ago. That was in 2018. On January 1st, 1914, ẹlòmíì ibi tí mo fẹ́ kà mo ní interrupt má kà délẹ̀ tó bá wá yí ẹ by the time tí bá kà tán ẹni Mr. Koiki ń tẹ́ ka yẹn àwọn òyìnbó tẹ́ ń lò yẹn ti pọ̀ jù màá wá ṣàlàyé fún yín. On January 1st, 1914, Lord Frederick Lugard, the governor of both the Northern Nigeria Protectorate and the colony and the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria, signed a document consolidating the two, thereby creating the colony and protectorate of Nigeria. 46 years later, in 1960, Nigeria became an independent state. Anniversaries are times for reflection, and given that today, just over 104 years after amalgamation, the country is still grappling with its national identity. The country is still grappling with its national identity. And the emanated separatist movement, it is worth reflecting on how exactly Nigeria became Nigeria. For a few seconds, can fi lọ sókè kí n na sẹ̀mí díẹ̀. While I'm doing that, mo fẹ́ wo kí ni mo tún lè play fún wa tí màá fi padà dé. Kákọ̀fì nǹkan tó light sí ni. And I'm always careful with videos now, so mo sì lè lọ lọ tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ play Ṣòwòrẹ́. Màá prefer yẹn. Tí bá padà dé mo tí mo kà dé, I'll continue from there. Now, come to Joko for some time now. I need to stretch the leg up and come back down. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí Ṣòwòrẹ́. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ kọ sí bíbá tó sọ. Tẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí Koiki Odùduwà, in case tẹ́ bá gbọ́, ẹ má fi ṣèbínú, because the way the system is set up, tẹ́ bá fi gbọ́, ẹ sáré lọ sọ́dọ̀ platforms wa.
Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, call it work. In Nigeria, where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent, call it work. To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution, I say this: hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now, and it will not be televised.
It will not be televised. Seripe Mode at the exact time. Oshegon Omoyele Sowore, èèyàn ti KOIKIMEDIA. So ẹ ká padà sórí Lugard tá ń kà lọ lẹ́ǹkan. Mo kí gbogbo Waris Jinadu ní artificial state colonies are bound to collapse as indigenous Yoruba and other nationalities will revive their individual languages, custom, culture, identity with their territorial jurisdiction. Kò síbi kankan tó jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ní jurisdiction tẹ̀. Mo kí Alájà Láyé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ìyá wa. Mo kí bàbá mi Prince Adékúnlé, Yoruba nation must surely stand. Now let's go further. Before Europeans arrived in the territory that is now Nigeria, a number of different civilizations existed whose presence is felt today. For example, in the north, Islam was predominant in the 19th century. There were two Islamic empires, the Sokoto Caliphate and the Borno Empire. To the southwest lay numerous Yoruba cities that generally had in common Aminist religion and were only sometimes united. To the southwest was an Igbo kingdom, Inri, and a collection of semi-autonomous towns and villages in the Niger River Delta. Such regions were linguistically, religiously, and politically distinct. I tell you, some 3 hours. Wow. Lecture room, nothing. I got 30 pounds. Joke aside here. While other colonial powers, such as the Portuguese, became involved in the region by way of the slave trade as early as the 15th century, the British arrived in force. The British arrived in force only in the 18th century. It was not until 1861 that they formally occupied their fourth Nigerian territory, Lagos, in a bid to protect Christian converts and trading interest. And to protect Christian converts. Àwọn tó convert sí Christianity. Àwọn tó ṣe ti oníṣẹ̀ṣe mọ́ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn ní 1886. So that means pé Britain ò ní any access any kankan on territory until 1861. Nígbà tó kọ́kọ́ rí Èkó gbà. Bí àgbà tó gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn Portuguese. Only God knows how many ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ta sílẹ̀. And to further their anti-slavery campaign, in 1884, the British occupied what would later become the Southern Protectorate. What he expand, what he call ìbọn wọlé, what he call bomb wọlé, what he call this wọlé, what he pa àwọn èèyàn, what he manipulate gbogbo wa. Ó yá baile ìjà, ìwọ tó ní ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú nìyẹn, ọmọ Bú Èkìtì, ọba bá gbogbo wa, àwa kọrí síra wa. Òun ló ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́ni títí dọ́là. That is what they did. Mo sọ fún yín pé ṣekú ṣẹyẹ làwọn òyìnbó kò ń ṣàwọn ọmọ wọn àwọn ìjọba tí wọn ìjọ náà lọ́hùn àtàwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú wọn lénìí àwọn yẹn ni wọ́n wá yín mú sèmi pé they play ó ṣà ń gbọ́n nǹkan tó ń sọ síbẹ̀ tó bá gbọ́ òyìnbó ṣà ń gbọ́ bí ṣe ń ṣàlàyé ẹ̀. In 1884, the British occupied what would later become the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate piecemeal from 1900 to 1903. By 1903, the British controlled the territory that comprises modern-day Nigeria, but as 3 separate administrative blocks. Even as at that time, kí ló dé tó wá kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ bí màálù àti màálù àná àfẹ́gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹranko mọ́. Ìtàn jà fún nìyẹn. Ìtàn pariwo lójoojúmọ́ nìyẹn tó dàbí wà tẹ́ pé à ń ṣe múfì bíi Kúnlé Ọláyan. Òfin pa àwọn yẹn máa ṣeré, ọ máa sọ̀rọ̀ tèmi sọ ni. Àwọn mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ òfin pé mi náà fẹ́ mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ owó ni, èmi náà fẹ́ lówó. Tó bá yẹ pé mi náà lọ ń fa gbùrù tí mo ń ṣe tí mo jẹ́ kí n máa ṣe, màá lówó lọ́wọ́, màá fi tọ́jú ọmọ, màá fi tọ́jú ìyàwó. Àjọkò sí rìnrìn àjò pé kí ayé wa lè ní identity. Ẹ wá yín mú sí wa, ẹni dey play, mo ti gbọ́. No problem. Gbogbo wa la máa jẹ breakfast. Ṣọ́ ti rí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn, ṣọ́ ti rí gbálẹ̀. Àwọn ìṣòwò àlọ́ náà Fúlàní terrorist. Jùjú bá nìyẹn, mo ní tó bá bí dá tó bá dé kó má tètè kọrin tó máa reflect problem tó bá tẹ̀ support Yorùbá nation kó tètè ya sọ tójú ẹ̀ rí kọ́lọ̀ má jẹ́ kó pa síbẹ̀. Likely pé wọ́n máa release it before Christmas. Ó slim. Kódà àwọn Nàìjíríà ti gbàgbé pé wọ́n ẹlòmídẹ̀ ti gbàgbé. Ìyẹn lásán náà tó yín pé kẹ́ jáde kẹ́ lọ protest ẹni kémi máa bọ̀ ń lé. Orí yín ò pè ni mo sọ. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni kò ṣe àwọn tó ń wò mí o. Ìyẹn lásán gan tó pé ká jáde pé ó ní 14 people lọ kidnap. Ìyẹn kan ti fún mi lówó fìlà yín dẹ̀ máa ń dà pé ìyẹn lówó tó pọ̀ dáadáa ẹ ṣé gan ní sà lórí TikTok kò ní tán níbẹ̀ Mr. Sean Leon. Àbọ̀rọ̀ mo yẹ yín nísìn. Ìyẹn lásán tó gan kí gbogbo jáde ká lọ protest. pé èèyàn 14 people have been kidnapped láti just Saturday di Sunday. Kò ẹ̀wọ̀n pé àwọn èèyàn kàn sọ lórí social media àti mẹ́nu kúrò nù yẹn àtúndódà àwọn ẹlòmíì tó tún máa kidnap. Má ṣe o. By 1903, British ti ní agbára olórí, wọ́n ti control gbogbo territory. Ibo ni wọ́n control. Ibi tó ń control níjọ́ náà lọ́n kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n pè ní Southern and the Northern Protectorate. Àwọn dẹ̀ ló ń pè níbẹ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, I think the Juju artist has been released with his band members. Okay, when I think tó bá ipò ti release wọn, àdúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Ìtàfẹ́ náà nìyẹn. Láti pé wọ́n tètè kówó jáde nìyẹn. Àdúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. So, ṣe rí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ disagree pé ṣe rí bíbáyìí òun ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹ lè má rí dáadáa ibi tí mo fọwọ́ sí. So, even as at that time, ìgbà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ní 1903, wọ́n ń pè ní Southern and Northern Protectorate. Even God said, orúkọ tó ń pè yẹn ó wrong, but àwọn kò fi demarcate ni, because Yorùbá Kingdom lọ́ba, Ẹ̀yọ́ Empire lọ́ba, but àwọn wá pè ní Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate. But by 1903, Britain ti ní agbára tó pọ̀. Nígbà tá a bá náà ti release wọn kí ni èmi wà lé ni, wọ́n bá ti release wọn, kọ́ release wọn náà ni, èbí kọ́ release wọn náà là ń bẹ Ọlọ́run fún. So bí àwọn tó súnmọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ nímọ̀ pọ̀ release wọn. Brother wa kan dẹ̀ ní pé ìyàn wọn méjì kan wà níbẹ̀, bọ́ mo rò pọ̀ wà lórí program pẹ̀lú mi lénìí. Tó bá náà ti release wọn, àdúrà kan gbà pé kọ́ release wọn náà ni. Àbí kí la fẹ́ ṣe sí. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti release wọn, tó náà ti release wọn, Nàìjíríà tó bá sọ pé ilẹ̀ ti ṣú, ṣáà make sure pé ilẹ̀ ti mọ́ ni. I have sent the release video clip to your Instagram this morning. Oh, okay. I jẹ́ kí n lọ wò ń gbà yẹn. Okay, I didn't know that. Ẹ ṣe gan bàbá wa. Ṣé KOIKIMEDIA let's send it to Yomi Koiki. Oh no, Koiki no, let me first send it. All right, that's fine. So we're grateful that they've been released. Okay, Montralati wo how many hours ago? Okay, Konshele. All right, more read the send this you. I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it anyway. About to release one, that's very good. It's a great news, you know, because the point come out, my fiancé chef, and talk kidnap, Olomo to your material. I just pray, but you to Denison, Kawasawa, fi Konikwe, Goro Nigeria, Shereja, Yomi Koiki. I can't say it there. Messages me. All right, I check it properly about the program. Let's come back to the actual conversation again. By 1903, the British controlled the territory that comprises the modern-day Nigeria, but as 3 separate administrative blocks. 3 separate administrative blocks. Okay, ma check it. Baba Safa, ma check it. We have the Eastern, the Northern, and the Southern Protectorate. I mean, the Southern and South. Western region, Eastern region, and the Northern region. As early as 1898, the British considered combining the then 3 protectorates to reduce administrative burden on the British and allow the rich South, Tile Yoruba, to effectively subsidize the much less economic prosperous North. Ibitamo Yoruba, Tefiman sọ pé, Koiki, Taba wa pín kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣá lè maintain ara wa. Britain gan mọ̀ pé as far back as 1898 ni wọ́n ti ń consider pé ọmọ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí ó náà pé a máa join gbogbo yín papọ̀ because àwọ̀ ò lè máa fi owó tiwa ká máa fi bọ́ North. That was exactly what happened. So as early as 1898, the British considered combining máa kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ the 3 protectorates to reduce administrative burden. Lẹ́yìn nísìn ìran wo ló ń support North in terms of the IGR. Àwa là ń pawó wọlé ní Southwest. A fi ń bọ́ àwọn gàmbàrí lókè ọ̀yà lọ́hùn. So why are we not then able to stand on our own? Because British gan mọ̀ pé níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn ní 1898 kò tí ì sí Nàìjíríà nígbà yẹn o. Wọ́n tí amalgamate wa o. The Lagos colony was later incorporated into the Southern Nigerian Protectorate for budgetary reasons. Ẹlòmíì ò gbọ́ tàn yìí rí. àwọn tó dẹ̀ tó gbọ́ ṣe ni wọ́n complain pé Koiki ìgbà tó gbogbo yẹn wá ṣẹlẹ̀ nǹkan ẹja máa bá torí inú bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí ń jẹ oníjẹkújẹ ní wicked people. The Lagos colony was later incorporated. Nigeria was just a business center fáwọn British. Business center ní látòkè délẹ̀. Láti òkè délẹ̀, Nigeria was a business center. Queen Mama mo kí ẹ̀ tèmi lórí Mixella ọkọ̀yà gbogbo yín pátápátá. A máa mẹ́tọ̀ yẹn wálẹ̀ díẹ̀. Can you take a short break? Àti ṣe 3 hours 21 minutes. I don't like going that long length. But I'm strong and able to go. But the Lagos colony was later incorporated into the Southern Nigerian Protectorate for budgetary reasons. That is what Lugard was referring to in his infamous description of how a marriage between the rich wife of substance and means that the South, our long the rich wife, and the poor husband, the North. Eshigoni, Mr. Machiavelli, and may you live long, senior man. Thank you so much, sir. I am not here to fight anyone. What and how the make. Part 1, Part 2, Series 1 for a very long time. Because the making of that shit old country called Nigeria. Awani rich wife, our not the poor husband will lead to a happy life for both. One will lead to a happy life for both of us. She happy life lang be nisin. Awati not. She no. Any comment na come ara pe mi nìkan mo sọ̀rọ̀. She happy life la jọ ngbe. Why are we living in denial? Yes, we're not saying that gbogbo lo bad. A lè jókòó síbà ká ní gbogbo Hausa ló bad. Kódà a lè sọ pé gbogbo Fúlàní ló bad. But mo fẹ́ mọ̀ gbogbo Fúlàní tó fẹ́ wọlé. A fẹ́ ní details wọn up to their data. In tó bá mú British gba fingerprint tèmi, a gbọ́dọ̀ gba fingerprint gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní àti Igbo àti gbogbo ẹ̀yà tó kù tó bá fẹ́ wá gbé pẹ̀lú wa. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple and why did they call South wife? Which means they know what they are doing. Àwa la ní Nigeria. Because àwa ó ti sọ síbẹ̀ náà ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ kà kó lè bá yé wa. Wọ́n ní Lugard ó pèdè kan infamous description of how a marriage ìgbéyàwó láti ara olówó obìnrin, the rich wife of a substance, and means that our South nílẹ̀ Yorùbá and the poor husband ní North, àwọn North ló wá ń jẹ gàba lórí gbogbo wa. Ẹ rò pé Tinubu ló ń control Nigeria? They joke or they play dẹni. Tó bá yá gbogbo ala máa understand pé Tinubu is just another puppet. Kò ṣe pé mo disrespect it, but mo sọ fún yín pé Tinubu is a puppet to South to Sultan of Sokoto. Sultan of Sokoto ló ní Nigeria. The poor husband in the North. What one will lead to happy life. Say happy life là ń gbé láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti merge wa together. Are we living happy life? Or we are all living in denial? A lot of us know that we are not living happy life. But we are trying to pretend rather, that we live happy life, even though we are not. Enter our lórí YouTube KOIKIMEDIA. For me, just few seconds. Mo fẹ́ fi check nǹkan kan lórí phone mi. Mo ní pẹ́ kí n tó padà. Ẹ má bínú.
It is pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits. That a democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country.
Wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí good people Sowore wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí good people wọ́n ní kí Sowore lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ as a councillor. Tẹ́ bá ṣe ń gbọ́ mi lórí KOIKIMEDIA YouTube ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ ẹ má bínú pé mo come out lẹ́ẹ̀kan a ní láti dá èèyàn lóò lẹ́yìn ni. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà quickly sórí Lugard. A ti gbọ́ pé àwa ni ìyàwó so anytime tó bá ń rí rẹ máa rí rẹ as ìyàwó ní àwa Yorùbá àwọn málà ẹ ṣe gan Mr. Azeez Sakiru àwọn málà kò ṣe pé I hate málà o Haúsá bí a kì í pè bẹ́ẹ̀ àwọn Haúsá ni ọkọ ṣe ni pé wọ́n gbọ́n wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ọkọ lórí ó ti yé yín wọ́n wá jẹ gàba lé wa lórí àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ pé Tinubu débẹ̀ adúpẹ́ ṣèbí kan ta fẹ́ náà nìyẹn ó dẹ̀ ti débẹ̀ nísìn kí ló máa wá ṣẹlẹ̀ àwọn kan ní Koiki wọ́n má wọ́rì òun ló máa jẹ́ the last president I pray and I hope so because tí Tinubu bá lọ parí tẹ́nu ẹ̀ pátápátá tí mo tún wá ń jókòó sí bíbá tí mo tún sọ̀rọ̀ pé Yorùbá nation no going back ọmọ málàpá ṣe gèsì gbogbo alára and that is the reason why I afford láti slow down torí bàbá Tinubu wà níbẹ̀ kò sí tó kàn wá I hate it. This is the time that we must continue to propel and push and push and push the movement until we collapse the country. But tá a bá ti ṣe yẹn ọmọ ọjọ́ ọ̀la yẹn ó máa le díẹ̀ o. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ó dàbí nǹkan tó pẹ́ ni tá a bá máa díjú làbá ẹ nísìn gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí 7 years máa dé o. Ó kọ́ ẹ pé age wa máa ti gbogbo olúkàlùkù bá àdì 7 years mọ́ age ẹ̀ ìwọ náà máa mọ bí tá a rẹ̀ kù sí kọ́lọ̀ kó fún wa lẹ́mìí gbogbo àtàlàfíà kára lè kókó bí ata gbogbo ẹ̀yin yàwá ẹ̀ ní kú sí wa lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ̀ ní kú ẹ máa dàgbẹ́ máa dògbò bọ̀ kẹ́yìn máa jí pé tá a bá àdì 7 years mọ́ age wa Yorùbá rẹ̀ ti kúrò lára Nàìjíríà kì í mọ́jọ́ lóòótọ́ o torí bàálẹ̀ máa ní Koiki wọn náà lè tún ní a máa kúrò ní 2037 2031 subject to ti gbogbo abarẹ́dì ni o. I said it in 2023. It would have been possible. But when you Koiki ní gbogbo mechanism, ní kànjà, ní this, ní that. Okay, agreed. Ní kànjà lóòótọ́. But ní kan tá lè fi pull it down, which is the crowd. Rí Igboho ni. You don't see Igboho. Tí crowd yẹn bá káàkiri ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ for continuously. I máa shut down gbogbo system. So we see how it goes. Mo kẹ́gbọ́n mi gbogbo ìyẹn brothers mi àtàyìn beautiful sisters wa a máa parí ètò yẹn tí bá ti ka article ìtàn so that kí mi náà lè lọ take short break kí n tẹ̀lé lọ 1 second batch oúnjẹ mi jẹ ọ̀ yóò ti tap yẹn omi yẹn ó ń drip díẹ̀díẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ máa mú bíìlì wa nísìn èsì ìjókòó dẹ̀ kan àwọn ọmọ lóyìnbó tí wọn bàbá ló máa san bíìlì. So tó mi yẹn tó ń jí kò yẹ kó pọ̀ náà bọ́ tẹ́mọ̀ kéékèèké náà lára save owó náà ni mo kẹ́ easy ẹ má bínú pa ayé kí program yìí pẹ́ díẹ̀ lẹ́nìí àti lọ over 3.5 hours nísìn. So let's move swiftly. Bola Kade, some have suspected that Lugard was referring to the political supremacy of the North over the South. Ẹgbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn some àwọn èèyàn ti ń suspect the Lugard was referring to the political supremacy of the North to the South. The name Nigeria. Ibi ìgbà gbọ́n mo fẹ́ kẹ́ gbọ́ atẹ́gùn ṣe ń fẹ́ fúrúfúrú báyìí kí ló dé má gbé pàánù lé wa o. The name Nigeria was coined by the future Lady Lugard in an 1897 London Times article. Ẹ jẹ́ wọn bí a lè rí anything pertaining to that. In the Times on January 8, 1897, she wrote, the name Nigeria applying to no other part of Africa may without offense to any neighbors be accepted as coexistent with the territories over which the Royal Niger Company has extended British influence and may serve to differentiate them from the colonies. Flora Shaw, Inyegele Freni Lugard. Baba Abidi, the people who joined the protectorate in marriage refused to dissolve the sham marriage. Naming Nigeria in an essay that first appeared in the Times on January 8, 1897 by Miss Shaw, ìyàwó, kò tẹ́ ṣe ìyàwó girlfriend ni wọ́n because of Fẹ́ra officially. Laura Shaw, she suggested the name Nigeria for the British protectorate on the Niger River, or River Niger. Niger River, but it should be River Niger, but it doesn't matter. In an essay, Laura Shaw made the case for a shorter term that will be used for the agglomeration of pagan and Mehodin states to replace the official title of the Royal Niger Company territory. Nigeria used to be Royal Niger trading post in Nigeria. Omugo, ìwọ tó ń fẹ́ save Nigeria is a trading post. Tó bá tẹ gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ rí, ilé tó ń gbọ́ ìṣe kò jẹ́ kó máa ronú sí ni. Let's go further. Was too long to be used as a name of a real estate property. Under the trading company in the part of Africa, she was in search of a new name. Girlfriend ń bá wa wá orúkọ. Tá a bá mọ gbogbo ilé tẹ́lẹ̀. Ara ìdí tá a ti sọ pé ká padà sí ìran wa tẹ́lẹ̀ ní òun ló wá coin. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Mr. Waris Jinadu. She coined it after the geographical river location. Nothing pè ní River Niger. Marshall. Ó ní orúkọ tó ń jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn Royal Niger Company ó ti gùn jù àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ wá kékeré fún. Only was too long to be used as a name of a real estate property. Under the trading company in the part of Africa, she was in search of a new name. So that means kò ń ṣe Jésù Kristi ló create Nigeria. Kò ń ṣe Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ló create Nigeria. Àwọn onílẹ̀ wa kọ́lọ́ní kọ́ lọ create Nigeria tí àwọn onílẹ̀ tí wọ́n gbé fún wa tí à manage. Laura Shaw, girlfriend Lugard, ló decide pé ọ̀nà táwọn máa gbà ní pé àwọn òfin máa pè ní Royal Niger Company, àwọn á máa pè ní Nigeria. Let's go further. She was in search of a new name. She coined Nigeria in preference to the term such as Central Sudan, which were associated with the area by some geographical travelers. Oh yeah, pick up. Yes. Yeah, come. It's a small one, so yes. But you won't be able to put on the shoe. I'm sorry. Do you have something to put on?
Left to the back.
Go ahead. If you want to take the shoe off and just walk through.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Am I being? I'm going to pick up. A very, very small one.
Very stretchy?
Yeah, very small. That's it. Yeah, very small one. That's it. That's it. It's empty. There's nothing inside.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Am I being yum?
It's unplugged, huh?
No. It's not plugged. It's not plugged. Yeah.
So small.
Yeah, very small one. Yeah. Very small one. So, we say solo. I want to share from a lot. So, nígbà tí wọ́n create orúkọ tá à ń pè eventually many people lẹ́ni nísìn ẹ wá ní ká forget history wa ká dúró lórí in tí wọ́n create fún wa ìdí ni pé why should we do that? Mo kí bàbá Mojeed Ibrahim and tell them they will hear by force, which is what we are doing. Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ ni. Ogunmola,
Okay, sir.
thank you so much. Those market mama will still vote Tinubu if Nigeria exists. Benny, I won't be in doubt of that.
It is pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates, and even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. unless a revolution happens in this country,
àwọn èèyàn fẹ́
same way they
revolution
had in
Mr.
Sudan
Sowore
in Nigeria, it's
àwọn
going
èèyàn wọ̀
to be
tí ready
difficult to have
ṣé ń gbádùn
free
program yẹn tó ń dùn lọ
elections.
títí
I am saying it so that we're not.
ta ló ń gbádùn ẹ lọ ta ló ń gbádùn ẹ bóyìnbó ṣe ń gbádùn tí àti sìgá ṣé ń gbádùn program yẹn ṣó ń lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣó yé wa ẹ ò pé lecturer láti béèrè pé ṣó yé wa fóònù ilé Twitter space yẹn ni mo tẹ̀ ní láti pa ẹ má bínú Mr. Bashir ẹ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí the other platform because fóònù yẹn ti wọ red so máa pa Twitter space yẹn nísìn kò dẹ́n àlá kí n charge ẹ̀ tí bá ń lò so ẹ má bínú sí mi sà ẹ lọ darapọ̀ a ṣe wà lórí live lórí other platform wa tí o mọ̀ pé ẹnìkan ló kù lórí space ẹ má bínú sà thanks so much ṣó ń yé wa kẹ́tẹ́kẹ́tẹ́ ṣó ń yé wa tá à ń bá lọ ẹ jẹ́ kí àwọn kan fúlẹ̀ o ọlọ́run kankan create Nàìjíríà o àwọn méjèèjì bára wọn sùn wọ́n jí níjọ́ kan lọ ní trading post ẹja change orúkọ ẹja rẹ̀. Some of the educated people never listen to this wonderful explanation from you, Koiki Soji Worldwide. Ṣé wọn kí n bá lóye lọ́wọ́ ọ̀rẹ́ mi dáadáa èèyàn ti KOIKIMEDIA. Ìyẹn dẹ̀ ń discuss ọ̀rọ̀ politics in Nigeria tí kò lè tó máa lọ forever bẹ́yẹn ìrọ̀lẹ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Politics ò lè solve problem tó wà nílẹ̀. The solution ni pé ká wá sórí round table ká discuss ẹ̀. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí àti ní better understanding ẹ jẹ́ ká wá padà sí lùgá tá n ká lọ ẹ̀ mú kọ́ lọ wo ètò and I'm gonna post this now èyí tí mo lọ ra short tí mo ń ṣílẹ̀ nǹkan yẹn dà okay jẹ́ kí n search for again mighty closer so màá post the exact word yìí nísìn ẹ jẹ́ mú image ẹ̀ náà màá fi sórí community wa lórí kódà ètí ẹ̀ ká promote ni so màá fi síta nísìn so ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe yẹn mo kí gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà lórí ìjókòó ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ akúpalẹ̀mọ́ Christmas akúkú bá wa láyé kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀ lọ bàbá wa dẹ̀ lọ́ máa fi wá sílẹ̀ lọ náà nàbí báwọn ní Yorùbá yẹn so mo ti ń fẹ́ post ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́ra ṣọ́ yẹn mo ti fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta so ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ lọ fi sórí mo kí bàbá ọ̀nà ẹ ṣe gan ni wọ́n ní nobody is happy o Mr. Koiki Ikeja and the mainland of Lagos is part of Ogun State interesting ṣẹ́rí wọ́n ti gé gbogbo territory yẹn wọ́n ti gé bó ṣe wù wọ́n olúkàlùkù kọ̀ yọ tiẹ̀ ni create so many false states so mo fẹ́ mú picture ìyàwó olùgáàdì yẹn àtọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ so mo fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta so ẹlòmíì ò rírí ẹlòmíì lè rí nǹkan tí mò ń sọ igan kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ so ìyẹn mo ṣe fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta Ọlọ́run fi wá sílẹ̀ ìkà ni wọ́n ti ṣèkà fún wa wọ́n ti ṣe ìkà fún Nàìjíríà fún ìran Yorùbá rather so it is time now that we allow the history to be rewritten mo kí bàbá kí tó yẹ dáadáa ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple rẹ do all these Yorùbá elders read this article you are reading or they are just sitting down for their own interest they careless mo kí bàbá mi ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Sean Lawal thank you so much hello boss afternoon how was your day òun náà la ṣe wà lẹ́nu ẹ láti 11 o'clock láti jókòó sórí ìjókòó báyìí ẹ má bínú family ẹ má bínú wọ́n ti wá mo wà lórí program wọ́n ti lọ wọ́n ti gbé ọ̀rọ̀ later bye bye ẹ má bínú a ti padà dé má bínú kọ̀ọ̀kan wọlé ni so mo fẹ́ edit neighbors so travelers now so mo ti ń post ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ṣe tó bá pàdé kẹ́yìn náà ṣe kí ni ẹ lè download ẹ̀ so máa fi sórí Twitter náà nísìn ẹ jẹ́ fi sínú community wa lórí YouTube they've done something terrible you know the problem tó wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé Britain kò fi apologize for this amalgamation by now ó yẹ kó ti apologize fún wa and let Nigeria collapse but what should protect the interest in Nigeria there's no reason láti hold on to Nigeria anymore níbi tílẹ̀ ṣúdẹ̀ kò jẹ́ ká hold on to it so ẹni tó bá fẹ́ ka tí mo post yẹn ó ti wà nígboro already so kẹ́lẹ̀ lọ kà máa try láti fi sínú comment section náà èyí tí mo kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan yẹn so anybody tó bá ń bí nílé níbi bí apalọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà sọ pé Nàìjíríà wo Nàìjíríà tí Koiki ti fọ́ sí wẹ́wẹ́ lórí social media kí ló ń pè Nàìjíríà sí wọn mo kí bàbá mi Akeem Ayọ̀délé Nàìjíríà wo Nàìjíríà rọ̀ wo mo ti fọ́ sí wẹ́wẹ́ kódà máa tún ṣe translation ẹ̀kan sí Yorùbá nísìn wá àti bá ṣe gbogbo yẹn mo kàn máa fojú wa comment má dẹ̀ máa ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ so kí n má lọ gbàgbé má tún ṣe translation ẹ̀ nísìn translate Google Translate ó yá from English to Yorùbá gbogbo no French lélẹ̀ ọ̀dà mo lè ṣe ní French náà copy post gbogbo ẹ̀ síta kẹ́ máa lọ kà yẹ kí èèyàn kan fúlù wa àwọn irọ́ tó ti gbé kalẹ̀ irọ́ kàbìtì tó gbé kalẹ̀ for years for donkey of years òun làwọn ń pín à ń fọ́ sí wẹ́wẹ́ nísìn fọ́ sí wẹ́wẹ́ tó bá yá gbogbo alamọ ní understanding tó bá wá fi ìpè gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí Nàìjíríà máa wá work you're wasting your time it can never work it will never work and it can never work it is all gimmicks and lies kódà máa translate sí èdè Igbo máa translate sí Hausa náà àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwa máa continue program yẹn lọ mo kúkú lọ bí kankan tí bá dẹ̀ ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ tán máa lọ jẹun máa sùn so ẹ̀rí pé lédè quiet èmi nìkan mú wa lé so kò sí ẹnìkan kan tó ń disturb wa ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ lè wo program yẹn tán tó bá yẹ pé data yín ẹ lè bọ́lẹ̀ kẹ́ wá lọ download ẹ̀ later so ọ̀rọ̀ lugard ó wà important kò ń ṣe tá a máa fi ṣeré rárá àwọn tó bá ayé jẹ́ nìyẹn so a ti ṣe ní Haúsá ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ translate sí Yorùbá nísìn so tẹ bá ti ń rí ẹ̀yin náà máa kà ẹ bá máa share àwọn information tẹ ká máa pín sí gbogbo platform lélẹ̀ táwọn èèyàn máa béèrè pé kí ló ibo la dé nísìn tẹ bá ti pín lè àwọn èèyàn mọ bí ta dé pé Nàìjíríà yẹn o Koiki ti sọ pé trading post ni o so mo ti ṣe Yorùbá ẹ̀ nísìn so ni mo ń post lọ́wọ́ báyìí so tẹ́yìn náà bá rí ẹ share especially rántí pé a ti sọ fún yín títí pé platform àwọn ti shadow band ẹ̀ so gbogbo nǹkan tá à ń post Facebook kò jẹ́ kó rìn YouTube ò jẹ́ kó rìn ó ti gbà bọ̀dẹ̀ so àwa la máa wá ṣe kí ni la máa push ẹ̀ fáwa tá à ń ṣe program láti lè jẹ́ kó rìn ju bó ṣe yẹ lọ so ẹ jẹ́ n post ti Yorùbá náà so kò ti Igbo àtàwùsá then àwa continue program tá à ń bá lọ so tí Yorùbá yàn bá right lọ títí Google Translator ni mo lò so kò ń ṣe kinní kankan so ó kù tí mo ní di Igbo ní Igbo language wa Igbo okay with the technology fi dá nìyẹn I'm sure pé tí bá ti post ẹ̀ ní sàn àwọn Igbo yẹn àwọn abẹ̀rẹ̀ sí àwọn Biafra rather àwọn abẹ̀rẹ̀ sí comment abẹ́ ni wọ́n hate ìlú ìjù kí ló dálẹ̀ lọ especially àwọn tó sì nínú ìlú àwọn tó wà nínú ìlú ìgànsẹ̀ ọ̀gbà tìlú rárá especially pẹ̀lú kéèsì Nnamdi Kanu tí Britain ṣe kankan sí so àti fẹ́ débẹ̀ so Hausa nìkan ló kù nísìn mo ti fẹ́ parí ẹ̀ so ẹjọ́ tẹ́yìn náà bá ti rí intern post ẹ má fi ṣàwàdà so a ti ṣe ti Igbo ni mo ṣe lọ nísìn àbí bí afrada ẹni Igbo Igbo is a language so now post so Hausa nìkan ló kù báyìí nísìn so ẹ jẹ́ ká wá ṣe Hausa náà so àti wá parí ẹ̀ Hausa Hausa language Hebrew no Hausa that's it yeah so now ẹni tó bá follow mi lórí Twitter ẹ ti máa rí gbogbo tí mò ń post yẹn ẹ lọ follow wa KOIKIMEDIA náà ni ẹ má kó jẹ́ pé àwọn Biafra nìkan ni àjọ ń comment níbẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà ẹ follow wa níbẹ̀ ká lè máa interact mo kí African Confidential is always fighting back to back mo kí yàrá Wúrọ̀lá Yorùbá and many of you that are also on Twitter mo kí Mọ̀mísí mi náà wà lórí Twitter so I think that is it now so and then we can continue our program láti gbìyànjú díẹ̀ náà Ọlọ́run tó gbọ́ jẹ́ kí ìgbìyànjú wa kó bá wa dé sí ibi tá a fẹ́ kó dé so no sound okay ẹ jẹ́ n jáde kí n tún wọlé padà nísìnyí kọ́ ó yẹ kí sound yẹn ti padà pop up the volume Yorùbá oh sorry ó yẹ kí sound yẹn ti padà nísìnyí where I'll get this post Mr. Baba Soji ẹ lọ sórí page mi ẹ máa post ẹ sórí TikTok but bá ṣe tán nìyẹn because ẹ mọ̀ pé mo wà live nísìnyí so ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ máa repost mi lórí TikTok and I have a lot of people that are following us on TikTok ẹ ṣe gan ni we have good amount of people even though I'm not following anybody ẹ má bínú I just decided to leave it like that but gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ̀ ń follow wa so màá post ẹ̀ tí bá ti parí program lágbára Ọlọ́run màá post ẹ̀ sórí ẹ̀rọ kí TikTok mo lè lo browser láti fi wọnú TikTok so phone ni màá fi ń post so tí bá ti ṣe tán lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ màá post ẹ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ lẹ́ máa rí so ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn for now so now I've posted it kí ni mo sọ àwọn èèyàn tí ń retweet so you know these are kind of information that is needed because wọ́n máa fi the 1st of January nísìn wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa you know this Nigeria àwọn Yorùbá clubhouse àwọn náà ń gbìyànjú founders of Union Baptist Church Allen Poli African American name original African name Poli Kupoli origin Yoruba Allen Rose Yoruba Copper Katie Monabi Ọmọlúàbí Yoruba Kebbi Osha Le Joseph ẹ mọ̀ kọ́ change gbogbo orúkọ yẹn nígbà slave trade yẹn the founder of Union Baptist Church the African American heritage do you know about the historical town of Africa Town near Mobile, Alabama, US, which was formed by 32 West Africans, among 110 majority of whom were Yoruba, from Bente, now the Central Benin Republic, illegally brought as enslaved people into America in 1860. That community spoke Yoruba until 1950. Oluwale Koshola, aka Koji Lewis, Omolabi, Matabi, Macred. So these are history that they read. What more? What fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìtàn wa kó parẹ́ àwa là nígbà. So ẹ jẹ́ ká parí ti Lugard yẹn so that you know màá lè parí ètò yẹn so that even if I want to come back in another 3 hours màá lè because people are sending message kí n tó lọ ka message ka forward and we're almost just the last bit. So àti kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ti Lugard ìyàwó ẹ̀ kọ the name Nigeria was coined ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ padà. The orúkọ Nigeria yẹn wọ́n put it together ìyá girlfriend ní Lugard tó ń pè ní Lady Lugard kódà ó mention ẹ̀ ní 1897 ní London Times article yẹn la post nísìn a máa post ẹ̀ sórí TikTok tàbá parí ètò with Lord Lugard arbitrary conception of Nigeria in mind one can begin to see the many varied problems colonialism created in Nigeria ṣẹgbọ́n kan tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn pẹ̀lú kan tó dálẹ̀ yẹn ó create many problems in Nigeria, across West Africa, and around the world. It is worth noting this as well. My post late about the because if I parry the last article, not least among these problems, for Nigeria in particular, was the problem of unifying national identity. National identity wa la njà fún Fulani pa wá nínú igbó gbogbo yẹn àmọ́ the real reason that ṣe ń fẹ́ Yorùbá nation òun ni identity wa ẹni tó bá ti lose identity o ti lose gbogbo tó ní o kọ́lé sí Nàìjíríà o wá lose identity ẹ you are wasting your time gbogbo ẹni tẹ nílé lọ́hùn ọ̀nà àbáwá dúró ti ilé yẹn tá a máa fi débi tá à ń lọ tí ilé yẹn túbọ̀ máa ṣe kí ni a tún lè dáwó ẹ̀kọ́ ètò tó máa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ identity wa là ń jà fún òun ni Campbell kọ sí bíbáyìí màá tútú bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí not least among these problems for Nigeria in particular, ìlú tó ní 350 different languages, almost 300 different ethnic people rather, indigenous people. Ẹ wá kó gbogbo àpapọ̀, ẹ wá ní ká máa gbígbé àlàáfíà, àwọn ìnara wa ni a lè gbígbé àlàáfíà. The problem of unifying national identity. It is no wonder that the divisive people forcibly united into single state, sometimes turned to separatism. Contemporary examples range from Biafra, Ambazonia, Cameroon to Somaliland and to Azawad. Wọ́n kọ Yorùbá síbẹ̀. Nísìn táwọn máa tún kíní nǹkan tí bọ̀bọ̀ ẹ bá máa tún kíní nǹkan nísìn wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ fi ti Yorùbá sí because àwa náà ti ń complain nísìn. Ẹ jẹ́ n ká bẹ̀yẹn padà. So wọ́n mọ Biafra dáadáa because Biafra declare ní 1967. Ó ní ìyẹn ló ṣe ń fa contemporarily examples range from Biafra, ó kọ Biafra síbẹ̀, Biafra, Nigeria, to Ambazonia, Cameroon, to Somaliland, Somali, and to Azawi in Mali. Ibi tá máa rí ètò tèmi dé nìyẹn for now. Like I said, you know, àníjẹ́ kó pẹ́ probably 4, 3, 5 hours if I can make it out again. Ẹ̀yin ní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ make sure pé notification bell yẹn ẹ̀ tàn. Ẹ má bínú pé this one lasted 4 hours. A fún yín ní top up ní Christmas bonus. Tàbáwá rẹ̀ tó máa ní Koiki èmi náà sanwó 1 hour minimum wages mi ò pọ̀ jù àgbà basic pay £10 an hour kì má ní lecturer tó bá fi gbowó tó pọ̀ ní ẹ lè fi sí àkáǹtì wa ẹ má ẹ̀ kó pẹ́ mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àyìn tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa àtẹ̀yìn tẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́ wa Princess Awoniyi mo rọ́wọ́ yín níjẹ́ òní ẹ̀ ṣe gan ni ẹ bá wọn kí ọmọ Oòduà ẹ bá ń kí Princess ẹ bá ń kí òun náà dáadáa Princess ò kì í ṣe pet name o mo kí gbogbo àwọn Èkìtì parapọ̀ mo kí gbogbo àwọn Ìjẹ̀bú mo kí àwọn Oǹdó mo kí Ọ̀ṣun mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Kwara mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Ọ̀fà mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Èkìtì mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Ọ̀ṣun Ọ̀yọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ìkan náà ní gbogbo wa àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun yìí àwọn ló da gbogbo ẹ̀rú bí ẹsẹ̀ télọ̀ a máa wá tuntun ó lè pẹ́ ó lè yá Nàìjíríà máa collapse láṣẹ Èdùmàrè ni mo sọ in Jesus name. Thank you so much. Have a very great afternoon. My name is Olawumi Koiki. Èní a máa jẹ́ 21st day of the month of December 2023. Aago mẹ́ta fi lọ lù ní London níbi tí mo ti ń transmit. Ẹ make sure pé kẹ́ tó darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ wá máa follow wa back to back. Ẹni tọ́rọ̀ bá wá yé ẹ má ká búra wa ẹ má ká jà. Ìta lè ṣe ni pé ẹ pè wá lẹ́yìn Mr. Koiki ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ yẹn mo like ẹ bá má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ a máa ń like feedback. Mo like feedback because ìlú òyìnbó ni mo gbé tẹ́ bá wá fẹ́ communicate pẹ̀lú wa ẹ lọ sórí website mi www.koikimedia kò ń ṣe kókìkí o KOIKI media láti bẹ̀ ẹ send message sí mi má wàá tún send message pé mo ní message mo fẹ́ béèrè ẹ̀yin ní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ send message ẹ̀ máa reply yín and I'll communicate back and on that note thank you so much láṣẹ Èdùmàrè bí ṣe sọ a máa collapse Nigeria on behalf of Yoruba people èmi àti iná làjọ máa wá ṣe o kò ń ṣe olóyè Ìgbòho nìkan kò ń ṣe bàbá Akíntóyè gbogbo wa a máa wà in formidable force láìsí jà a sọ fún àwọn olóṣèlú wa pé a fẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́ orúkọ tó pé yẹn àmọ́ bó ṣe wá bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn ẹ ṣé gan ni mo kíyà tó bí mi lọ́mọ thank you so much one love one love one love bye for now. màá post kìíní ẹ̀ sórí TikTok tí bá ti ṣe tán nísìn ẹ rí níbẹ̀ ní gbogbo languages bye for now. ẹ̀yin tèmi lórí YouTube Waris Jinadu gbogbo ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ṣẹ́gun Ọ̀nà as God and the rest of you àtẹni tó jù mí lọ àtẹni tí mo jù lọ mo ṣe báyìí o Ọkọ̀yà Fọláyàn shout out and I'm checking out now bye for now. ẹ ṣé gan ni wọ́n wà tó fún wa ní super chat kò ní tán bẹ́ẹ̀ o thanks so much.